Moments later, she turned and left expressionless. Zhao Ying followed swiftly, too timid to speak as she silently trailed behind. After walking some distance, Zhao Ying couldn't hold back. "Miss, are you all right? Don't be sad. His Highness spoke highly of you. They're still the most important to him." Qiao Yihuan suddenly stopped and turned. Zhao Ying felt uneasy at her cold expression. But the next moment, her usual gentle smile returned. "I'm fine. Don't worry. Whether His Highness cares for me is up to him. I just need to be myself. Go rest. Zhao Ying, I'll nap too. We'll release lanterns tonight." Relieved to see her old self, Zhao Ying nodded. "Yes, miss." Alone, Qiao Yihuan exhaled deeply. Once, the crown prince had favored Qiao Wanyan only for her sake. But he now cared for Wanyan's feelings, defended her publicly, and sought her out privately. Yanran had told her she was the world's protagonist, winning everyone's love without striving, gaining wealth and glory effortless. But everything changed after the lunch festival banquet, when she presented a bucket of ginger mountains to shine, only to be caned by the emperor, embarrassing herself before the crown prince, young marquis and princess, and are rebuked by the crown prince for Qiao Wanyan. The gifts and meetings had stopped. She'd wanted too much. The ginger mountains had gained her nothing, but made Qiao Wanyan's dance the highlight. Since then, they'd become polar opposites, gazing at a budding tree. Qiao Yihuan softened at Basterisk should have stayed non-competitive, then things would return to how they were, born a concubine's daughter. But I'm the protagonist, asterisk. Standing under the tree, she saw Zhang Qiyun passing and called out, "Qiyan." He turned. "Sister Yihuan here? Weren't you resting in the meditation chamber?" She smiled. "I couldn't sleep. The noon sun is nice, so I'm sunbathing." Zhang Qiyan felt awkward, sorry about having broken his promise. "The rice of paper flowers, but don't worry. I'll have artisans make another set. Even if that old man refuses, I'll find others. They were precious." So finding artisans wouldn't be easy. Sunlight dap lit her face. Unlike Qiao Wanyan's otherworldly beauty, Qiao Yihuan's was gentle, like a soft painting, innocent, frail, and tender. A lotus rising unsullied from the mud. Don't feel guilty, Qiyan. It's just flowers. Since they went to Wanyan and not a stranger, I'm not angry. Her words only deepened his guilt. But he also felt a strange unfamiliarity, an indefinable oddness. Softly she said, "If you insist on making amends, prepare sky lanterns for me. I want to release them tonight." He agreed immediately. "Okay, I'll have the best sent to you." "Thank you then." At the gate, he looked back. She was as gentle as ever, but her smile seemed shallow, not reaching her eyes. Outside, Zhang Qiyun ordered the best sky lanterns for Qiao Yihuan. A servant said, "Young Marquis, the best rice paper lanterns were sent to the crown prince, Prince Jing Princess, and second Miss Zhou. Only cotton paper ones remain. Qiao Wanyan? Why did father send her any? How many?" "5, he said. "I'll take one back, 2 for her, and that girl should suffice." Inside, Qiao Wanyan had her couch moved outside, sunbathing with her eyes closed. She let Ziyuan massage her calves. The door stood open. Yan Yao drawing on a sky lantern by the entrance, peaceful and warm. Zhang Qiyun entered to see Qiao Wanyan resting, her lotus, white arm draped over a blanket, fingers curled softly like porcelain. The scene was a masterpiece, transforming the ordinary yard into a wonderland. He swallowed his words. Asterisk, she's asleep, asterisk. A warm spring breeze caressed her face, lifting strands of hair. She turned lazily, murmuring in a drowsy voice, "Lu puppy." Elsewhere, Lu Jinya enjoyed the weather, bidly twirling a dandelion on the veranda, eyes half closed against the sun. Sparrows scattered as he stood. Getting no reply, she called, "Chirp, chirp." He approached. "If I barked, you'll really take me for a dog?" Still eyes shut, she said. "The sun is too bright. Hold an umbrella." He thought of her high maintenance. Face the other way or sleep inside. Ziyu chided so chatty. If facing the other way were comfy, she'd have turned. It's school inside. She wants to sleep here. Lu Jinya shot her a cold look. Asterisk just spoiled her. Asterisk. Kia Wanyan. She opened her eyes. What? He paused. And nothing. Just asking if you need more lanterns. Closing her eyes. She ignored him. Ziyu replied. The Jing'an Marquis sent sky lanterns and flowers. Lanterns. No need to trouble you. Young Marquis. Oh, okay. Suddenly Kia Wanyan said, "Xiao Yunzi. I'm short on osmanthus cakes." Zhang Qian froze. Bristling, Xiao Yunzi. Are you mad? Treating me like a eunuch? She opened her eyes slowly. You came asking about. Lanterns thought you'd quit being young Marquis. To serve others. Just asking. Why snap? Watching her teasing smile. He felt dizzy with anger. Is your mouth laced with arsenic? Can't you speak without venom? She sked. I won't die. But meeting amateur less stray dogs makes me itching to SC old. Can't let myself suffer. Right. He laughed angry lie. I wonder who'll marry you. Your husband will die of anger. She smiled at Ziyuan. See? Stray dogs nowadays can talk and care. Even about my husband's lifespan. Ziyuan cheered inwardly. Asterisk masterpiece miss. Asterisk Lu Jinya held an umbrella. Indifferent to their bickering. Asterisk he never wins. But keeps coming to be scolded. Leaves an huff. Does he enjoy it? Asterisk. Watching her smug smile, Lu Jinya thought. Some struggle for food. Others are family pawns. Others grew up cautious. He'd seen and killed many. But Kia Wanyan was unique, noble, loved wealthy. She needed no flattery. Others brought her the best. Her innate pride let her act reckless lie. Guided only by whim, meaning selfish but open. Almost blindingly so. He hated people born with everything. Ray calling his starving. Beaten childhood over a cake he thought. Asterisk like she said no better than a dog. Asterisk. By the way, who chose this year's Shibai for Jing'an Manor? She asked abruptly. Stand by her switch he snapped me. Why? Saw it and got amazed. Sitting up. She shrugged. The crown prince gave it to me. But your taste is awful. It's so old-fashioned I'm embarrassed to take it out. Leave the professionals. Work to professionals. You have no eyes for it. Zhang Qian, asterisk rude. Asterisk wait. Why did the crown prince gave her the he-she buy? He never joined at the games before. Was this for her? Then Sister Yihuan. Dusk fell. The last sunset rays vanishing behind mountains. Yan Yao happily went to the river with Ziyuan, holding to sky lanterns. Kia Wanyan followed leisure lie, amused by Yan Yao's excitement. Lu Jinya ever released a lantern? Do one wish for my eternal beauty? He looked at her profile. Silent asterisk shameless childish. Asterisk. She turned, mute dog-wise silent. Lu Jinya, bark for your master. He realized she truly saw him as apid. Her tone and expressions were those of someone teasing a cat's or dog's. No, she stopped grabbing his sleeve. But he barely moved, not even frowning. She scolded, am I too kind? I feed and clothe you. Where else would you find such amateur? How dare you talk back? Her cold. The unique scent filled his nose as her voice rang out. Indeed, most masters don't torment people for fun. He wondered if he daunted her, but they'd never met before. She frowned. I'll deal with you later. Wait and see. Her haughty expression vanished, replaced by a sweet smiling as she bypassed him. Towards the crown prince, Lu Jinye followed her gaze, then looked away annoyed. 2 steps later, a strong hand seized her wrist. Thinking it was Lu Jinye defying her, she swung to slap him, but halted mid-air. Seeing he Yanli, the slap was lost in the crowd's noise, her palm numb head ringing. She gasped, seeing he Yanli's face shadowed, expression as cold as Aster Mai. Night Owl though less expression. His gaze sent chills up her spine. Her legs went weak, and Lu Jinye caught her instantly, preventing her from collapsing in fear. The atmosphere grew tense. He Yanli still held her wrist, but she was in Lu Jinye's arms. Kia Wanyan glanced at the large hands gripping her wrists, trying to pull away but only feeling it tighten. He Yanli didn't look at her. His deep dark eyes fixed on Lu Jinye, cold and menacing like eternal Arctic ice, sending chills through the air. Lu Jinye met his gaze fearlessly. He Yanli's voice rumbled, "Take your filthy hands off." Standing as straight as a pine, Lu Jinye remained calm. "Your Highness is exalted, but my master isn't Taiyu. I needn't obey your orders." The guard behind He Yanli gripped his sword hilt. Daring to speak to the prince like this was suicide. He Yanli's eyes fell on Kia Wanyan's face. More delicate than flowers, Kia Wanyan, you've raised a fine dog. When Kia Wanyan called Lu Jinye a dog, she saw him as a plaything. But when He Yanli called him a dog, he saw him as a dead man. Lu Jinye let me go. Lu Jinye's face shifted slightly as he slowly released her. The moment he lowered his eyes, a ruthless killing intent flashed, like a viper in the shadows, ready to strike. Kia Wanyan was tall for a woman, with a slender, perfect figure, but she still stood much shorter. Before He Yanli, so close, she looked up at him, feigning fragility and innocence, pitiful enough to spark compassion, to make one want to hold her tenderly. But He Yanli only wanted to crush her until she sobbed, to leave her too weak to speak, to devour her, merging her into his bones, ridding the world of one more venomous schemer. She tentatively reached to touch his cheek. "Your Highness, I didn't mean to hit you. Does it hurt? Let me rub it. Don't be angry, please." He Yanli sneered. "Not on purpose." So it was on purpose. She pursed her lips. Asterisk shaking her head. Asterisk of course not. I thought it was Lu Jinye. Why one? This fool fall for my act again. Asterisk. He Yanli raised her wrist, pulling her closer. His half-lidded eyes swirled with dark, eerie lights, perverse and wicked, sending inexplicable chills. Striking a prince is a grave offense. Defying imperial authority, punishment ranges from flogging to imprisoned, ament or exile. You're frail. Spoiled bodies couldn't survive flogging. Beauty on the road to exile. So, imprisonment remains. Should illick you up? When I'm pleased, let you see the sun. When not leaving you in the dark for life. She covered his mouth. Stop. Your Highness, I'm scared. The guard nearly popped his eyes. Serving the prince in Beiming City, he'd seen thrown to the women. Army for touching the prince Shim. Yet here she was stopping the prince from speaking. Mo Xiao said the prince treated. Second Miss Zhou is different lie. But this still terrified him. This wasn't Beiming City. The disposing of unnoble ladies would invite court accusations. Even the emperor, who doted on the prince, would overlook this. She was Minister Kiao's being loved daughter. He missed Mo Xiao. Who might dare to intervene? He Yanli removed her hand. A woman touching Amon's face. Don't you find that improper? Lu Jinya interjected calmly. My master cares little for such trivialities. She's seen and touched Ed more than just your face, even my body. Kia Wanyan gapped at him. Asterisk, this fool is insane. Asterisk, undeterred by He Yanli's darkening face. Lu Jinya continued. Bought from a coliseum. I can refuse if she wants me as her paramour. Covering your mouth is nothing. Why make a fuss? She snapped. Stop slandering me. When did I touch you? Asterisk lying through his teeth. He's mad. Asterisk. Lu Jinya ignored He Yanli's glare, speaking with such calm that his lie sounded true. Master has a poor memory. Let me remind you. In Qingzhou's in backyard when I upset you. You undressed me and ran your fingers over my skin. Won't you admit it? Kia Wanyan blinked. Asterisk, wait, if think that happened, why is he bragging about it today? Is he okay? Asterisk, I didn't. He's lying. Kill him, your highness. Asterisk, this madman wants to die. Good riddance. Asterisk. Lu Jinya remained composed. Master planted a mother, child goo on me to keep me by her side, life and death bound. TSK. I'm special to her. He looked at her. Master, would you let me die? He Yanli frowned. Asterisk, mother, child goo, life and death bound. Asterisk. She kicked him. Nonsense. It's no to life and death. If I die, you die. If you die, I live. Lu Jinya sneered. Not denying it, his reaction only made his story more believable. No one would risk testing it. His madness ensured she couldn't kill him. Once thinking Lu Jinya a wild wolf, unyielding and stubborn, she now decided he lacked something. In the head, asterisk mad. Absolutely mad. I want to return this rabid dog to Kiao Yihuan. Asterisk. The air saw meant to freeze. He Yanli's murderous aura was suffocating. Yet the next moment, he was calm, as if nothing mattered. Whether she douched at the dog or how she felt about it. But this base mad dog had offended him, and he'd made it clear who was in control. You won't die, but there are thousands of ways to suffer worse than death. I'm feeling generous today. You'll have castration and nose amputation. Kiao Wanyan stayed silent, pleasing He Yanli proof. The dog meant nothing to her. Disposable. Don't worry, you won't die. So the goo won't kill Kiao Wanyan. He Yanli regarded Lu Jinya with indifference. Such lowly creatures dirt-eyed his eyes. Lu Jinya didn't look at He Yanli, only at Kiao Wanyan's profile, never meeting her gaze. After a long silence, she whispered, If you punish Lu Jinya, will you spare me? Lu Jinya, asterisk as expected, asterisk. He Yanli half closed his eyes. Of course, though you slapped me, I'm in a mood to reward you. He pulled her along. Come on, I'll show you something interesting. Lu Jinya faced 7 or 8 guards blocking his path, unsheathing his sword. The blade glinted eerily in the moonlight. He Yanli walked quickly, forcing her to trot. Your Highness, I can't keep up. Where are we going? He didn't answer, but slowed, hidden behind a rockery. They watched the river, though bustling elsewhere. This stretch was quiet, slow. Currents made lanterns hard to float, and people avoided the dark, lonely spot, but not far off. Kiao Wanyan saw familiar figures. Kiao Yihuan held a sky lanterns as Zhao Ying lit the tallow candle inside. The lantern glowed warm light, illuminating Kiao Yihuan's gentle face. Miss, though not rice, paper. Your painting makes it beautiful. Kiao Yihuan's eyes fell, but it's a pity only Izzy. She closed her eyes to wish. I pray with my remaining life space that Brother Ziyu shines like the moon and sun. walks a bright, happy path, and becomes Dae's happiest man. Footsteps stopped before her. She opened her eyes, started led to see Heeziyu. "Why, Your Highness?" His pupils reflected the lantern light as he looked at her softly. "Why wish for my well-being at your own expense? Your peace matters too." Surprised and delighted, she asked, "Why are you here?" "I found this quiet spot to pray for you alone." Heeziyu raised an eyebrow. "Did it too summon me?" She shook her head, confused. "No, Your Highness." She looked at Zhao Ying, who knelt. "Forgive me, Misso, I thought you were lonely, so invited His Highness in your name. Punish me for my presumption. Yud, how could you?" Kiao Yihuan was furious. "You said, it's fine, but I smell blood." Kiao Yihuan paled. "You must be mistaken. Your Highness, there's no blood here." With a keen sense of smell, "You knew better," Zhao Ying said. "The blood is from miswriting blessings on the lantern with her own blood." "Don't lie," Kiao Yihuan snapped, flustered. "You saw the red-brown stains. How could you?" His calm heart led like rip. "A stone dropped in a lake. Yihuan, why go so far for me?" She bit her lip, lowering her eyes. "I'm insignificant, but I went to do something for you. This is all I can do. I just want you safe, happy and fulfilled. I don't care about myself." Heeziyu knew her, selfless and kind. She added, "Many pray for the emperor and you today, but I pray for Heeziyu's peace." She immediately apologized. "Forgive me for calling your name, Your Highness." Heeziyu was moved. "You needn't do this. I wish for your peace as much as mine." She looked up, smiling like a crescent moon. "Shy, will you release the lantern with me?" Behind the rockery, He Yanli stood behind Kiao Wanyan, hands on the stone as he watched. "Such love, beautiful, don't you think?" She replied flatly, "No." Once Heeziyu had looked at Kiao, Yi Huan with, and his guy's love, his face softening. Eyes only for her, a look she'd seen only from her parents. But now, his tenderness lacked depth. Gazing at the sky, Kiao Wanyan mocked. Asterisk fate can be changed. Heeziyu is just then Kier. Then Lu Jinyea, I'll set my sights on whoever is Crown Prince, even if he Yanli rebels and kills Heeziyu in that unfinished story. I'll still claim the Empress throne. His chances are slim. Though Liu Yanran said Heezy, "You is destined for the throne." Asterisk. What don't you think? Kiao Wanyan said softly. "Your Highness knows I want to marry the Crown Prince, yet you brought me here to see this. You must hate me, not wanting me to enjoy the flower festival." He Yanli paused, watching her indifferent gazes fixed ahead. The interest that had just sparked in him vanished without a trace. Kiao Wanyan turned to leave, her slender back radiating deep loneliness. On the way back, she saw Lu Jinyea leaning unharmed against a tree. Glancing around, she noticed 7 or 8 guards lying unconscious not far away. She knew Lu Jinyea was a skilled fighter. Yun Heng had told her he'd been bred as a killing tool since childhood, uncontrollable and unpredictable. He'd massacred his old gang after Saziang a chance. But he Yan Leisman weren't fools. 7 or 8 of them couldn't subdue Lu Jinyea. Kiao Wanyan studied him. Disappointed I was captured by Prince Jing's men? She nodded. Are they dead? Lu Jinyea didn't look at the fallen guards. If they were, would you throw me to the wolves to atone? She shot him Aguilar. Nonsense. Your death won't spare me a scratch. He fell silent. Kneel. After a moment, Lu Jinyea knelt before her. Kiao Wanyan made no move, just stared at him. Finally, she asked, I'm pleased you defied Prince Jing. I'll reward you. but I have nothing on me. How about a honey candy? Lu Jinye eyed the honey candy in her hand, obviously poisoned, with being wilder meant. Looking up at her, seriously? She put back the candy, took out a scented silk handkerchief, and wiped the hands that held it. The next instant, she flicked the handkerchief at his face. The fragrance that releases a delicate made him go limp and collapse. Kia Wanyan inwardly marveled at Yanya's gift. The honey candy was coated in love pollen, and the handkerchief had soaked in Krina lilies for 3 days. Together, they made a powerful sedative. Standing over him, she kicked his body. You misbehaved. This is just punishment. She'd expected Lu Jinyea to fall into Yan Laishan's, maimed or dead. Once back, she'd land to kill this disobedient dog with poison. She thought her fun, but his skills exceeded her expectations. Wasting such a useful tool would be foolish. Still, she felt irritated, squatting. She took a small porcelain bottle from her pocket, poured Eddard pills and A black pills into her palm, and forced them into his mouth. Be good from now on. Even when kneeling half naked in freezing weather, Lu Jinyea had never flinched. But now, the burning pain in his organs shattered his sanity. Worse than any Colosseum torture. Paralyzed on the ground, he felt like he was in hell. If Prince Jing finds you within 3 hours, it's your fate. If not, you're still my dog, she added. Oh, and had no antidote on full moons if you misbehave. Training someone with time was wasteful. Poison was quicker for Amen like Lu Jinyea, indifferent to money, power, and family. His life was the only leverage. The mother, Child Gu, kept him from harming her, but Crip's lead heart would make him begging for the monthly antidote. Watching his suffering, Kia Wanyan felt no pity. She never gave her heart easily. Only her parents, grandfather, and Ziyuan deserved her softness. As the story said, she was wicked, stopping at nothing. Lu Jinyea saw her cold face, knowing he meant nothing to her. If he died, she'd just avoid the bad luck. He'd always known she wasn't good. But why? As she turned to leave, a weak hand grabbed her skirt. Lu Jinyea lay disheveled, pale and sweating, mustering all strength to hold on. Stay with me, please. The feeble words escaped him brokenly. She turned back. Hope flickered in his eyes. It hurts, Master. It hurts so much. She glanced at him and walked away. Asterisk, of course it hurts. Idiot, asterisk. As her figure vanished, Lu Jinyea spat out the pills under his tongue. The potency confirmed they were from Medicine Valley. Lying on the ground, he stared at the sky. Asterisk, spoiled young lady. Can't even poison properly. Probably her first time. She should have located my dis jaw and forced the pills down with water, not just stuff them in. Asterisk. Don't you hate her for this? A tall youth in a red robe approached, bangs framing his forehead. Zhang Qian, stopping half a zong away as if asking a trivial questions. Lu Jinyea said flatly, she didn't kill me for disobeying. Know what that means? Zhang Qian pondered, but couldn't. T-guess. Asterisk, Kia Wanyan tortures him. But when I angered her, she just slaps me. She's soft on. Asterisk, what does it mean? Lu Jinyea fell silent. Fine, keep your secret, Zhang Qian huffed. Yan Yao released the flower lanterns and turned to see Kia Wanyan. Sister Yan Yan, look. Releasing lanterns is so fun. So many on the river. He Beos, who held a lantern, smiling. Wanyan, where were you? I waited ages. Yan Yao said you'd come, but I didn't see you. He Beos, who was thrilled. She'd only seen this in TV drama. The sight of sky and river lanterns made Her wants to snap photos for social media, but she had no phone. Met an acquaintance and chatted. Yan Yao handed her a lantern. Here, sister. There are plenty of flower lanterns, but only 5 sky lanterns. I wanted 2, waiting for you to release them together. Kiao Wanyan took it, watching the river like a black silk ribbons dotted with glowing pearls, more dazzling than stars. She knelt to set the lantern adrift, silently wishing. Asterisk go be the farthest, floating lantern, asterisk. Yan Yao asked, what did you wish for, sister? She smiled that everyone around me is happy, especially the princess and you. He Beozu and Yan Yao looked at her movedly. Asterisk so kind, so gentle, asterisk. Ziyuan thought she guessed wrong. Her mistress had such a kin to hearts. Asterisk I'm ashamed, asterisk. Elsewhere he Ziyu and Kiao Yihuan released to sky lanterns. Yihuan, it's the flower festival, and you came with your sister. Should end. Do you spend the night with her? Family time is special. Kiao Yihuan paused, then smiled. I was just about to say that. Your Highness. Ziyu sent Jing Yuan to find Kiao Wanyan and learned she'd been for Chi Blai taken by He Yanli. His face darkened. Your Highness. Prince Jing's hatred for Wanyan is known. What if she's in danger? This was the karma of her past. He Yanli had bided his time, and now in the crowded night, he wouldn't let her betrayal go. Don't worry, Yihuan. I'll find your sister. He left with Jing Yuan. Kiao Yihuan reached out to stop him, then drew back. Shall we follow, miss? Zhao Ying asked. She shook her head. Idly hinder. Let's find Princess Shizi. She has more attendants and can help search. The night was long, and a noble lady abducted. How troubling. Kiao Yihuan headed for the East River, bustling with people releasing lanterns. She spotted Kiao Wanyan and froze. Asterisk wasn't taken by Prince Jing? Why is she here? Asterisk shut up. A vicious voice sounded. She saw Li Zucheng, the Tangzhou prefect's son, disheveled and furious. Asterisk did in the leaves before dark. Asterisk. She pulled Zhao Ying behind a tree. Do as I say. That bitch embarrassed me. She has no guards now. I must make her pay before returning to Tangzhou. Li Zucheng growled. He couldn't touch the young Marquis of Jing'an Manor, whose men had beaten his guards. But Kiao Wanyan was unprotected. She won't recognize you. Spill this oil on her skirt. No one will notice in the crowd, and she won't feel it. Refuse, and I'll kill you today. The guard gritted his teeth. Yes, young master, I'll go. Kiao Yihuan quietly led Zhao Ying away. I feel unwell. Let's rest in that pavilion, she said. Yes, miss. Kiao Wanyan held the sky lanterns as Ziyuan lit the candle, just as she closed her eyes to wish. Chaos erupted nearby. Run, everyone run. He Beozu shouted. Sky lanterns are clumping and burning. Sparks rained down like a fiery meteor showers, sending the crowd into a panic. Ziyuan cried misrun. Kiao Wanyan pulled her wrist towards the west, now seeing Ziyu dashing towards her. She let go. Burning rice paper landed on her skirt, igniting flames. Wanyan, Vu yelled, ignoring him. She flung herself into a cold embrace. Yanli, save me. A faint, delicate fragrance surged forward, as warm and tender as jade in his embrace. A gauzy silk brushed past his hand, like fingertips gliding over Allyre. The lyres. Melody struck accord in He Yanli shirt. When He Shiyu called Kiao Wanyan's name, He Yanli sensed him dashing towards her. He was certain she would miss such a chance and would instinctively rush towards Ziyu. Yet, in the bustling crowd, she'd seen him first. The person her subconscious thought in danger was him. The moment Kiao Wanyan embraced him, He Yanli steadied her with open arms, holding her tightly, seeing flames on her skirt. He drew Ogward's sword and slashed the burning fabric, then removed his cloak to wrap her snugly, leaving only her head exposed. Your Highness, it's unsafe here. The flowers. Temple is still a distance, and the wind isn't blowing that way. Let's return there first, a guard urged. He Yanli met her panicked gaze, but looked away immediately, lifting her in his arms and striding towards the temple. Kia Wanyan wrapped her arms around his neck, facing the chaotic river. Moments ago, people had reveled in the festive mood. Now they fled frantically, shoving others to safety, knocking over crying children, and leaving those too weak to run crawling on the grounded in terror. Wails pierced the sky like arrows, overwhelming the scene. Kia Wanyan's slight brown pupils, sea-meds filled with boundless panic, finally locking onto Heezy. Their eyes met, her lips parting in apparent surprise. But she turned away, burying her face in He Yanli's neck, unwilling to look at anyone. In the thick night, no one saw He Yanli's ears reddened like blooming roses. His blood almost boiled as it surged through his body, eliciting shivers. He Shiyu clenched his fists, nails digging into his flesh without relenting. Burning rice paper fluttered down, landing on dry spring trees, entangling with prayer ribbons and lanterns. Dyeing the sky scarlet, he stood rooted, a murderous shadow crossing his noble face. Behind him, a fierce fire raged. Before him, a scene he longed to erase without thought. Your Highness, the fire is too strong. Let's go. Jing Yuan urged, seeing the Jing'an Manor Fire Brigade approaching, with Zhang Qiyun helping to extinguish the flames. He Beozu, a modern woman who'd survived a Rastarn fire, reacted calmly, pulling Wei Mo and Yun Yao towards the temple. Yun Yao yelped, but He Beozu snapped, "Don't be afraid. I'll get you to Sister Yanyan safely. Be quiet. Panicking helps nothing." Yun Yao pouted, but obeyed, staggering along as He Beozu in her haste grabbed her hair buns instead of her hands, which Wei Mo noticed but didn't mention. At the pavilion, Kiao Yihuan, who'd been watching Kia Wanyan, saw the chaos and stood anxiously, watching the crown prince headed towards the temple as if forgetting her. Her heart ached with bitterness. "Miss, we race safe here," Zhao Ying comforted. Grateful they dressed it in the pavilion, Ao Yuan asked, "Do you think I'm inferior to Kia Wanyan in everything?" "Never, miss. You're the kindest person I know, compassionate, even to ants. How can you compare to second miss? She's just a beautiful vase with a vicious, scheming heart. Her comeuppance will come." Kiao Yihuan recalled Kia Wanyan's words. Asterisk karma is just consolation for the weak. Asterisk, but she refused to believe it. Asterisk, if I stay true to myself, I'll regain what's mine. Asterisk. He Yanli entered the meditation chamber, guards standing outside with their backs turned, placing Kiao Wanyan on an octagonal table. He heard her soft voice. "Thank you, Your Highness, for saving me." He Yanli sneered. "Letting you be saved is a favor to you." She blinked confused. "Are you possessed by my worm intestinal? How do you know exactly what I was thinking?" "Your sixth word, thank you. They repaying your life debt to cheap lie," he said. She counted on her fingers. "That's 6 words, not 8. Has Your Highness forgotten how to count?" His face darkened. "Why weren't you burned to death by the river?" Asterisk, petty fool, getting angry over a word. Asterisk, she withdrew her hand from the cloak, revealed burned. His face changed. "When did this happen?" She pouted. "On the way here. I didn't want to disturb you." "What's your mouth for? Since when have you been afraid of anything?" She lowered her head, murmuring, "You're too harsh on me." I'm scared. The guards outside, though not looking in, exchanged glances. Asterisk poor Miss Joe. Mean prince. How could he be so harsh on such a delicate girls? Does she look like someone who has betrayed him? He must have misunderstood her. She's too scared to even mention her injury. Asterisk. He Yanli laughed bitterly. Me harsh? When have you ever been afraid of me? Stop playing the victim. She held out her hand. It hurts. Blow on it. Fetch burning ointment. Heezy rushed to the chamber. The flower temple, once quiet, had flourished under Jing'an Manor's management. Meditation after the emperor's visit. Chambers varied in size and layout. Those of high status stayed in the east courtyard, divided into male and female sections. Finding the female section dark, he turned to He Yanli's chamber and saw Qiao Wanyan. He Yanli sitting on the table as applied ointment to her hand. He Ji Yu thought. Asterisk He Yanli doesn't truly hate her. If she asked, he'd marry her tomorrow. Asterisk the thoughts unsettled him. Greetings, Crown Prince. Qiao Wanyan tried to pull back her hand, but He Yanli held it firm. Did I say you could move? She fell silent, and Heezy Yu felt relieved. Perhaps she, Dee, only ran to He Yanli out of chance. Not trusted, her attempt to withdraw her hand showed she cared about his feelings. If she'd seen him first, she wouldn't have run to He Yanli. Lowering her head, she hid her expression, withdrawing her hand as lightly would make Heezy Yu think. Shifi read misunderstanding. Running to He Yanli, but giving him hope kept him torn. He blame He Yanli rather than admit his insignificance. As candlelight fell on her, a shadow covered her. She looked up at Heezy Yu, frail, harmless, and beautiful, every expression tugging at his heart. Having practiced in the mirror 800 times daily, she knew the perfect angle. Letting men look down on her aroused their innate superiority. Her hands as white as mutton fat jade bore a glaring red burn. Jing Yuan, bring burnt ointment. He presented it, and He Yu said disdainfully, her delicate skin contours ordinary ointment. It will scar. Mine contains Wan Yan, jade paste, and won't leave a mark. Qiao Wanyan stayed still, letting the two princes quarrel. He Yanli said, brother has so much experience from caring for many women. Your being loved must be well looked after. He Shiyu glanced at him, but He Yanli continued, I'm less experienced and uninterested in common women. I'll have to learn from you. Asterisk such biting sarcasm. I love it when it's not aimed at me. Asterisk Qiao Wanyan thought. Heezy Yu said sadly, those who care need no teaching. As crown prince, I can spare time, but Wanyan deserves the best in everything. She looked up, feigning delight, and his gaze softened at Basterisk fool. One sweet word and you're lost. Asterisk she sneered inwardly. He Yanli asked, you know her so well. Do you like her? He Shiyu replied without hesitation. Wanyan is worthy of love. Of course illik her. Outside, Qiao Yuan stopped, legs numbing. He added, but there are many kinds of love. Mine is admiration. Don't misinterpret and tarnish her reputation. Greetings, Crown Prince Jing. Qiao Yuan said, breaking the tension. He Yu turned. Yuan, where were you? I sent men to find you by the river. Lies Qiao Yuan thought. I rested in a pavilion. Feeling unwell, he hadn't sent anyone. The escort had followed him here. He'd forgotten her. Glad you raised safe. Qiao Yuan approached. Wan Yan Shandong is hurt. The burn must ache. I wish I could take it for you. He Yanli snapped, if you're so sympathetic. Got burned too. Empty words mean nothing. Qiao Yuan turned deathly pale at a loss. Zhao Ying behind her dared not speak. She truly fee. Red Prince Jing, once a well person. She lost an arm because of him. Are coming disabled. If she displeased him now, even the crown prince might not save her life. You said Yi Huan. Prince Jing speaks without filter. Don't take it too hard. Did you come for something? This was the men's meditation courtyard. Yi Huan wouldn't enter casually. Qiao Yi Huan paused, then whispered, actually, I heard something and wanted to tell your highness. Don't be afraid. Speak slowly. Uninterested in Qiao Yi Huan's words, Qiao Wanyan took the burning ointment He Ziyu had left on the table and handed it to He Yanli, wanting him to use the Wanyan jade paste on her. Wounded, no need to waste good things, He Yanli glanced at the ointment, then tossed it into the chamber pot. Qiao Wanyan glared, withdrawing of her hand to vent her anger. He Yanli frowned. She rolled her eyes and ignored him, playing petty. Just as Qiao Yihuan opened her mouth, Qiao Wanyan interjected, Your Highness, the prince threw your burning ointment into the chamber pot and won't let me use it. He Yanli? Who spoiled her to tattle so much? Tattling over everything. He Shiyu frowned, glaring at He Yanli. If your dissatisfied, take it out on me. Why bully her? He ordered Jing Yuan to fetch another box, wiped Qiao Wanyan's hands clean, and applied the new ointment. Natural movements. She accepted without a second thoughts. Qiao Yihuan felt like an outsider, unable to join them. Qiao Wanyan said, Sister, go ahead. You don't mind me interrupting, do you? Qiao Yihuan replied, Of course not. I heard the Tangzhou prefectson plotted to pour wax oil on your skirt. If not, the sky lantern paper would end. Tea had caught fire so quickly. Both men's faces changed. That night, He Shiyu sent men to arrest Li Shucheng, found 5 Li from the temple. Jing'an Manor blamed Li, claiming he powered wax on trees to retaliate, nearly causing a disaster. And they returned to the capital with the princes. By the time they arrived, it was early morning. The crown prince imprisoned Li in the eastern palace, and everyone dispersed. The next day, after morning court, Li Shucheng was beheaded, and the Tangzhou prefect dismissed. The emperor cared little for trivialities and let Jing'an Manor scapegoat lead. No one died at the temple, so he turned a blind eye. Stay crowned Prince Jing, and that young rake, the emperor said as ministers withdrew. In the quiet hall, Zhang Qian complained, Your Majesty, I have a name. Why call me a rake in front of everyone? The emperor laughed. I've called you that since childhood. Now you're ashamed? Come, the 3 of you will dine with me. It's been ages. In the Zhongbao Hall, the emperor in a bright yellow dragon robe sat at the head. His eyes, like a deep still pool, inspired awe despite their kindness. Prince Jing, after years in Beiming, you've changed your taste. You remember you loved osmanthus cakes, always ate them before other dishes. He Yanli showed no expression. Not flattering. Osmanthus cakes are too sweet. I dislikes them. The emperor laughed mockingly. Dislike them? He Ziyu stayed silent. He'd never dare diss. Respect the emperor like He Yanli. Their rapport resembled an ordinary father and favored son. A dynamic Hedon's envy Ed, but no longer cared. About *1 must accept what they dislike *. The emperor added, The crown prince is old enough for a consort. Do you have someone in mind? Startled by the sudden topic, He Ziyu would have once pleaded for Yi Huan, gentle, learned a worthy consort despite being a concubine's daughter. But now, he hesitated. The emperor had can Yi Huan public lie. The city knew. Watching He Shiyu's subtle reactions, the emperor thought, he's learned to hold his tongue, not lose his head over a woman, Your marriage is vital for family, and countryer choose a virtuous, honorable woman, the Empress and the Airy. Considering candidates, if you have someone, I'll prioritize her. He you stood. Thank you, father. Sit. No need for formalities here. Seeing He Yanli ignoring him, the emperor turned to Zhang Qian. Young rake, most your age are married. Do you like anyone? Zhang Qian was taken aback. From crown princess to me in a blink? Asterisk, he'd once wanted to marry someone, but she loved the crown prince, and he'd bless their happiness. Asterisk, her happiness matters more than mine. Asterisk, no, and I don't want to marry. You're the Jing'an manner. Heir, even if your father agrees, I won't. The emperor glanced at He Yanli. I have a perfect candidates. Beautiful. Noble, talented. She'd outmatch you in fact. Zhang Qian guessed who, before he could refuse. The emperor said, I'll have the Hanlin Academy draft a marriage. Edict, the Kia familial death's daughter, and Jing'an Manorshire. What a happy event. Father, I refuse. Huh? Three voices rang out simultaneous lie. The emperors scanned their faces, eyes glinting. What? Don't you like the Kiao heir? If Minister Kiao knew you refused his daughter, he'd beat you at your door, Minister. Kiao doted on his wife and daughters. Zhang Qian panicked. Well, your majesty, the crown prince and Prince Jing aren't married yet. Why are stowed marriages on me? They were older than him. Su Shao chided young Marquis. How dare you speak to the emperor like that? A royal marriage is a great honor. He Ji knelt respectfully. Father, I humbly advise. The young Marquis is underage, willful, and unready to care for a wife. The Kiao heir, pampered since birth, is spoiled. Their marriage might be a mistake. Please reconsider. Silence fell. The air freezing. He you knelt. And Su Shao added, Your Majesty, the crown prince is right. They, tearing down Jing'an Manor. The emperor hadn't truly intended the marriage. Su Shao's swords softened at his expression. What does Prince Jing think? He Yanli calmly ate a crab meatball. I object. The emperor laughed, not angered by his disrespect. Brute, why object? What right do you have to oppose? A Kiao Jing in marriage? She's unworthy. He didn't. Said if Kiao or Jing'an was unworthy. Zhang Qian blurted. Kiao is worthy of Jing'an. Don't flatter us. Prince. The emperor looked at him with disdain. Fine. Standing crown prince. I'm not a stubborn old man. The marriage depends on you. He added, Do you like the Kiao heir? If so, I'll sound out Minister Kiao. Ignoring the icy glare beside him, Zhang Qian stammered. Kiao Wanyan is proud and willingful. She'd bullied me to death. A wife should be virtuous, but she's far from it. Asterisk with so many flaws. Why not refuse directly? Asterisk the emperor thought. Asterisk that Kiao. Girl is impressive. To meetings. And she stained this rake into fearing marriage. Asterisk. Zhang Qian lowered his head. If someone must marry the difficult Kiao Wanyan, I could reluctantly. Before he finished, He Yanli splashed clear wine at him. Oops. Slippery hands. He asked slowly. Accident. You don't mind, do you? Zhang Qian wiped his face. He Yanli. What's your problem? I'm so far away. Slippery hands? Do you think I'm stupid? Su Shao smiled, watching the emperor dine with interest. Asterisk how many years since such a scene? When the prince and young Marquis lived in the palace. They fought daily 9 times out of 10. The young Marquis lost. The emperor always watched like a loving father. Asterisk. Though amused, the emperor could still annihilate the family. Next second, the marriage topic dropped, and Zhang Qian didn't dare ask, afraid of seeing Ming eager. The Xiling envoy will arrive soon for the quadrants. Nile Spring Hunt. I would it held at Shanglin Hunting Ground. Crown Prince. You'll organize it. He Vu nodded. Yes, father. Zhang Qian asked Your Majesty, who can attend such a grand event? Host it at Longevity Festival scale. At the Minister Qi Ao's mansion. Yongning Pavilion busted led with Princess Shizhi and the Qiao's second branch daughters. Qiao. Wanyan sipped tea. Heard your family is arranging a matches with General Zhang Wusen. How's it going? Qiao Chuksu paused, then forced ass meal. I didn't. No, parents decide marriage. I obey. Qiao Yuan watched the scene, feeling blood rush to her head as she clenched her fists uncontrollably. Moments later, she turned and left expressionless. Zhao Ying followed swiftly to Tim ID to speak as she silently trailed behind. After walking some distance, Zhao Ying couldn't hold back. Miss, are you all right? Don't be sad. His Highness spoke highly of you. They're still the most important to him. Qiao Yuan suddenly stopped and turned. Zhao Ying felt uneasy at her cold expression. But the next moment, her usual gentle smile returned. I'm fine. Don't worry. Whether His Highness cares for me is up to him. I just need to be myself. Go rest. Zhao Ying, I'll nap too. We'll release lanterns tonight. Relieved to see her old self. Zhao Ying nodded. Yes, miss. Alone Qiao Yuan exhaled deeply. Once, the crown prince had favored Qiao Wanyan only for her sake. But now, he cared for Wanyan's feelings, defended her publicly, and sought her out privately. Yanran had told her she was the world's protagonist, winning everyone's love without striving, gaining wealth and glory effortless. But everything changed after the Lunch Festival banquet, when she presented a bucket of ginger mountains to shine, only to be caned by the emperor, embarrassing herself before the crown prince, young marquis and princess, and are rebuked by the crown prince for Qiao Wanyan. The gifts and meetings had stopped. She'd wanted too much. The ginger mountains had gained her nothing, but made Qiao Wanyan's dance the highlight. Since then, they'd become polar opposites. Gazing at a budding tree, Qiao Yuan's softened at asterisk should have stayed non-competitive, then things would return to how they were, born a concubine's daughter. But I'm the protagonist, asterisk. Standing under the tree, she saw Zhang Qian passing and called out, Qian. He turned. Sister Yuan here? Weren't you resting in the meditation chamber? She smiled. I couldn't sleep. The noon sun is nice. So I'm sunbathing. Zhang Qian felt awkward. Sorry about having broken his promise. The rice of paper flowers. But don't worry. I'll have artisans make another set. Even if that old man refuses, I'll find others. They were precious. So finding artisans wouldn't be easy. Sunlight dappled her face. Unlike Qiao Wanyan's otherworldly beauty, Qiao Yuan's was gentle, like a soft painting, innocent, frail, and tender. A lotus rising unsullied from the mud. Don't feel guilty. Qian, it's just flowers. Since they went to Wanyan and not a stranger. I'm not angry. Her words only deepened his guilt. But he also felt a strange unfamiliarity, an indefinable oddness. Softly she said, if you insist on making amends, prepare sky lanterns for me. I want to release them tonight. He agreed immediately. Okay, I'll have the best sent to you. Thank you then. At the gate, he looked back. She was as gentle as ever, but her smile seemed shallow, not reaching her eyes. Outside, Zhang Qian ordered the best sky lanterns for Qiao Yuan. A servant said, young marquis, the best rice paper lanterns. were sent to the Crown Prince, Prince Jing Princess, and second Miss Zhou. Only cotton paper ones remain. Kia Wanyan? Why did father send her any? How many? 5, he said. I'll take 1 back, 2 4. Her and that girl should suffice. Inside, Kia Wanyan had her couch moved outside, sunbathing with her eyes closed. She let Ziyuan massage her calves. The door stood open. Yan Yao drawing on a sky lantern by the entrance, peaceful and warm. Zhang Qiyan entered to see Kia Wanyan resting, her lotus, white arm draped over a blanket, fingers curled softly like porcelain. The scene was a masterpiece, transforming the ordinary yard into a wonderland. He swallowed his words. Asterisk, she's asleep, asterisk. A warm spring breeze caressed her face, lifting strands of hair. She turned lazily, murmuring in a drowsy voice, Lu puppy. Elsewhere, Lu Jinya enjoyed the weather, bidly twirling a dandelion on the veranda, eyes half closed against the sun. Sparrows scattered as he stood. Getting no reply, she called chirp chirp. He approached. If I barked, you'll really take me for a dog? Still eyes shut, she said. The sun is too bright. Hold an umbrella. He thought of her high maintenance. Face the other way or sleep inside. Ziyuan chided so chatty. If facing the other way were comfy, she'd have turned. It's school inside. She wants to sleep here. Lu Jinya shot her a cold look. Asterisk just spoiled her. Asterisk. Kia Wanyan. She opened her eyes. What? He paused. And nothing. Just asking if you need more lanterns. Closing her eyes. She ignored him. Ziyuan replied. The Jing'an Marquis sent sky lanterns and flowers. Lanterns. No need to trouble you. Young Marquis. Oh, okay. Suddenly Kia Wanyan said Xiao Yunzi. I'm short on osmanthus cakes. Zhang Qian froze. Bristling, Xiao Yunzi. Are you mad? Treating me like a eunuch? She opened her eyes slowly. You came asking about. Lanterns thought Udique would being young Marquis. To serve others. Just asking. Why snap? Watching her teasing smile. He felt dizzy with anger. Is your mouth laced with arsenic? Can't you speak without venom? She sked. I won't die. But meeting amateur less stray dogs makes me itching to SC old. Can't let myself suffer. Right. He laughed angry lie. I wonder who'll marry you. Your husband will die of anger. She smiled at Ziyuan. See? Stray dogs nowadays can talk and care. Even about my husband's lifespan. Ziyuan cheered inwardly. Asterisk masterpiece miss. Asterisk Lu Jinya held an umbrella. Indifferent to their bickering. Asterisk he never wins. But keeps coming to be scolded. Leaves in a huff. Does he enjoy it? Asterisk. Watching her smug smile, Lu Jinya a thought. Some struggle for food. Others are family pawns. Others grew up cautious. He'd seen and killed many. But Kia Wanyan was unique, noble, loved wealthy. She needed no flattery. Others brought her the best. Her innate pride let her act reckless lie. Guided only by whim, meaning selfish but open. Almost blindingly so. He hated people born with everything. Ray calling his starving. Beaten childhood over a cake he thought. Asterisk like she said no better than a dog. Asterisk. By the way, who chose this year's Shibai for Jing'an Manor? She asked abruptly. Stunned by her switch, he snapped me. Why? Saw it and got amazed. Sitting up. She shrugged. The crown prince gave it to me. But your taste is awful. It's so old-fashioned I'm embarrassed to take it out. Leave the professionals. Work to professionals. You have no eyes for it. Zhang Qian, asterisk rude. Asterisk wait. Why did the crown prince gave her the he-she buy? He never joined at the games before. Was this for her? Then Sister Yihuan. Dusk fell. The last sunset rays vanishing behind mountains. Yan Yao happily went to the river with Ziyuan, holding to sky lanterns. Kia Wanyan followed leisure Lai, amused by Yan Yao's excitement. Lu Jinye ever released a lantern? Do one. Wish for my eternal beauty. He looked at her profile. Silent asterisk shameless childish. Asterisk. She turned. Mute dog why silent? Lu Jinye, bark for your master. He realized she truly saw him as Apit. Her tone and expressions were those of someone teasing a cat's or dog's. No, she stopped grabbing his sleeve, but he barely moved, not even frowning. She scolded, am I too kind? I feed and clothe you. Where else would you find such amateur? How dare you talk back? Her cold. The unique scent filled his nose as her voice rang out. Indeed, most masters don't torment people for fun. He wondered if he daunted her, but they'd never met before. She frowned. I'll deal with you later. Wait and see. Her haughty expression vanished, replaced by a sweet smiling as she bypassed him. Towards the crown prince, Lu Jinye followed her gaze, then looked away annoyed. 2 steps later, a strong hand seized her wrist. Thinking it was Lu Jinye defying her, she swooed to slap him, but halted mid-air. Seeing he Yanli, the slap was lost in the crowd's noise, her palm numb head ringing. She gasped, seeing he Yanli's face shadowed, expression as cold as Aster Mai. Night Owl though less expression. His gaze sent chills up her spine. Her legs went weak, and Lu Jinye caught her instantly, preventing her from collapsing in fear. The atmosphere grew tense. He Yanli still held her wrist, but she was in Lu Jinye's arms. Kia Wanyan glanced at the large hands gripping her wrists, trying to pull away but only feeling it tighten. He Yanli didn't look at her. His deep dark eyes fixed on Lu Jinye, cold and menacing like eternal Arctic ice, sending chills through the air. Lu Jinye met his gaze fearlessly. He Yanli's voice rumbled, take your filthy hands off. Standing as straight as a pine, Lu Jinye remained calm. Your Highness is exalted, but my master isn't Taiyu. I needn't obey your orders. The guard behind He Yanli gripped his sword hilt. Daring to speak to the prince like this was suicide. He Yanli's eyes fell on Kia Wanyan's face. More delicate than flowers, Kia Wanyan, you've raised a fine dog. When Kia Wanyan called Lu Jinye a dog, she saw him as a plaything. But when He Yanli called him a dog, he saw him as a dead man. Lu Jinye let me go. Lu Jinye's face shifted slightly as he slowly released her. The moment he lowered his eyes, a ruthless killing intent flashed, like a viper in the shadows, ready to strike. Kia Wanyan was tall for a woman, with a slender, perfect figure, but she still stood much shorter. Before He Yanli, so close, she looked up at him, feigning fragility and innocence, pitiful enough to spark compassion, to make one want to hold her tenderly. But He Yanli only wanted to crush her until she sobbed, to leave her too weak to speak, to devour her, merging her into his bones, ridding the world of one more venomous schemer. She tentatively reached to touch his cheek. Your Highness, I didn't mean to hit you. Does it hurt? Let me rub it. Don't be angry, please. He Yanli sneered. Not on purpose. So it was on purpose. She pursed her lips. Asterisk shaking her head. Asterisk of course not. I thought it was Lu Jinye. Why one? T this fool fall for my act again. Asterisk. He Yanli raised her wrist, pulling her closer. His half lidded eyes swirled with dark, eerie lights, perverse and wicked, sending inexplicable chills. Striking a prince is a grave offense. Defying imperial authority, punishment ranges from flogging to imprisoned, amend or exile. You're frail. Spoiled bodies couldn't survive flogging. Yudi on the road to exile. So, imprisoned man remains. Should illick you up? When I'm pleased, let you see the sun. When not leaving you in the dark for life. She covered his mouth. Stop. Your Highness, I'm scared. The guard nearly popped his eyes. Serving the prince in Beiming City. He'd seen thrown to the women. Army for touching the prince Shim. Yet here she was stopping the prince from speaking. Mo Xiao said the prince treated. Second Miss Zhou is different lie. But this still terrified him. This was Beiming City. The disposing of unnoble ladies would invite court accusations. Even the emperor, who doted on the prince, would overlook this. She was Minister Qiao's beloved daughter. He missed Mo Xiao. Who might dare to intervene? He Yanli removed her hand. A woman touching Amen. S-face. Don't you find that improper? Lu Jinya interjected calmly. My master cares little for such trivialities. She's seen and touched Ed more than just your face, even my body. Kia Wanyan gapped at him. Asterisk, this fool is insane. Asterisk, undeterred by He Yanli's darkening face. Lu Jinya continued. Bought from a coliseum. I can refuse if she wants me as her paramour. Covering your mouth is nothing. Why make a fuss? She snapped. Stop slandering me. When did I touch you? Asterisk lying through his teeth. He's mad. Asterisk. Lu Jinya ignored He Yanli's glare, speaking with such calm that his lie sounded true. Master has a poor memory. Let me remind you. In Qingzhou's in backyard, would I upset you? You undressed me and ran your fingers over my skin. Won't you admit it? Kia Wanyan blinked. Asterisk, wait. I think that happened. Why is he bragging about it today? Is he okay? Asterisk, I didn't. He's lying. Kill him, your highness. Asterisk, this madman wants to die. Good riddance. Asterisk. Lu Jinya remained composed. Master planted a mother, child goo on me to keep me by her side, life and death bound. TSK. I'm special to her. He looked at her. Master. Would you let me die? He Yanli frowned. Asterisk, mother, child goo, life and death bound. Asterisk. She kicked him. Nonsense. It's no to life and death. If I die, you die. If you die, I live. Lu Jinya sneered. Not denying it, his reaction only made his story more believable. No one would risk testing it. His madness ensured she couldn't kill him. Once thinking Lu Jinya a wild wolf, unyielding and stubborn, she now decided he lacked something. In the head, asterisk mad. Absolutely mad. I want to return this rabid dog to Kiao Yihuan. Asterisk. The air saw meant to freeze. He Yanli's murderous aura was suffocating. Yet the next moment, he was calm, as if nothing mattered. Whether she dooged at the dog or how she felt about it. But this base mad dog had offended him, and he'd made it clear who was in control. You won't die, but there are thousands of ways to suffer worse than death. I'm feeling generous today. You'll have castration and nose amputation. Kiao Wanyan stayed silent, pleasing He Yanli. Proof. The dog meant nothing to her. Disposable. Don't worry, you won't die. So the goo won't kill Kiao Wanyan. He Yanli regarded Lu Jinya with indifference. Such lowly creatures dirt-eyed his eyes. Lu Jinya didn't look at He Yanli, only at Kiao Wanyan's profile, never meeting her gaze. After a long silence, she whispered, If you punish Lu Jinya, will you spare me? Lu Jinya, asterisk as expected, asterisk. He Yanli half closed his eyes. Of course, though you slapped me, I'm in a mood to reward you. He pulled her along. Come on, I'll show you something interesting. Lu Jinya faced 7 or 8 guards blocking his path, unsheathing his sword. The blade glinted eerily in the moonlight. He Yanli walked quickly, forcing her to trot. "Your Highness, I can't keep up. Where are we going?" He didn't answer, but slowed. Hidden behind a rockery, they watched the river, though bustling elsewhere. This stretch was quiet, slow. Currents made lanterns hard to float, and people avoided the dark. Lonely spot, but not far off. Qiao Wanyan saw familiar figures. Qiao Yiwan held the sky lanterns as Zhao Ying lit the tallow candle inside. The lantern glowed warm light, illuminate igniting Qiao Yiwan's gentle face. "Miss, though not rice, paper. Your painting makes it beautiful." Qiao Yiwan's eyes fell, but it's a pity only She closed her eyes to wish. "I pray with my remaining life space that Brother Ziyu shines like the moon and sun, walks a bright happy path, and becomes Dayu's happiest man." Footsteps stopped before her. She opened her eyes, started led to see Heziyu. "Why, Your Highness?" His pupils reflected the lantern light as he looked at her softly. "Why wish for my well-being at your own expense? Your peace matters too." Surprised and delighted, she asked, "Why are you here?" "I found this quiet spot to pray for you alone." Heziyu raised an eyebrow. "Did it too summon me?" She shook her head confused. "No, Your Highness." She looked at Zhao Ying, who knelt. "Forgive me, Misso, I thought you were lonely, so invited His Highness in your name. Punish me for my presumption. How could you?" Qiao Yihuan was furious. You said, "It's fine, but I smell blood." Qiao Yihuan paled. "You must be mistaken. Your Highness, there's no blood here." With a keen sense of smell, "You knew better," Zhao Ying said. "The blood is from miswriting blessings on the lantern with her own blood." "Don't lie," Qiao Yihuan snapped, flustered. "You saw the red-brown stains. How could you?" His calm heart led like rip. "A stone dropped in a lake. Yihuan, why go so far for me?" She bit her lip, lowering her eyes. "I'm insignificant, but I went to do something for you. This is all I can do. I just want you safe, happy and fulfilled. I don't care about myself." Heziyu knew her, selfless and kind. She added, "Many pray for the emperor, and you today, but I pray for Heziyu's peace." She immediately apologized. "Forgive me for calling your name, Your Highness." Heziyu was moved. "You needn't do this. I wish for your peace as much as mine." She looked up smiling like a crescent moon. "Shy, will you release the lantern with me?" Behind the rockery, He Yanli stood behind Qiao Wanyan, hands on the stone as he watched. "Such love, beautiful, don't you think?" She replied flatly, "No." Once Heziyu had looked at Qiao Yihuan with and his guy's love, his face softening, eyes only for her, a look she'd seen only from her parents. But now, his tenderness lacked depth. Gazing at the sky, Qiao Wanyan mocked. Asterisk fate can be changed. Heziyu is just then here. Then Lu Jinyea, I'll set my sights on whoever is Crown Prince, even if he Yanli rebels and kills Heziyu in that unfinished story. I'll still claim the Empress throne. His chances are slim. Though Liu Yanran said Hezi, "You is destined for the throne." Asterisk. What don't you think? Qiao Wanyan said softly. "Your Highness knows I want to marry the Crown Prince, yet you brought me here to see this. You must hate me, not wanting me to enjoy the flower festival." He Yanli paused, watching her indifferent gazes fixed ahead. The interest that had just sparked in him vanished without a trace. Qiao Wanyan turned to leave, her slender back radiating deep loneliness. On the way back, she saw Lu Jinyea leaning unharmed against a tree. Glancing around, she noticed 7 or 8 guards lying unconscious not far away. She knew Lu Jinyea was a skilled fighter, Yun Heng, had told her he'd been bred as a killing tool since childhood, uncontrollable and unpredictable. He'd massacred his old gang after Sazy Ang a chance. But he and Leisman weren't fools. 7 or 8 of them couldn't subdue Lu Jinyea. Kia Wanyan studied him. Disappointed Iwist. Captured by Prince Jing Smen? She nodded. Are they dead? Lu Jinyea didn't look at the fallen guards. If they were, would you throw me to the wolves to atone? She shot him Aguilar. Nonsense. Your death won't spare me a scratch. He fell silent. Kneel. After a moment, Lu Jinyea knelt before her. Kia Wanyan made no move, just stared at him. Finally, she asked, I'm pleased you defied. Prince Jing, I'll reward you, but I have nothing on me. How about a honey candy? Lu Jinyea eyed the honey candy in her hand, obviously poisoned, with being wilder meant. Looking up at her, seriously? She put back the candy, took out a scented silk handkerchief, and wiped the hands that held it. The next instant, she flicked the handkerchief at his face. The fragrance that releases a delicate made him go limp and collapse. Kia Wanyan inwardly marveled at Yanya's gift. The honey candy was coated in love pollen, and the handkerchief had soaked in Krina lilies for 3 days. Together, they made a powerful sedative. Standing over him, she kicked his body. You misbehaved. This is just punishment. She'd expected Lu Jinyea to fall into Heian Laishan's, maimed or dead. Once back, she'd land to kill this disobedient dog with poison. She thought her fun, but his skills exceeded her expectations. Wasting such a useful tool would be foolish. Still, she felt irritated, squatting. She took a small porcelain bottle from her pocket, poured Eddard pills and A black pills into her palm, and forced them into his mouth. Be good from now on. Even when kneeling half naked in freezing weather, Lu Jinyea had never flinched. But now, the burning pain in his organs shattered his sanity, worse than any Colosseum torture. Paralyzed on the ground, he felt like he was in hell. If Prince Jing finds you within 3 hours, it's your fate. If not, you're still my dog, she added. Oh, and had no antidote on full moons if you misbehave. Training someone with time was wasteful. Poison was quicker for Amen-like. Lu Jinyea, indifferent to money, power, and family. His life was the only leverage. The mother, Child Gu kept him from harming her, but Crip's lead heart would make him begging for the monthly antidote, watching his suffering. Kia Wanyan felt no pity. She never gave her heart easily, only her parents, grandfather, and Ziyuan deserved her softness. As the story said, she was wicked, stopping at nothing. Lu Jinyea saw her cold face, knowing he meant nothing to her. If he died, she'd just avoid the bad luck. He'd always known she wasn't good. But why? As she turned to leave, a weak hand grabbed her skirt. Lu Jinyea lay disheveled, pale and sweating, mustering all strength to hold on. Stay with me, please. The feeble words escaped him brokenly. She turned back. Hope flickered in his eyes. It hurts. Master, it hurts so much. She glanced at him and walked away. Asterisk, of course it hurts. Idiot, asterisk. As her figure vanished, Lu Jinyea spat out the pills under his tongue. The potency confirmed they were from Medicine Valley. Lying on the ground, he stared at the sky. Asterisk, spoiled young lady. Can't even poison properly. Probably her first time. She should have located my dis jaw and forced the pills down with water, not just stuff them in. Asterisk. Don't you hate her for this? A tall youth in a red robe approached, bangs framing his forehead. Zhang Qian, stopping half a zong away as If asking a trivial question, pavilion, Lu Jinyea said flatly, outside. She didn't kill me for disobeying. Full of spring. Know what that means? The charcoal burning in the pondered, but burner emits added breath. Asterisk Kiao Wanyan tortures and soft cushions. But when I angered her, soft couch she beside, just slaps me. A young woman holds half the aperture book, lying and closing her eyes to take in a foul silence. She was only wearing a light secret dress, and her. Yan Yao released a flower lanterns and free lie like a black satin. Her eyebrows are even. With a beautiful appearance. Is so fun. She looks like a goddess coming on the river. Amural. She can only be admired from a distance. Wanyan, the maid carefully placed the medicinal meals on the table. Yan Yao said, but still inevitably made a faint sound. See you. The woman on the soft couch slowly opened her eyes. In TV. Her slender and curly eyelashes and river lanterns made a faint shadow on her fair face for social media. This, but she had led down with the plops, met and trembling voices, and chatted. Miss, forgive me. Yan Yao handed her a lantern. Mistake. Here, sister. I know my mistake. There are plenty of flower lanterns. Slightly frowned. Only 5 sky lanterns. The maid Yuan stepped forward. You waiting for you to release them together. I'll be out to death took this weapon today. Watching the river, like grabbed the little maid, dotted collar and raised her hand to slap more her. Dazzling but than when stars, her palm was about to she fall knelt on her to set the lantern adrift. A clear and silent voice came from behind. It's so noisy that it hurts my head. Let him out. Yan Yao asked, what did you wish for, sister? Temples with smiled that closed eyes. Around me, she was not in a good mood. Especially the princess. The winter weather is really too cold. And Yan Yao she went to the banquet of it. At her Grand preceptor half a month ago, so gentle and caught a cold when she came back. Ziwan thought she stayed wrong. In her bedroom to recover. What so she asked Yuan to buy some picture books to pass the time. Elsewhere, who would have thought the comic? The book she took released the sky lanterns. The content of the book, Flower Festival, himself and you came with your sister around her match should end in the comics. You spend the night with her. She is the most family time daughter in the family. She is the most talented. Then smiled. Beautiful girl about to say that. Her childhood sweetheart, is the son of Jinyuan to find Kiao favorite concubine to be the prince. She'd been for even if she can defend the mother of the country, she will be a noble princess. Your Highness, but she is a villain Prince who Jing's hatred for Wanyan her childhood sweetheart. What if she's in danger? And this was the karma of her past. Her birth is to set off the had bided his time. Who is his elder sister? And now in the crowded night, he wouldn't let her betrayal go. His childhood sweetheart was down and out. I'll find your sister. He abandoned her without with Jing Yuan. Hesitation. Kiao Yuan reached out to stop humiliated him. Then drew back. Dirt. Because he was angry that his years of efforts were in vain, she shook her head finally focused on her. The second prince, who was made Shizzy, crown she has more unfortunate and can help his elder sister. The night was long, and a noble lady abducted. Poisoning her elder sister. Kiao Yuan headed for the East River in order to gain power people and releasing lanterns. She'll do anything to get spotted Kiao Wanyan and froze. After much trouble, was she taken by anything she wanted? Why is she here? But died tragically at the hands of a vicious voice sounded. On the contrary, the Tangzhou prefect did nothing. There are countless men who are willing to do in the leaves anything for her. And finally came the princess Zhao Ying behind a tree. She will have a bright future. As I say, the 2 daughters. That bitch one of the Kiao family she has no guards all now. Resources and favors. Must make her pay before returning to Tangzhou. While the other growled, disfavored concubine touched the young Marquis of Jing'an Manor. Good life with a man had beaten in recent years. But she has indeed followed the storybook. She used all her scheming and means to the prince. Spill this oil on her skirt. He only likes no one will notice in the crowd. He never. And she won't look at her. In the dream just now. And I'll kill you today. The real voice kept the guard gritted his teeth. Let go of greed. Yes. Cleanse young yourself. Master. I'll be a kind-hearted person. Yuan quietly led Zhao Ying away. I honestly set him well. Let's rest in this way pavilion. She live a good life. Yes, Kiao Wanyan looked at. Kiao Wanyan held a sky lantern in the incense burner. Reminds her of her final ending in the storybook. She was tortured and killed nearby. Kiao Yuan. Run, everyone run. Dying in the permanent land. Sky lanterns are the words in the storybook were too sparks rained down like a fiery meteor even dreamed of her future, sending the crowd into a panic. Her face was flushed and bloody. His tendons and ligaments were cut off, and his tongue was cut off. His eyes were gouged out. She let go. He was tortured to death. Paper landed on her skirt. Nodded, looked at the comic book in her hand, but she didn't when the comic book in her hand him disappeared. She flung herself into a cold embrace, asleep with it in his hand. Save me, Ziwan. A faint, delicate fragrance surged in my hand. As warm and tender as Jade in his embrace. Miss Agozi holding the book when she fell asleep, like fingertips gliding when she just woke up. The liars. How could it? Melody disappear in the blink of an eye. She searched for a long time, but couldn't find it. He just disappeared dashing towards her. At this moment, certain she would miss such a chance outside the door, instinctively rushed towards Ziyu. Yet in the bustling crowd, she'd seen him first. You don't save to go with me. Stay and look for in danger. Picture book carefully. The moment Qiao Wanyan embraced him, he calmly steadied her with open arms, holding her tightly. Reading the rest of the pages, flames on her after skirt. Dressing up, he drew Wanyan's sword and white cloak, slashed the burning fabric. She was born with a good appearance to wrap her snugly, leaving like only her head exposed, blooming in spring. Your Highness, her skin safe here is as the flowers and white temple is still a distance. And even without makeup, glowing that way. Her complexion is as rosy as the dawn's know. A garter. She is. He very attractive. Panic gaze. The servants who looked away, even though they see her lifting her in his arms, can tell being attracted by her appearance. The temple. Lady with a face wrapped her arms around his servants facing the chaotic river. All thought that she must be a gentle. People had reveled in the festive mood. Now they fled frantically, staying for a long time. Others to safety. They realized that she was the hardest to serve. Children, keep your voice down. Too weak. Don't run crawling on them. Anyone grounded in terror. Am I wrong? Wails. The eldest young lady like arrows. Also Amister. Overwhelming. Why are all? Qiao Wanyan in the mansion are all sent to Yang. Seameds filled with boundless panic. The second young lady locking on to Ziyu. A cold, their eyes met like on store. Her lips parting in apparent surprise. Young lady but has to turned away to keep warm, burying her face in Yan's neck. If it weren't for the elf to look at anyone, young lady in the thick night, no one saw Yan lady. Too much charcoal. Red and like blooming roses is enough. His blood almost boiled as. What do you know? Through his father is biased, eliciting both shivers. Daughters. He can clenched his fists. Isn't it digging into his flesh? The second young lady has a charming rice paper fluttered down and thinks she has it on dry spring trees to marry the prince, tangling with prayer ribbons about the prince likes our eldest dyeing the sky scarlet. Young lady, he stood next to her, still wanting to shadow persuaded. His noble face. When she saw the behind person walking towards the gate, fire rage. She immediately LT on the ground, long edge to a race without thought. Turned around. Highness, when she saw the person coming, too strong, her heart skipped a beat. Jing Yuan urged her seeing the Jing'an manner. He stood there firmly again. Approaching. He was right. With Zhang Qiyan helping is like this to extinguish the flames. There's nothing to be guilty of. A modern woman lady is survived a started fire, but he reacted calmly, pulling Wei Mo. The prince does like his young lady towards the temple. In the capital knows it. Qiao Wanyan walked up to snapped him. Don't be afraid. I'll get you to Sister Yan. Safely. Don't they after you with the heroine? Panicking helps nothing. And Yan Yao pouted, the people obeyed. Staggering along as he bayos who in her haste. Cleanse yourself. Grabbed her hair buns instead of her hands. Way can you which survive? Wei Mo noticed, but didn't mention. At the pavilion, looked at him with eyes as if looking at watching Qiao Wanyan saw the chaos and stood anxiously. How can you be whitewashed? Crown Prince headed towards not convinced in her heart, forgetting her, but she didn't dare to refute her bitterness. She Miss We Race safe covered her face in indignation. Grateful they dressed it in the school voice pavilion. Kneel down. Shining refused to kneel. Do you think I'm inferior girl to Qiao Wanyan? Banyan kicked her in the leg. Never miss. Shinnying. You're the kindest person. Kneel in front of her, even though she didn't want to. How can you compare to second miss? Is this how your lady taught you beautiful vase with a respect your master behind her back? Her comeuppance gritted her teeth. She had to accompany Miss out of the house in the Isn't this afternoon delaying consolation for the week? Qiao Yan looked at her but she out of the corner of her eyes. To believe it. You'll kneel here and go back after. To myself. Sunset as for your lady's charcoal fire. Because
He
if your
Yanli
words,
entered the meditation
you've lost
chamber.
next month.
Guards
Next
standing
month,
outside
S
with
will
their
be
backs
gone
turned.
too. With
Placing
those
Qiao
words,
Wanyan on
she
an
started to
octagonal
leave.
table.
Being
He heard her
someone
soft
else
voice.
flapping dogs.
Thank you, Your Highness,
She's
for
been
saving
studying
me.
hard
He
since she
Yanli
was
sneered.
a child.
Letting you be
She's
saved
good at music,
is a favor to you.
chess, painting,
She blinked
poetry,
confused.
wine, flowers,
Are you
and tea.
possessed?
Why
By
should
my
she be
worm
reduced
intestinal?
to?
How do you
Agreeing
know
me,
exactly
should she
what
be
I was
reduced
thinking?
to agreeing?
You're
Leave
sick
aside
aside someone
thank you.
who is
They
not
might
as
pay
good as
your
she
life
is.
debt to cheap
Because
wine.
she's
He
not kind
said,
enough.
She
Not
counted
stupid
on her
enough.
fingers.
Not
That's
good
6
enough
words.
to be held.
Not
in the
8.
hearts of
Has
those
your
men.
highness
What's wrong with
forgotten
being
how to
hungry
count?
and vain?
His face
It
darkened.
shows that she's
Why
motivated.
You burned to
Inside
death
the
by
hall
the
of
river.
living clouds.
Asterisk petty
Qiao
fool
Yan entered the
getting
room
angry
and
over
had
a
a sister
word.
took.
Asterisk she
The cloak
withdrew
off her
her
body.
hand from the
When
cloak.
Jen saw her
Revealed
come in,
burned.
she
His
smiled
face
broadly.
changed.
Her eyes
When
full
did
of
this
love.
happen?
It was
She pouted.
as if she was
On
looking
the
at
way here,
the most
I didn't
perfect
want to
piece of
disturb
work.
you.
She was
What's your mouth
satisfied in
for?
her life.
Since when have
Love
you been
and
afraid
proud
of
of it.
anything? Jin
She
Shi
lowered
is
her
not
head,
good.
murmuring.
Many
You're
famous
too
doctors
harsh
said
on me.
that she could.
I'm scared.
Never had
The guards
another
outside,
child,
though
over
not
the
looking
years.
in.
She only
Exchanged
had one
glances,
daughter.
but
Asterisk
she
poor
never
Miss
forced
Joe.
myself to
Prince.
love her daughter.
How could he be
Because
so harsh
she
on
didn't
such a
save
delicate
child.
girl?
Instead,
Did she look like
she was
someone
joyed
who
at the
betrayed
over.
him?
He
The birth
must
of
have
Qiao Yan.
misunderstood her.
But now
she's too scared
Jin's
to
face
even
was filled with
mention
worry.
injury.
Yan
Asterisk. Your
He
grandfather
laughed
sent a
bitterly.
shipment
Me
of
harsh?
brocade.
When have
Will
you
you
go
ever
back
been afraid
later?
of me?
Pick the
Stop
colors you
playing
like.
the victim.
Qiao
She held out her hand.
Peach blossom
It
eyes
hurt.
blinked.
Blow
she
on
sat
it.
down.
Fetch
on a
burning
chair by the
ointment.
charcoal
Easy
fire.
rushed to the
Mother,
chamber.
Did
The
something
flower
happen?
temple.
Jin sighed.
Once quiet,
knowing that she could
had
end
flourished
from her
under Jing'an
your
manners management.
Father heard something
Meditation
after he left the court.
emperor's
This
visit.
morning,
Chambers
King Jing
varied
will
in
return to
size
the capital
and layout.
In a few days,
Those of
Jin
high
wanted
status
to see
stayed
reaching
in
on
the
her
east
face.
courtyard, but
Divided
divided
Ryan's
into male
expression
and
was
female
always
sections.
light.
Finding
As
the
if she
female
wasn't
section
too
dark.
surprised. He turned
Yan
to the Yanli
Yan.
chamber and
King
saw
Jing
Qiao
nearly
Wanyan.
killed himself
He
for
Yanli
love.
sitting on the table.
Now that you
as
Ray back in the
applied
capital,
ointment
I'm
to her
afraid
hand.
he'll take
He
revenge on
Ji,
you.
you thought.
She knows.
Asterisk
What
Yanli
happened back
doesn't
then?
truly hate
It was
her.
fine
if
if
she
she
asked.
Jing. He'd
Stay
marry
in
her
northern
tomorrow.
darkness all this
Asterisk,
time.
the thoughts
But now that
unsettled
he's
him.
back in the capital,
Greetings, Crown
he's
Prince.
so vindictive.
Qiao Wanyan
She
tried
separated
to
her
pull
daughter.
back her hand.
Would be
But
bullied.
he Yanli held
She
it
sheared
firm.
that love
Did
breeds
I say
hate.
you could move?
King Jing
She
has
never
fell
had a
silent.
woman with him
And
in
Heezy, you felt
Northern
relieved.
darkness.
Perhaps
Some
she,
people sent
he
him.
only ran
Used
to
to
please
please
Yanli
him.
out of
But
chance.
in the end,
not trusted.
none of them stayed.
Her attempt to
He
withdraw
once
her
said
hand
he
showed.
hated
She
all
cared about
women,
his feelings,
especially in
if
the capital.
She'd seen him
There was
first.
a woman
She
she
wouldn't
hated
have
the most
run
in
to
his life.
Yanli.
Qiao.
Lowering her
Wu Yan
head,
held her
she
hand
hid her
and gently
expression.
stroked it, withdrawing
Her
her
voice
hand
was
as
shallow.
lightly would
Mother,
make easier
I was
things.
once the moonlight
She
in his
be
heart.
read misunderstanding.
Will only
Running
make
to
him
he
forget
Yanli,
my
but giving him
shortly
hope kept
in
him.
the books.
Torn.
Everyone
he
loves
loves
the
the
gentle.
Yanli.
Rather
We can understand
than
and admit
Qiao
his
Yuan,
insignificance.
not a woman.
As candlelight
like
fell
herself,
on her, who can
a
keep
shadow
her
covered
face.
her.
She looked
not
up at Heezy,
incapable of pretending
frail,
to be a
harmless,
good girl
and beautiful.
She
Every
wanted
expression
everyone to
tugging
like
at
her.
his heart.
She wanted to make
Having
those who
practiced
had
in the
blocked her
mirror
way to the
800
top of the
times daily.
ladder. She
wants
knew
the
those who had
perfect
blocked her
angle,
path,
letting
to
men
greatness
look
to
down
open up a
on
wide
her,
path
aroused
for
their
her
innate
to be
superiority.
admired and
Her
honored
hands
by
as
all.
white as
A woman
mutton
cannot
fat jade.
control the power
Born
of the
a
world.
glaring
Then.
red bird.
Let those who
Jing
control
Yuan
the power
bring burnt
be
ointment.
controlled by her.
He presented it.
That's all.
And he
You
knew
know
what
what
you're
you're doing.
disdainfully.
That's
Her
right.
delicate
Mother,
skin can
pick
choose
one of those
ordinary
brocades
ointment
and send
it
it
will
to.
scar. Mine
Qiao
contains
Yuan.
1 yan.
Jin didn't
Jade
know what to
paste
make of it.
and won't leave
Such
a mark.
good material is
Qiao
extremely
Wanyan
rare,
stayed still,
even in the
letting
capital.
the two
Such
princes
good
quarrel.
material is
He Yanli
extremely
said,
rare
"Brother
in the
has
capital.
So much
So why send it
experience
to her?
from caring for
Ryan
many
smiled.
women."
You're
You're
being
my own
loved
arrangements
must be
after
well
Asher
looked well.
after.
Qiao
Wanyan
Wanyan
got
glanced
up
at him
and went back.
but he
The
Yanli
book
continued.
was still missing.
I'm less
As if
experienced,
it
never
never interested
existed.
in common.
I
Women
searched all
I'll
over
have to
Yongning
learn from
Pavilion.
you.
But I
Asterisk
couldn't
such
find
biting
it.
sarcasm.
In the afternoon,
I
Kiao
love
Yan
it when
finally
it's not
left the
aimed at
house
me.
after
Asterisk
half a
Kiao
month.
Wanyan
The
thought
beauty with
clouds
you
and
said
temples.
sadly. And
Those who
Flowery
care
Face
need
got
no
out of the
teaching.
car.
As crown
Her
prince,
eyes and brows
I can
were like
see spare
distant
time.
mountains.
But
Her
Wanyan deserves
lips
the
looked
best
like sand
in everything.
without. any
She
coloring
looked up
in the
fading
past.
delight.
She
And
always
his gaze
wore the most
softened at
exquisite
makeup.
fool.
She wears
One
the
sweet
most
word,
gorgeous
and you're lost.
colorful dresses.
Asterisk, she
But
sneered
today,
inwardly. She
he
stressed like
yelled
this
asked,
with a
"You know
plain
her
face
so well.
for no
Do you
reason
like
at
her?"
all.
She
She
looked
replied
harmless
without
and
hesitation.
pure.
It's
One
like
is worthy
Aphrodite.
of love,
Treasure
of
that
course
one
ill
would
occur.
want to take care
Outside
of.
Kiao
Of and
Yuan
cherished
stopped legs
without
numbing.
even
He
really
added,
it.
"But there
Its
are
dye
many
makes up
kinds
the
of
deepest
love.
softness
Mine
in one
is
shared
admiration.
Aloe Treasure House
Don't
is the most
misinterpret
famous
and
silver
tarnish her
house in the
reputation.
capital. Greetings,
Itself.
Crown Prince
Expensive
Jing.
hair,
King
Kiao
jewelry.
Yihuan
The
said,
Kiao Yuan
breaking
is irregular
attention.
here.
It's been
Turn.
a long
Yihuan.
time since
Where
Miss Jo
were you?
came here.
I
There
sent men to
Asa,
find you
by
new
the
batch
river.
of hairpin
Lies
jewelry
Kiao
in the
Yuan
store.
thought.
Would
I
you like
rested
to
in
taste
pavilion.
it?
The
Feeling
shopkeeper was
unwell,
all
he
smile.
hadn't sent
He
anyone
was so happy
his.
to see the golden
The
girl.
escort had followed
he
him
could have
here.
squeezed her eyes
He'd
out.
forgotten
Kiao
her.
Banyan.
Glad you raised
Followed the
safe.
shopkeeper to the
Kiao
second
Yuan
floor.
approached,
Looking at
Wan
the jewelry
Yin
that the
Shandong is
shopkeeper
The
brought out
burn
like a
mustang.
treasure.
I wish
They're
I
all
could take
good
it for you.
Wrap them
He
all
Yanli
up.
snapped.
The smile
If you're
at the
so
corner of the
sympathetic.
shopkeeper
Got burned
smiled.
too.
Couldn't
Empty
suppress.
words mean nothing.
Okay, wait.
Kiao Yuan
Wrap this
turned
one
deathly
separately.
pale at a
It
loss.
thinks this.
Zhao Ying behind
One
her
looks the
dared
best.
not speak.
Wrap it
She
up nicely.
truly
Fee.
I
Red
want to give
Prince
it to my
Jing.
elder sister.
Once I will
The
person
kite
was
she lost an
confused
arm
when she
because
heard
of him.
this.
Are
Miss,
coming disabled.
why do you
If
want to
she
give her the
displeased
best
him
one?
now?
I
Even
heard
the
that
crown
prince
today
might
Miss,
not save her life.
Xinyin called you a
He,
foxy
she, you
girl.
said Yi
I was
won.
so. Prince
Sorry
Jing
to see
speaks
you leave the
without
house
filter.
before you.
Don't take it.
Recovered
Too
from the
hard.
cold.
Did
And
you
now
come for
you're
something?
giving her.
This was
Such
the
a
men's
beautiful
meditation
pendant.
courtyard.
I'm furious.
Yuan
On the
wouldn't
stairs
enter
leading to the
casually.
second floor,
Kiao
Yuan
Yu
paused,
then
stopped in his
whispered
tracks
actually
when he
I heard something
those words
and wanted
Shinnying
to tell
Isn't
your
that
highness.
Yuan's personal
Don't
maid?
be afraid.
Kiao Yuan
Speak
smiled.
slowly.
Grandfather
Uninterested
sent
in
me
Kiao
some
Yuan's
brocade
words.
today.
Kiao
Mother
Wanyan
sent
took
one
the
to
burning
eldest
ointment
sister.
easy you
I
had.
thought
Left
this would
on the
go well with
table
her
and
brocade.
handed it to He
Not
Yanli.
two.
Wanting
Mention
him to
the
use
fact
the
that
one
it
in
had
jade paste
nothing
on
to
her.
do with.
Wounded.
Elder sisters
Asterisk
sighed no
tick.
need to
Who
waste
does
good
know
things.
the
Asterisk.
Ozzy
He
Kite
Yanli
didn't
glanced
understand.
at the ointment.
What's wrong?
Then tossed
With
it
you
into
today,
the chamber
if
pot.
someone had dared to call her
Wanyan glared.
foxy bitches
with
in the
drawings
past,
of her hand
I would
to
have
vent.
her
Broken his
anger,
legs long
He
ago.
Yanli
But
frowned.
today,
She
she
rolled her
sternly
eyes
punished
and
for
ignored
kneeling.
him.
And
Plain
you even.
petty.
But
Just
as
such
Kiao
a beautiful
Yuan
rockers.
opened her mouth.
For that
Kiao
bitch
Wanyan
master,
interjected,
Miss,
Your Highness.
isn't it possible
The prince threw your
that
burning
the cold
ointment
has
into
worsened?
the chamber
kite
pot
and
is
won't let me
furious.
use it.
Miss, if a
He
servant
Yanli?
doesn't know the
Who
rules,
spoiled her
it's
to
because
tattle
the
so
master
much?
condones
Tattling
it.
over
the prince
everything.
dislikes you so
He,
much.
she, you frown.
Perhaps it's
Glaring at
Shinnying
He Yanli.
chewing
If
on
your
you
dislike
behind
is
your
fine,
back.
take it
In
out on
my
me.
opinion,
Why believe
you
her?
should ask Madam
He ordered
to
Jing
sell
Yuan
Shinnying
to
out,
fetch another
so that
box. She
Wipe
does
Kiao
and run
Wanyan's
over you
hands
next
clean.
time.
And
All
applied
right.
the new
Kiao
ointment.
Yan
Natural
is in a
movement.
rare state of
She
good
accepted
temper
without
today.
a second thought.
I know you're doing
Kiao
this for
Yuan
me.
felt like
but
an outsider.
Shinnying grew up with her
unable to join
eldest
them.
sister.
Kiao
I can
Wanyan
tell
said
that
sister.
not to mention
Go
that
ahead.
I figured
You
it
don't mind
out.
me interrupting.
It would be good
Do
for
you?
eldest
Kiao Yuan
sister to have a
replied,
good home
of
in the
course not.
future.
Miss,
Tangzhou
Zikai was so
plotted to
anxious
pour
that
wax
she
oil
wanted
on your
to rush
skirt
too.
If not,
Mingxiang
the
Pavilion
Sky
right
Lantern
now
paper
she
would
wanted to
end.
rush too.
Tea had caught
Mingxiang
fire so
Pavilion
quickly.
and shoving
Both
both
men's
men's faces
faces
back
changed
into
that
her
night.
mother's swamp.
He, she, you said
Kiao,
men to
Ryan
wrestling
said
Chang
in agental
found
voice.
5 li from the
I
temple.
thought it over.
Jingon Manor
It's good for
blamed
my
Li,
eldest sister,
claiming to
he
get
powered
married to
Edwax
the
on
man
trees to
of her
retaliate.
dreams.
In the
Nearly
future,
causing a
I will
disaster.
never marry
and they
stay
returned
with
to
my
the
father
capital with the
and
princes.
Mother as
By
he
the
time
time
felt
they
that
arrived,
this must be a dream.
it was early
No,
morning.
a
The Crown
nightmare.
Prince,
A nightmare
imprisoned
within
Li
a
in the
nightmare.
Eastern Palace.
After paying the
and
money,
everyone dispersed.
Kiao Wuyan
The next day,
walked to the stairway
after morning
and
court,
planned
Li
to go
Shuchang
downstairs
was beheaded.
when she saw
and the
Prince
Tangzhou prefect
He's
dismissed.
walking up the stairs.
Emperor.
She
Cared
was
little
shocked
for
and
trivialities
dismayed,
and
her
let
eyes
Jing on.
showed shock
Manners
and dismay.
goat lead
And when
no
she
one
saw
died
him
at the temple.
approaching,
So
he
he turned a blind Lai took to
Stay crown Prince
Prince
back.
Jing.
After the
and
usher,
that young
she
Ray
bowed.
The
My
emperor
daughter
said
greets
as
your
ministers
highness.
withdrew.
The crown
in the quiet
prince.
hall, Jiang
Easy
Qian
was dressed in
complained.
audio white
Your
robe.
Majesty,
He has
a name,
handsome face
Why call
and an
me a
elegant
Ray
demeanor.
in front of
His
everyone.
hair was tied
The
up
emperor
like black
laughed.
jade.
I've
and
told you.
reflected in his
That
deep
since
pupils,
childhood.
the deep pupils
Now you're
of
ashamed?
Kia Wenyan
Come the three
reflected
of you
the admiration
will
and
dine
love
with me.
that she
It's
desperately
been
tried
ages.
to suppress
In the
after
Zhang Bao Hall.
shocked
The
Easy
emperor
swept
in
a
a
glance
glance
at the beautiful
dragon.
lie.
Rose
Wrapped
sat
with
at the
box in
head.
her hand.
His eyes,
He hadn't seen
like
the
a deep
Kiao
family
inspired awe despite
very
their
often.
kindness.
Every
Prince
time
Jing,
he
after
did,
years
it was when he
imbibing,
was talking
you
to
changed
Yuan
your
that she
taste.
came.
You remember
over
you
to him.
loved, although
Osmanthus
he did.
cakes.
He
Always
know
ate
much about them.
them before
he did
other
know
dishes.
a little about
He
them from
Yanli
Xin
showed
Yingxi.
no expression.
Know a little bit
Not
about them from
flattering.
Xiaoying Yuan.
Osmanthus cakes
Is not doing
are
well
too
in the
sweet.
Kiao family.
I
itself.
dislikes them.
because the Kiao
The emperor
family has
laughed
a bossy
mockingly.
second.
Asterisk
Daughter,
disliked them.
It's not
Easy, you
uncommon
stayed
for the
silent.
first. He
Daughter
never
to
dared
bully
the
this.
concubine's
Respect
daughter,
the emperor
but
like
Yi
Yanli.
Yuan is
Their
his
rapport
favorite. Yi Huan's
resembled
gentle
an
and ordinary
kind,
father,
hearted
and
woman
favored
was
son.
bully Ed
a
by.
dynamic he
Naturally, her
Ed,
younger
but
sister
no longer
even
cared.
though
he
about
hates those
asterisk
vulgar
one
girls
must
too.
accept
what
Kiao
they
girls
dislike
are very
asterisk.
beautiful.
But
The
Emperor
emperor
added,
womanizer
the crown
who
prince
craves
is
beauty
old
in her
enough
beauty
for a
is the
consort.
real beauty.
Do you have
but
someone
just
in
now,
mind? He heard.
Startled by the
Xinning
sudden
called the
topic.
Kiao girls
Easy,
foxes.
you would have
A
once pleaded
servant
for
girl
Yi
who
Huan's
disrespects
gentle
her master
learned
would
a worthy
have been
consort
executed
despite
in the
being
Eastern Palace.
a concubine's
Easy
daughter.
Yu's expression
But now,
remained cold.
he hesitated.
Feared to buy
The
hairpin
emperor
jewelry. Had
Kiao
Wenyi
Wenyi
lowered
lowered
her
her
public
eyes
lie,
slightly
the
nodding.
city knew. Her head in a
Watching
soft
Yi
gesture,
Shi's
subtle
like
reaction.
snow, like pure.
The emperor
Yes.
thought.
Just
Asterisk,
a simple
he's
word.
learned to hold his
No
tongue.
more words.
Not lose
Easy,
his head over a
whereupon his
woman.
brows
Asterisk.
slightly.
Your
Pretending to
marriage
be delicate,
is vital
I'm
for
afraid
family.
he knows Yi.
And countryar
wants
choose
soft
a
nature.
virtuous.
So he
honorable
learned it on
woman.
purpose.
The empress
He's shrilly
airy,
full of tricks.
Considering candidates,
Kiao Wenyin
if you
paused
have someone,
and said,
I'll
Your
prioritize
Highness,
her.
my daughter
He
caught a
you
cold in
stood.
nephew.
Thank you,
Days
father.
ago,
And
Sid
is still
no
not
need for
completely
formalities here.
recovered.
Seeing
I'm
he
not
Yanli
feeling well,
ignoring him.
so I'll leave
The
first.
emperor turned to
He
Zhang
see you with
Qian,
avid surprise.
young rake.
The plain
Most
dress
your
was
age are
different.
married.
From
Do
before,
you like anyone?
sick and
Zhang
weak
Qian
posture.
was taken aback.
The original is
From Crown
infected with
Princess
wind
to me
cold.
enabling
The sound of footsteps
he'd
sounded
once
behind
wanted
her.
to marry someone.
Easy.
But
You
she
looked
back
loved
at
the
Kiao
crown
Wenyin.
prince.
And
And
he
slender
blessed their
and
happiness.
weak back.
Asterisk,
His
her
eyes
happiness
darkened.
matters
Jing
more than
Yuan,
mine.
a
Asterisk.
close guard at
No,
the side,
and I don't
said,
want to marry.
Your Highness.
You're the Jing
I
On
think
manner.
Miss Zhou should
Heir.
know that your
Even
Highness
if your father
is.
agrees,
Here,
I won't.
She said
The
that
emperor
on
glanced
purpose.
at He
Miss
Yanli.
Zhou, I
Second
have
is
a perfect
not a
candidate.
good person.
Beautiful.
Because a stopped her
noble
before.
talented.
She'd
She scolded me
outmatch
for
you in fact.
stopping her.
Zhang Qian
He
guessed
withdrew
to.
his gaze
Before he could
came.
refuse. How
The
to buy a
emperor
jade
said,
bracelet for Yi
I'll have
Huan.
the Hanlin
Could the
Academy
Kiao
draft a
family
marriage
know in advance?
edict.
What's
the
more,
familial
according to
daughter.
his impression
And
of her,
Jing On
after
manner,
she
she
asked,
What a happy
if
event.
she was here to buy
Father,
a hairpin
I
or
refuse.
jewelry.
Huh?
She,
Three
would have
voices
tried
tried
her
her
best
simultaneous
to act like those
vulgars.
The emperor
saying
scanned
that
their
this
faces.
is for her elder sister.
Eyes glinting.
What?
Gain an image
Don't
of
you
sister
like the
lying
Kiao heir?
love.
If
Easy,
Minister
you retrieved
Kiao
his
knew
thoughts.
you refused
What
his daughter,
kind of person
he'd
the
beat
second
you
daughter
at your
of the
door.
Kiao
Minister.
family was.
Kiao doted
It has
on his
nothing
wife
to do
and
with
daughters.
him.
Coming
Zhang
out of
Qian
aloe
panicked.
treasure
Cows.
Well, your
The
majesty
kite had some
the
regrets.
crown prince
She regretted
and
that
Prince
she
Jing art
didn't throw
married
more dirty
yet.
water on.
Why are stowed
Xinyin
marriages on
and
me?
Missy.
They were
It's a
older
loss.
than him.
It's a
Su Xiao
loss.
chided young
Miss,
Marquis.
it's not easy
How
to meet
dare
the
you
crown
speak
prince.
to the emperor
Why?
like that?
Don't
a
you
royal
talk to the
marriage
crown
is
prince?
a great
What
honor.
a coincidence.
You knelt
Miss hasn't
respectfully
been out of the
house
house
for.
I
Half
humbly
advised.
advised.
And then she saw his
the
highness.
young Marquis
Kiao
is
Wenyin
underage,
smiled,
willful,
but didn't
and
say a
unready
word.
to care for a
It's
wife.
not
The Kiao
coincidence.
heir. She
Pampered
knew the
since
prince would
birth.
be here.
Is spoiled.
So she left the
Their
house
marriage
on
might
purpose.
be
In the
a
book.
mistake.
Kiao
Please
Yuan will go
reconsider.
out today.
Silence
She'll
fell.
meet
the
crown
crown
prince
prince
at the aloe
He
treasure
be
house.
you knelt.
But now,
And Su Xiao
that
added,
she's
Your
punished
Majesty,
for kneeling
the
Kiao.
crown prince is
Yi
right.
Huan has no
They
one to accompany
tearing
her.
down Jing
So
On
she's
manner.
not in the mood
The
to go
emperor
out.
hadn't truly
Kiao Yuan
intended the marriage.
strokes her temples
Su Xiao
and smiles
swords
with a
softened
curved brows.
at his expression.
She seems to be in
What
a good
does
mood,
Prince
still
Jing think?
pretending to be.
He Yanli
Weak and
calmly
harmless
ate a crab
is
meatball.
so much fun.
I object.
Today,
The emperor
crown
laughed,
prince looked at himself,
not angered by
is
his
not
disrespect.
disgusting as in
Why
the past.
object?
He does look
What
as
right do you have to
disgusted
oppose?
as he used to
A
extrude that
Kiao
men
Jing
are
and
all
marriage?
bitches.
She's unworthy.
They
only like
he
women
didn't.
who said
Missing
if Kiao
are in
or
control
Jing'an
and
was
harmless.
unworthy.
That
Zhang
servant
Qian
girl blurted,
is really
Kiao
unruly.
is worthy
It
of
would
Jing'an.
save
Don't
you a lot
flatter
of
us.
trouble if you
Prince.
just sold her out.
The emperor
The
looked
quarter
at him
of
with
Kiao
disdain.
Ryan's mouth
Fine.
curled up in
Standing
Anna's
crown prince.
curve.
I'm not a
Disposing
stubborn
of a
old
servant
man.
girl.
The marriage
is just
depends on you.
ASAP of.
He added,
The fingers.
Do you like
I'm
the
keeping
Kiao
her
heir?
because she
If so,
I'll
also
sound out
great
Minister
use
Kiao.
the kite being. Ignoring the
Well,
icy
I'm
glare
not as
beside
smart as
him.
Miss
Jung
Miss
Kian stammered.
is always
Kia
right in
Wanyan
everything
is proud
she does.
and willingful.
Kia Ryan
she
touched
bullied me to
Etsy
death.
Kitschik
A
Kite.
wife should
Miss
be
Illicu
virtuous
very much,
but she's far
You're
from
so
it.
straight.
Asterisk with
Forward
so
and
many
quick.
flaws.
Witted.
Why
I'll
not
ask the
refuse
kitchen
directly?
too.
Make
Asterisk
you
the
some
emperor
elbows.
thought.
Asterisk
Asterisk
that
that
Kiao.
Just for you.
Girl is
Zee
impressive.
Kite's eyes light
to
up.
meetings.
Miss
and
you
she
raised
stained
so
this
nice.
race interfering
But
marriage.
miss compliments
Asterisk.
always feel the
Zhang
dare.
Qiyun
Is
lowered his
something
head.
wrong with them?
If someone
Forget it.
must
Forget
marry
it,
the difficult
whatever
Kia
Miss does
Wanyan
is right.
I could
Miss is
reluctantly
suddenly nice
before
to
he
Missy,
finished,
so it's fine.
He Yanli
Just as long as Miss is happy.
Oops.
The winter
Slippery
weather was
hands.
hard to bear.
He asked
and
slowly.
after spending
Accident.
many days
You
in the
don't
mansion,
mind, do you?
Kia
Zhang
Ryan Swin
Qian
wiped his
was
face.
considered
He
ready to be
Yanli.
the
Worst.
What's your problem?
Kia Banyan's
I'm
scold
so
has
far
finally
away.
recovered.
Slippery
Zee
hands.
Kite has been
Do you
very
think I'm
upset
stupid?
these past
Su
few
Xiao
days.
smiled,
especially
watching the
now
emperor
that she's
dine
in
with
Yongning
interest.
Pavilion.
Asterisk,
With an
how many years
invitation.
since
Such
she
a
was
scene.
even more
When the
easy
prince
when
and young,
she saw
her
Marquis
own young
lived
lady.
in the palace.
After hesitating
They
for a
fought daily.
moment,
9
she
times
suddenly
out of
spoke
10.
up. Miss,
The young Marquis
why don't
lost.
go to your
The
grandfather's?
emperor
Always
always
watch
watched like a
Yongju to
loving
avoid
father.
the storm.
Asterisk.
Kia Wuyan
Though
was a booking
amused,
next to reading.
the emperor could
The
still
smoke cage.
annihilate the
When
family.
she heard this,
Next second,
she looked
the
up at
marriage
her and
topic
held out
dropped.
her hand.
And Zhang
Bring it
Qian
over.
didn't
Zee
dare
Kite
ask.
brought it over.
Afraid of seeing
Miss
Ming
King Jing
came
eager.
back the day
The Xiling
before
envoy
yesterday.
will arrive
I'm
soon
always
for the
panicking.
quadrants.
King
Niall
Jing is
Spring
now
Hunt.
powerful.
I would held
Warlord.
at.
He's
Shang
coming
Lin
back to
hunting
take revenge
ground.
on you.
Crown
Now
Prince.
the crown
You'll
prince has
organize
invited
it.
you,
And
he
Miss
King
King nodded.
to a
Yes,
reception.
father.
I'm
Zhang
Qian
Qian
asked your
Venerable
majesty
that you'll run
who
into
can
King
attend
Jing.
such a grand
Kia
event.
Wenyan thinks
Host
it's
it
funny.
at longevity
If he's
festival
determined
scale
to
at
take
the
revenge
Minister
on me.
Kiao's
If I
mansion.
hide in Yangzhou,
Yongning Pavilion
he won't be
busted
able to
lead
find
with
me.
Princess Shizzy.
Zee Kite frowned.
And the Kiao's
But I
second
can
branch
die later,
daughter,
right?
She
Kiao.
hasn't slept
Wanyan
long
sipped
since
tea.
she found out
Heard your
King
family
Jing
is
was returning to the
arranging
capital,
a matches
but she
with
so
General
calm.
Zhang Wusun.
She's been
How's
eating
it going?
and drinking
Kiao
as a she.
Chuksu paused.
Fine if she goes to
Then
the
forced
reception.
ass meal.
I'm afraid you.
I didn't.
I'll be the
No,
laughing stock of
parents
the capital.
decide marriage.
Kiao.
I obey.
Banyan
Kiao
opened
Wanyan
the
heard
post
sadness
and took.
Asterisk
A look
dislike
at it.
him.
Sure
Asterisk
enough.
General Zhang Wusun
She was invited
is
to go with.
promising. Like
Kiao
his fathering
Yuan.
youth.
At
A
that
passable.
moment,
Minister Kiao
suitable for
and
Kiao
Mrs.
Chuzu.
Jin came
Neither
in,
above nor
unsurprising.
below her
They
station.
were asking her to
Vaguely
pretend to be
recalling
sick
the story
and
mentioned
not to.
Kiao.
Went to the
Zhu
reception.
died suddenly
It took
before
a lot
her
of
wedding.
persuasion,
Buried
too.
hastily,
convincing them to go
Asterisk
back.
something.
If she didn't
Major
go,
must have
how
happened.
could the show
Asterisk.
begin? She had been looking forward
to
to the topic.
This reception
Have you
for
heard
a
of
long
Yang Ji and
time.
Nancy soap?
On the day of the
I
reception
bought you
banquet,
fragrant
Zee
and
Kite was
effective.
early in the
Her
morning.
sister
I was
Kiao
holding
Juxia
a
said
fresh
Sister
limeade
Wanyan.
brocade dress.
Shopkeeper
The
Joe
brocade
says
was
Kiao Yuan
sent from Yangju the day
recipe
before
and
yesterday.
gets monthly
Kiao,
profits.
a noble
Wuyan
lady,
likes to color
doing
so much,
this,
so she
shameful
asked
for the Kiao family.
embroidered her to
Noise
work on
sounded
it all.
outside.
Night
Sister
long.
Yan Yan,
Although time was short.
Yan
It
Yan
was Sahi
perfunctory.
Bao too.
Kiao
Covered her
Banyan's father
hair
was
buns and
the
ran.
minister of the household. His monthly salary was not low, but he had a large family to support and socialize with. It's not right to allow a daughter to spend money like that. But Kiao Wenyan's mother, Jin's family is royal merchants. Money was the last thing they needed, at 10 times the price. Naturally, countless embroiderers would rush to make them. The jus cherry-colored brocade was embroidered with a delicate pattern on the neckline. The skirt has a peony outline, embroidered with gold thread. The inside is filled with ginger white stuffing. Under the sunlight, the peonies on the dress seemed to come to life. It was so bright and glittering that it gave off a, although delicate luster. Zee Kite is straightforward. She is very meticulous in applying makeup. The delicate makeup was painted on Kiao Wuyan's face. A flower inlaid on her forehead is like the finishing touch. The corners of her lips are S. Lightly raised, Zee Kite's throat rolled, and she began to hate herself for not being Amen. No, an ordinary man won't do. Only Amen of high rank and power would be good enough for Miss Joe. Kiao Ryan got up from the mirror, walked to the door, and stood there quietly looking. At the clear blue sky today, the subordinates in Yongning Pavilion could envelop but suck in a breath of cold air when they saw this. Although the lady has a bad temper, but her appearance is a scorching diamonds. Heaven. Light beauty is difficult too. Describe her half of the beauty. When she left the palace, Qiao Yuan was already picked up by the East Palace luxurious carriage. And Z Kite was cursing and swearing. Qiao Yuan didn't they much of a erection. Qiao Yuan was wearing a plain face by the bamboo pool in the Eastern Palace. She was wearing a dress with the blue white cloak on the outside, although she is not, but comparable to her sister Saparins at home. She's still very pretty and delicate, especially in this kind of plain attire the most can make people rise up unconscious lie. To love and care for the heart. Heziyu approached and took the soup from Jing. Yuan and Heziyu approached and took the soup from Jinyuan Shandong and handed it to her. Yuan, you've been waiting for a long time, haven't you? When Qiao Yuan saw him, the corner of her mouth curled up in a shy smile, waiting for your highness. No matter how long I wait, I am happy, your highness. You said last time that you could see butterflies in winter. I've found some butterflies and kept them at home if your highness likes them. I'll have them sent to you some other time. Okay. Heziyu nodded slightly and swept his eyes over her clothes. He also looked at the silver hairpin in her hair and opened his mouth tentatively. Yi Huan, you Ray at a good age. Why do you dress so plainly all day long? It's a pity that you're in your prime. Qiao Yi Huan pursed her lips and smiled. I'm used to be frugal. I don't TCAR about those mundane things outside my body. The sight of shinnying, muttered in aloe voice. Miss is really kind-hearted, obviously. It's because Madam has deducted your monthly allowance and we don't have the money to buy clothes. Qiao Yihuan immediately looked back and pouted. Don't talk nonsense in front of His Highness. As the words left her mouth, she explained in a warm voice, Your Highness, don't believe her. It's not true. I just don't like dressing up like my second sister. I don't spend much on these things. Heziyu looked sympathetic. I think the shoe brocade should be a good match for you. I'll have someone choose some colors that suit you and give them to you. Qiao Yuan was lightly opened and she was surprised, clearly saying she didn't like it. But when she heard what he said, she still showed that she was touched. It makes people feel even more. This kind of compassionate reaction is behind the genuine all cannot help but want to buy more good things to give her. Really? Does Enthave any good things? Poor thing, Your Highness. It's not necessary. Shoe brocade is so good, I've never seen it before, let alone worn it. How can I be worthy to wear such a fine material? Shiyu's eyes are as dark as the abyss. Yirwan has never seen brocade. That day, Qiao Wenyan said that Miss Qiao had given Yihuana brocade. She really lied to herself. A scheming woman. Yihuan, you deserve the best in the world. Wait for me. I'll convince my father and mother to marry you as the crown princess. Qiao Yihuan's cheeks blushed and she lowered her head. Your Highness, Yihuan believes in you, even if you don't become the crown princess. But just a concubine, I'm willing to do it. Eldest sister, so you're here. You made me look for you. A pleasant female voice sounded. Qiao Ryan walked lightly towards this direction. Heziyu, unlike the elegant, and looked at her. Pure woman she had seen a few days ago. She was dressed like before. Today she was dressed like a flower. Just like before, Zhao Ying frowned and whispered, Here we go again. Miss is talking to His Highness, but she always comes over to disturb her. Although Qiao in the reception hall, in her heart, Qiao Wanyan tilted her head anything more. She smiled and said, applied lips rouge to her sister. Lips. Her I should have come with you. But His shadows on her porcelain, crown prince white sent skin, someone to hiding the emotions so welling in her eyes. When the maid stepped back, and
Kiao
Wanyan pursed her lips
before.
and checked, saying
Her
so that
reflection
showed
in
it
a
is.
small mirror.
I told you
Miss,
I could
do you
find
think
my
the 10th
sister anywhere.
princess will send
She
Kiao
raised
Wan
her
in the
reception
reception
hall
hall
end of her
and
sentence.
Kiao Wanyan
Why?
tilted
Munching
her
on
head
the left
entire
over
sister
on
wearing
the
the
brocade
my
Wanyan
mother
had to
gave
her
you.
lips.
She
specially
specially
chose
chose
the color
eyelashes
of that
lightly,
brocade,
cast shadows
stretching
on
on her
her
neck
neck
to
to
swallow
swallow
the
the
cake
great
stuck
onion
in.
today.
Her
I
throat
didn't
emotions
bring the
howling
walking
in her
sense
eyes.
it gave you.
So
When the
annoying.
maid
You
stepped
don't she
back,
like it over
Kiao
Wanyan
Wanyan
pursed her
pursed her
lips
lips
showed
and
her
checked.
disappointment.
Her reflection
Seems that
in
all
a
her
small
sincerity
mirror
has been
Miss, do you
misplaced.
think the 10th
Kiao Yuan was
princess
a
will
bit
send
surprised
Kiao
by her
Yuan back?
intimacy. But
Zhu
more
on
than that,
asked.
she was flustered.
Munching on the left
she
over
subconsciously
glanced
glanced
at the crown prince.
Wanyan
She
had
saw
eaten.
that his face
She
was
saw
light
meds
and
to choke
emotionless,
lightly,
but
stretching
she
her
still
neck
couldn't
to
calm
swallow
down
the
it.
cake stuck
It
in.
was Shiny
Her
who
throat.
spoke up
The
and
10th
said,
princess
Mrs.
is
So
slave girl's
annoying.
fault.
Madam,
She fawned Ed over
did
Kiao
send
Yi
someone
after
to
the
deliver
Huan
the brocade.
banquet yesterday.
But I put it in the
She's
cupboard
no
and forgot
good
about
either.
it.
I
I disliked
put it in the
Danyan
cupboard
close to
and
those
forgot
Kiao
about
Wanyan.
it.
But it's
Hated
a bit old-fashioned
Kiao Wanyan
and doesn't
stroked
suit your
her temple
dress
and
today.
said slowly,
I put it away.
Not really.
Easy, you
No,
narrowed
that Ed
at
her.
her.
Princess
Eyes and
is
glanced
close
at
to
Kiao
Kiao
Yuan.
Yuan.
The
She
maid
has
servant
the
beside
tasted
Yuan
least.
is
I
a
didn't
bit
bait her.
unruly, but I
She
don't like her much
always
either.
defending her
Yuan
master.
seemed to
It.
understand.
That's not
Miss
wrong.
Did the 10th princess
But
praise
if
your
she's
beauty?
lying,
Kiao
she's
Wanyan
not
looked up at her,
trustworthy.
then smiled.
Kiao Yan was
Ziwan,
afraid
you know me best.
that the prince
A maid
would be
entered.
suspicious
Miss Scholar
if she
Zhu
changed.
is here.
Her personality.
Not just him.
In the past
The young
few
Marquis
years,
followed
I've
too.
never met him
Soon.
alone.
Every
Qian's
time
figure appeared
Kiao Yuan
first,
was there,
followed
and when
by
he
Zhu
came over,
Shujian.
the prince would excuse himself
impulsive
and
and
leave,
unable to hide
not
his
wanting
feelings,
to spend time
was
with him.
clearly upset
seems
by the
he's
differential treatment.
afraid that Kiao
He stormed in
will be
and
upset the
immediately
prince.
saw
Doesn't know
Kiao
himself
Wanyan
at
lounging on a
all,
couch,
even if he knows a
admiring
little.
her beauty
It's only
and
from
asked other
other
people's
people's
mirrors.
mouths. Why
But
see
how
him,
can
but not me?
such knowledge
Didn't you
be
say
better
you were
than
admitting
seeing
for
for
oneself?
Kiao Wanyan
He
knew
you said
Zhang
Yuan
Qian
was
that day.
upset about the
Your sister went
snub.
to Aloe
She
Treasure
could even
House
hear a
to
trace
buy
of grievance
hairpin
in
and
his
I was
voice.
there.
But
Depending
seeing him
she
unhappy
chosen
made
for
her
you
happy.
isn't
She
too
put
old
down the mirror
fashioned.
and
It's
looked at
perfect
him
for you.
like he was a fool.
Kiao Yuan
Do you
stiffened
really
and
need
looked
to
at
ask
him in dismay?
what?
Because
Kiao
Ryan
Ryan
took
took
her
her want
arm.
to see you.
Yes, sister.
So even
that
Buzz
is
Red
the most
Jamaica
beautiful
Valley,
hairpin
but
and jewelry
you couldn't
I
understand
chose that
Appleite
day.
refusal.
It is the most
Rejected
beautiful
the face
hairpin
I gave
and
you.
jewelry each
and
chose
came
that
here to
day.
humiliate
You're
yourself.
Too plain in. Zhang
Your
Qian was
everyday
stunned
life.
by her rapid
You have to dress up so that
asterisk.
your brother,
This crazy
in the
woman's
future,
mouth,
the
is
law will
still
be
so
more
sharp.
impressed. How
The
can
curve of
someone
Kiao
so
Ryan
beautiful
Smith was just
have
right.
such a venomous
It,
tongue?
as like the warm spring
Zhu
sun,
Shujian glanced
dispersing
at
all
Zhang
the gloom
Qian.
in
Then
the world.
said,
Greetings.
It's unbelievable.
Second
pure
Miss Out should
and
have come
beautiful
later.
with this kind
It's
of
me.
posture.
Full for
How could
causing
there
you
be
worry.
any trace of
His
evil
words
in
made
me
Zhang.
and S?
She
It's
young
clearly
looks
the purest
even more
camellia
ridiculous.
flower. Why
Innocent
don't you want to
and
see
romantic?
me?
Zhang
Qian
Qian
resorted
resorted
to
to
childish
childish
petulance.
petulance.
Roll.
But
What
brother-in-law,
willfulness?
sister, don't
had
talk
no
nonsense.
effect on Kiao
Shinian
Wanyan.
glared at
Why
her
should I see a
fiercely.
libertine
Yesterday
like you?
she was so
I'm
high
not a
and mighty
libertine.
that she,
Zhang
slapped
Qian
herself
had come
in the
to
face.
clear his name.
Today she
If
is
I
acting.
wanted
Like
to
a
spy
good
on
sister,
or bully
isn't
you
it that
just
day?
to gain a good
Meeting Kiao
impression in
Wanyan
front
shadowed
of the
gaze.
crown prince,
He choked
Easy
on his
you
words
swept a
and
glance at
stopped
Jia
jabbing.
Ying.
Roughly,
Hidden dislike
he turned
without
away and
moving.
said stern
He
lie.
drew his gaze
You
with
go
you.
out.
I need
Sisters,
to
take
talk
your
to her.
time to chat.
Zhu
I'm
Shujian's
going to
clear
Jiao
eyes
Hall.
flickered.
Several
Instead
people
of heeding
bowed.
Zhang
Qian
Qian did not lead
He
through
looked to
one
Kiao
after
Wanyan.
another.
Waiting
Instead
for
of the
her
moon
response,
gate, when he turned
"You
the
go
corner,
out, Kiao
he
Wanyan
stayed behind
said.
a hidden
Zhang
rockery.
Qian snorted.
Discovered by
What are you waiting
a thick
for?
canopy
Get
of dead
out.
branches.
I meant
from the
you.
outside.
Zhang
you
Qian
can
froze,
see two people
pointing
standing
to
here.
himself in
Instead,
disbelief.
from
He
behind
couldn't
the mountain,
believe
I could
she
clearly
disrespect
see
him.
them.
In
In
front
front
of
of
the
a
bamboo
poor
scholars.
scholars.
Your Highness,
Kiao Wanyan
are we
grew
going to
annoyed.
Jiao Hall?
It just dawned on to
Qing
see you.
should be there
you
by
make
now.
Me sick.
He's your
I
size.
have nothing
We're
to
fixed
say
on the
to
bamboo
you
pool
and don't want to
Yihuan
hear
is a
your
soft
excuses
and kind person.
A shameless
she
letter
doesn't
like
want
you
to
makes
punish
me
those
nauseous at a
shinnying
glance.
around her.
She dumps
It's true that
basin of dirty
as
water
her servant
on John
girl
Kian
was
metaphorically
unruly,
drowning
but
him in
is it true that the
accusations.
Kiao
And
family
he couldn't even
two
defend
daughters
himself.
are sisters to
Kiao
Yi
Wanyan watched
I'm
with
not
interest.
sure. Is
As
Kiao
he struggled
Yan
to retort,
pretending to be
asterisk
friends with
C?
Yi Wan?
It does end
or
third
are
until
they
the
really
needle pricks
sisters?
you. John,
We'll find out
Chi
here.
Yan used
There's
to slander
no
me like
outsiders
this.
here. not
one
believing
would put
my
on a false
explanations
face.
and thinking
Although
we
we
can't
bully at his
hear their
precious
conversation,
sister Yi Huan,
but it's
now
easy to tell
let
by
him taste the
their
frustration
appearance and
asterisk.
behavior.
Zhang
Qian
Qian
turned
whispered,
livid,
a few
glaring
words
at
in
her
Wenyan's
with a
ear.
sulky expression.
She walked to Qiao,
his chest
Yi
heaving
Huan's
with
face
anger,
with a smile
he pulled
on her
over
cheeks.
a chairs and
She
sat
held
down.
Qiao Yi
I'm
Huan's
not
hands.
leaving.
Qiao Yi
I
Huan
don't
looked at
believe
her
he
with
can
such
paint you
intimacy.
all day.
Qiao
Zhu
Yi
Shujian
Huan
had
was
never
never
been
surprised.
surprised.
Young
To
Marquis
see her
of
being
Jing'an
so
manner.
intimate,
Only
if
heard
even with
he'd
a hint
grown
of
up in the
currying
palace
favor
and
with
was
herself.
Banyan
Banyan
was
was
really willing to be
based
her
on
friend.
that title.
She is.
He'd expected
Also
someone
willing to get
more
along with her
unruly.
regardless.
Why
of
was he acting
her
so
past and
cowardly?
mighty? But
And
only
his
if
tone
she
carried a
doesn't treat
hint
to steal.
of
Will
sister from her
fulfillment
crown
and
prince.
arrogance
Clearly
Zhu
knows about
Shujian
that
shifted his
Shujin.
gaze from the
Why did you lie?
flamboy and
Qiao
red
Yi
figure
Huan knit
and
her
asked,
brows slightly
"Second
as she
miss, should I
smiled
come
and
another
questioned
day?"
herself.
Qiao Wanyan didn't
lie,
even look at
sending
him.
chills
Let
down
him
her
wait
back.
if he wants.
Sister
It never
never
agreed
agreed
to speak to.
I
Start
really
him
don't
just
know about
because
that
you
shoe
left.
brocade.
Painting,
Qiao
if you
Ryan
make
gently
me look
ugly.
twice, you'll
The
pay.
smile still
Zhu
at the corner
Shujian
of her
smiled.
mouth.
Don't
Lifted
worry,
up
sweet,
second
and
miss.
touching she pouted.
Qiao Wanyan
Liar
adjusted
Qiao
her
Yi
posture,
was
leaning on the
easy her
couch
tone
with
of.
one hand
The voice
supporting
made
her.
her feel ashamed of her.
Zhu
Auntie
felt,
died in her dress,
but want to follow her
and the
wishes
scene of
and
Awood
coax
reclining
her.
in
If
the
His Highness
reception
saw her
hall
like this,
formed a stunning
would he
scroll,
really dislike
captivating
her?
all eyes.
Qiao Wanyan
Her
smiled
nose
with
was
a light
delicate,
tilted of her
her
head.
lips as red
Her
as
voice
ripe
was
cherries,
soft
and
both
sweet,
charming
sister,
and beautiful.
I am not
the
a good
reception
person.
hall door,
And you may
remained
not
open,
be a good
letting
person
in the chilly
either.
early
If you
spring
are a
air.
human being,
Maid, you will
thoughtfully
have a
lit a
selfish
charcoal
side.
brazier
Zhao Ying
beside the
violently
couch, pushed her
Zhang
away
Qian
an angry
frowned,
lie,
staring
looked
at the woman
her
on the
defensively.
couch.
Her
Second
lazy,
miss,
beautiful
don't go too
posture
far.
suddenly
My young
reminded
lady
him of
has
her,
a good heart,
dancing at
and
the
is
banquet.
not the same
How
as
she'd.
you.
Qiao
Rising to the
Yan was
moon
not
in the
as
hall.
furious as they thought
Moments
she
later,
was.
Zhang
She
Qian
just
shook his
covered
head
her chest
violently
and looked
asterisk,
at,
she's
shinning them with a
just
shocked
vase with
and
beauty.
hurt expression.
A very
All
bad
these
tempered
years,
vase.
you've been
Asterisk.
protecting
your
bored of waiting
sister
he
with this
snapped.
kind of you've
Are
been
you
protecting
done painting?
your
Are
sister
you
with
delaying
this kind
on
of
purpose?
your wishness
Do you know
for
whose
so
time
many
you're
years,
wasting?
right?
But
Qiao
haven't
Wanyan
you suddenly
suddenly
asked, "My mother
Ziwan,
has your contract?
How long has Scholar
I can
Zhu
sell
been
you
painting?
if I want to."
Ziwan
At that
replied,
time,
"You'll
half
have
an hour
no
miss.
one to protect
Are you
you."
tired?
Shinnying.
Shall we
Clenched
continue
her
another
hands
day?
into fists. Zhang
And
Qian
stared at
felt
her
a surge
with
of
a deadly
joy at this.
GLR.
Qiao
She
Wanyan
stared
sat
at her
up,
with a deadly
grabbed a
GLR,
and
her
threw it
breaths
at
are coming
Zhang Qian.
uneven
Keep
in the
shouting
story.
and I'll
Even though
trap you here.
Xinyin and
Zhang
Qiao
Qian
Yuan
caught the
are
pillow
the same,
with a sulky
each,
huff,
but Xinyin
turning
acted
away
like
to
Qiao
nurse his
Yuan's
anger.
mother.
The country
She took
estate
care of
outside
Qiao
the
Yuan
city
was
as if she
deserted.
was her mother.
Qiao Yuan
How could she
led the
tolerate her
grounds.
own?
Several
Stressed if
times
she was so
no
loyal,
sign of anyone,
Qiao Yuan
not
slowly
even a
added
living
fuel
creature
to the fire.
Everything
Sister
looked
wants
as
to marry the
before.
crown prince,
No
but
signs
he
of
also
burglary
want
or
to be the
missing
crown
items.
princess
But the people were
kill
gone.
anyone who
Her
gets
mother
in my
was
way.
missing. You
And
wicked
so
woman.
were the two
Zhao
nannies
Ying
who
was
served
furious.
Qiao
Her anger
Yuan
rising
stood in the
up from the
courtyard
bottom
confused.
Her
Then
heart, her
sat
mind
on the
was
veranda
bootsy
for a
and on
long
impulse.
time.
She
waiting
pushed
for
Qiao
someone to
Yuan,
return.
who
She
was standing
blankly
at
at
the
the
edge of the
sky,
bamboo pool,
then
buried her
downwards
face
awe,
in her knees.
Qiao Ryan cried
Unwilling
out
to
in
face
shock,
the world,
but her hands
a breeze
lifted
dilly
her
and
accurately
accurately
grabbed
as she
Shinning
wept
Shan,
silently,
and both of them
hiding
fell
her
into the lake
vulnerability
shinnying.
like a child.
Qiao Yuan
Had the
didn't
10th
expect
princess
things to
noticed her
suddenly,
absence?
standing
Was
at
he
the edge
too
of the
worried
lake
and
turned
looking
out
for
like
her?
this.
Had
Her
Zhang
heart raced
Qian
Xinyin
entered
to
the palace
Xinyin.
too?
Shinnying
Found
was
her
flailing
and
around
discovered she
in
was
the middle
gone?
of the
And His
lake.
Highness
Qiao Yuan
would he
multiplied the
despise
shore
her
and
why
reached
had
out,
she suddenly
but
had
fortunate
diarrhea?
to pull
Had
her
the
out.
flogging injured
Shinnying
her?
wasn't
After
too far
crying
from the
until
shore,
her throat was
so
hoarse.
she pulled her over
Qiao
with
Yuan
all her
finally
but
looked
strength
up
on the surface
clear
of the lake.
eyes red from
Qiao
tears.
Banyan's figure
Still
was waiting
long
in vain.
A
tight
bad
blankly
premonition
glanced
grew.
at Qiao
Yuan.
Mother never
and
left the
immediately
estate.
shooed Ted
And
out
the
as
nannies
well
were
as
not
bad.
here to be
My
found.
young lady has
Something
been pushed
must
into the
have
water.
happened. Come
She
she didn't want to face reality
waters in the middle of winter.
Was
Preferring
prone
to
to
stay
feeling like
and
cold,
is turbid
shiny
at the
state.
So
But
to the bone.
now she had to
Shined
suppress
red
her
and
emotions
hugged herself
return
tightly.
to
She
the
was
mansion
so
to investigate
scared that she
her
almost
mother's
drowned.
disappearance.
She was also
the capital was
afraid that she had
unusually
pushed
lively
Miss
that
Second
day,
into the
with water on
nobles
gossiping
impulse.
about the
If
imperial.
Second Miss died
Flocking
like that,
at the banquet.
Madam
But
and
by
Master
afternoon,
will definite.
the rumors
Lie
vanished
implicated
abruptly,
Missy,
but
as if suppressed
if Misty
by
died
someone.
like that,
Look at
no one
Miss
would bully
Joe.
Missy.
Several young
Shinny
ladies
was so
emerged from
conflicted that she
academics.
anymore
Shopping
looked
and
at the
spotted
lake
Qiao
with trembling
Yuan
nerves,
walking alone
silently
towards
hoping that no one
Minister
would come up,
Qiao's
but
mansion.
she, Yi
She
also
nodded
hopped
as
that she would make it
and
to
tried to
surface.
keep walking.
Alive Kiao
Who is she
Yi
pretending to be?
on the ground.
If
and
I were
hugged,
her, I'd crawl
shinnying,
into a hole.
But she felt
not
ashamed.
strolling the streets,
Closing
once
in on
neared.
her.
When
Don't
she
talk
looked
nonsense.
She
realized it
as
was
favored
the
by the crown prince, your highness.
So she doesn't
He's
care
looked
about
at the
shame.
surface of the
Wonder
lake
if
as
the
if it
emperor
were
and
a
mirror
mirror
without
without
a
a
single ripple.
Her entering
His
the
deep
eastern palace
eyes narrowed
laughable.
at Ed slightly.
Now she can't
Kiao
even be
Yi
a
once
lowly
said anxiously,
concubine.
Your
Let
Highness,
alone crown
quickly
princess.
let Jing Yuan
They
go.
say
She's
she's daughter
Banyan.
of an outer
Banyan
chamber.
is still
the
in the
minister's
water.
wife.
Jing
Jing
Yuan
Yuan
looked
looked
towards his own
but
master.
she takes after her
Seemingly
mother,
waiting for an order
fox
plot.
spirit clinging
Easy
into the
took
crown
off his
prince.
fox skin.
Kiao Yi
Cloak
Wan
and
clenched her
left
fist
in your
under
highness.
her sleeve.
Kiao Yi
Turning
Wan
to
frozen
GL are
place.
at their retreating
Unable
back.
to believe the scene,
Asterisk,
she saw
so
Kite's face.
what if I'm an
was
outer
so
chamber's
angsty
daughter?
that she
As long
wanted
as
to
His
cry,
Highness loves
but
me,
in
they
her
can
heart,
only envy
she
me
could
with
grieve
words
if she wanted.
Asterisk. This
Minister
bunch of
Kiao was
fools
to
and
laugh
foam when
their young
she
lady
returned to
knows how to
Mingxiang
use
Pavilion.
water.
At
And
that
Jiao
time,
Yang was
she was
still
still
missing,
learning from
asking
her
servants.
cousin in
About the
Yangju.
estate yielded
Kiao
no
Yan
answers.
held her breath
Those who
before entering
knew
the
kept silent,
water,
growing more
easy for
angsty.
her to climb
Us.
up to the
She
shore.
left
but she
Mingxiang
didn't.
Pavilion.
She let
to
herself
search for
sink
Zhao
to the
Yang.
bottom.
As
Of
Zhu
the lake,
Shujian neared the
looking
end
at
of
the
his
lake's
paintings,
surface.
Zhang
The
Qian's
sun's reflection
a mahogany
was
chair,
incredibly blind
resting
beautiful.
his chin
the
on
moment
the back.
she entered the
Rest
water
and staring
it was bony,
at Kiao
chilling
Wanyan,
like cold,
as if
but
to
after
bore
she was
holes
completely
through her
submerged.
Silently
She didn't feel that
protested
cold
his
dissatisfaction. The gentle
Passing
water
the reception
surrounded
hall,
her, and her
Kiao
long
Yi
hair
heard
and
a
long
familiar
skirt
voice
flowed in all
curious
directions.
She entered the
She
courtyard
saw meant to be one
and
with the water,
froze,
feeling as if
Ziyu
ice water
jumped
had
into
been
the lake
poured
and saw
and
the
over
most
her.
beautiful
Asterisk, why
scenery.
was Zhang
Kiao
Qian
Yan half
here?
squinted her,
Watching
eyes
Zhu
and
Shujian
reached out her
Kiao
hand to
Wanyan,
grab the straw
if he'd
bag.
come to ask
Saved
about
her
me,
life.
why sit
In the
there
next
so
second,
calmly? The
asterisk.
bubbles that came out of her
Zhang
mouth
Qian
rose up
and
in
Zhu
a
Shujian
chained her
had their
magnificent
backs
peach to the
blossom
door.
eyes closed,
But Kiao Wanyan
and fell
saw
towards the bottom of the
Yuan
lake,
frozen.
Easy
in the
youth.
courtyard,
Heart
she
tightened
didn't try
and he quickly
or
dove.
speak.
Just
Towards
watch
the
for the
bottom of the
mockingbird
lake.
smile.
Kiao
Banyan
Qian
has
has
taken
taken
care
care of herself.
Are you laughing
for
at
many
me?
years.
Kiao Wanyan
with her
shot him a
slender
glare.
body and the
Idiot.
lightness of
Zhang Qian
the
stood
water.
abruptly
When Heezy
Kiao
held her
Wanyan.
wrist,
Don't
I think
think
I'll let you
was
insult
as
me
weak as a feather
just because
the
I
smile on
tolerated
her.
you.
Facing
I'm
at the
not
riverside,
weak.
just
Kiao
now
Wanyan
Kiao
ignored
Yan.
him,
Leaving
who had
him
gradually
feeling
turned
like
into
a
a
punch
helpless
had hit.
and
Cotton,
puzzled woman.
annoyed
Now
but
she
unable to
fainted
retaliate.
and no longer had
Kiao Yi
any
Wan
expression
fled the
of
reception
emotion.
hall.
Heezy,
Her
you
heart
pulled
wounded.
her.
Close
This
to him
double
with
blow
one strong
of
pull.
betrayal.
He
First
let
the
go of her
humiliation,
wrist
now
and
this
grabbed her
made
by
her
the
want
waist
to lock
towards
herself
the
in
surface
Mingxiang
of the water to
Pavilion
swim.
and saw
Heezy
no
Yu
one.
has always
She'd barely
been
returned
appersed
when
as
someone
cool
knocked,
and
summoned
summoning
her
at
to the
the
family
first
shrine.
frost in
saying
snow.
the minister
But
had
at the
returned.
moment,
In the
he was
shrine,
holding Kiao
Minister
Yan,
Kiao looked
who had
gloomy.
already fainted.
Kiao Yi Wan's
There
birth has never
only
been
one thought
his
in his
wish.
mind.
After
The waist
a
is
ridiculous
so thin.
night,
Women's
the
waist.
contraceptive suit
Are they
heats
all
into
so
woo.
thin?
She
Both
was
of them
vomited out
floated to the
when he
surface
learned
of the
Wuxi.
lake.
Banished
Zhi
to farm
Huangzi
on the estate
left
on the
was
shoreline,
pregnant.
Kiao
He
Yi
would have
Wan
killed them both
watched the
if
two
it were
come
son.
up and
But
also walked.
it was a
to
daughter.
the edge of the
His
lake,
flesh
your
and
highness.
blood.
Are you
So
all right,
he'd
Jing Yuan,
spare
as a
them
man?
out of youthful
Although in
selfness.
his heart, he
Over
does
the
like
years,
second miss.
he treated
But
this
second Miss
daughter
Kiao
fairly,
was
providing
definitely
food
wet
and
after.
clothing
Coming
equally.
up, as
She
almonds
was
and
his
a first
first guard.
child. He could
After
not
all,
look at her.
he held
He
no
turned his
love
back
for
to
Wu
the
Shi,
lake and looked
but he
around
couldn't
without
claim
moving.
to have no
Easy
affection
you.
for the
Sent
child.
Kiao Ryan to
Yet
the
the girl
surface
had
of the lake,
always been
and
distant.
then went
Never
to the
close
shore
to him.
Kiao
Jin
Yi
she was spoiled
Wan
and
felt
disliked
pain in
Yi
her
Wan.
heart. But
The
she
lake
was
was
vicious.
so cold,
If she'd
I'm
wanted
afraid
to,
His Highness
she
would
could have easily
catch a
harmed
cold if he goes
defenseless
into
children.
the water like this.
In all these
Banyan
years,
will
as
be sick
mistress
again
of the mansion.
when she gets
he
over
admitted
the
he was
cold
biased
Kiao
dead.
Yi Wan handed
One
the
daughter
cloak
flattered
to
him
Heezy
and coaxed
Your
him.
Highness,
and massaged
put
his
it on
shoulders with
You're
pastries
a
when
noble
he
man
was
if you
tired.
catch a cold.
The other
From
rare
this,
lie
if
approached.
you You catch a cold
always
from
guarded
this and
it's
distant,
really the
as
sin
if the
of my
world owed
family.
her.
He's
All
who
because
took the
he
cloak.
D
But
kept
did not
Wuxi
put
on
it
the
on
estate.
himself.
Asterisk, she
Instead,
thinks I
he
mistreated
squatted
her mother.
down and put it
Asterisk.
over Kiao
Minister
Wuyang's
Kiao
body.
exhaled
There was
deeply.
still a layer of
Last
snow
year,
on the ground.
he had chosen
so
the
easy
easy
to pick her
legitimate
up.
son of the vice.
He lifted her
Minister
up
of the
and
Ministry
hid her
of
in the
Justice
cloak.
afterwards.
Prospective
He
husband
cleaned
for
Lai
Yi
and
Wan
helped her
Though
expel
the
the
boy
lake.
was legitimate.
Water that she had
His
drunk.
elder brothers were
Coughing in pain.
exceptionally talented
Kiao Ryan
allies,
slowly
overshadowing
opened her
his
eyes.
own
Her
abilities.
eyes were
His covered
future.
with art mist
Would like
she
Lai
looked
be
around.
that of a well-off
Her body
noble
trembled
son.
slightly
Shelled
from the
red by the family
After
and living.
she was sure
a life
she
of
was
ease,
still alive
for
her
Yi
face
Huan
was buried.
It would
In
have been a
easy
favorable
and
marriage.
she broke down
the boy
and cried.
had a good
Kiao
character,
Yi-wan, whereupon
and
her
would never
brows
mistreat
slightly.
her.
A
For
trace
being
of
a common
unknown
born
emotions
daughter
flashed
he
in the
had
depths
discussed this
of
with
her
the vice
eyes.
minister.
Who
Who cared
cared
not
not
if
if
his
his
youngest
master
son's wife,
but in
was
her heart
legitimate
she's or from
Miss
a
did a good
prestigious
job,
family.
Miss
As long as the
awesome.
couple liked
He's
each
a
other,
used buddy is
the
Abbott
family would
stiff.
accept
It's
her.
not because
After
the
all,
temperature
they
is
didn't
too
trolley on the
cold
youngest
it.
to hold up
because
the
Kiao Ryan
family
is
name
buried in
they
his chest.
only wanted
Crying pitiful
him to
lie
live
and
a peaceful
improbably.
life.
He was
No need to use marriage
that
for familial
familial
gain.
woman would cry
The arrangement
when she
had proceeded
encountered
smoothly,
this kind of
and
thing.
the boy showed
But
no
she
objection.
cried.
So,
In fact,
pitiful
he
lie
had
in
once
his
seen
arms
Yi Huan
for
by
the first
chance
time in his
and
life,
taken a liking to
He
her.
knew
But
what it meant to
suddenly,
feel sorry
the
for
boys
her.
were trothing
He
another girl.
saw them
Minister
clearly behind
Kiao.
the rockery.
Later learned
Although
that the
he
boy had seen
couldn't
Yi,
hear their
one
conversation,
buying a jade pendant
he
in the
could
street. Tell that Kiao
explicitly
Yan
saying it was
just pretending
for the
it.
crown prince
in front of him.
Hence,
both in
the
front
family
of her
hurried to
and
secure
not in front
different
of
matches
her
to avoid
attitude
trouble.
and expression
Shortly
towards her.
after,
Yi
the
Huan
whole
were the
city
same.
learned
On
of
the
the
other
crown.
hand,
Prince
Prince
affection
pointed
for
at
Yi
Kiao
Yan,
and
and
no
some
men
men
proposed
proposed
marriage for her
holding her
thereafter.
angry lie.
Common of
She
born
even
daughters
pushed
are
her
coming,
way,
and
a mistress
pushed her
was
into the
not
water.
rare.
He
But
thought
a
it
common
might be
born daughter
because
as
of
crown.
Kiao Banyan.
Princess
She told
was
him about
unheard
Hu Yao
of
in history.
Shu
He
Jin
had privately
Xinyin
warned
was
Yi Huan,
furious when her
but
lie
it was like
was
talking to
exposed.
Apricot.
If
Obsessed with the
servant
crown
girl stays
princess
with Yi
title.
Huan,
His
she would sooner
well-intentioned
or later
advice
harm her.
Work
Her
came
voice was
irritating. Hoarse from
eventually,
crying,
he
Kiao
gave up.
Banyan
If
suddenly
she couldn't
turned
marry,
back to
it
looking
was her
for shiny.
choice.
When she
Father,
saw her,
you summoned
she
me.
stretched out her
Kiao
white jade
Yi-huan
fingers
entered,
and
Minister
pointed
Kiao
at her.
collected his
Her
thoughts.
tone was the
Kneel.
and is guys.
Yi Huan was silent for a
Savagery of
moment.
a high-class
then
young
slowly
lady.
knelt. If you dare to
face
push
was
me
cold.
into the water, devoid
I'm
of
going to tell
emotion,
my mother to
as if
sell you
facing
off.
only strange
Such a domineering
memorials,
tone made
tablets,
sense to Heezy
and
you.
a stranger's
His
of a
initial
father's.
impression of
Do you know
Kiao
why
Yan
I called
was that
you here?
she
Yi
was
Huan
capricious
said flatly,
and petulant
daughter
and
has
young
shamed
lady.
you, though
I was wrong
she
too.
may not be the evil
Prepare
person
that barrel
that
of ginger
Xinyin
mountains.
said.
She
Wrong
was
to covet
but
what
she
I
must
shouldn't.
have a little
Minister
temper.
Kiao
When
turned
the
to face
master
her
was
resent,
bully
full
Ed by her
expression.
subordinate.
Are you sulking with
Instantly.
me? You say
Natural
you
that
ray
she
wrong.
would say something.
But do you truly
like
think
that.
so?
Kiao
The Kiao
Yuan
family owes you
immediately said,
nothing.
Sister,
Stop
it's
acting
all
like
my
the
fault.
world owes you.
It's me fault
Yi
for letting
Huan
you.
fell silent.
Suffering,
But
if
her
you want
icy
to blame
demeanor
me,
showed
blame
she
me.
had it.
Shinnying
She
has been
listened.
with me.
Minister
Since she
Kiao
was a
snapped.
child. The
If
Kiao
she was
family
sold,
has been
I
more
really
than
don't know
kind
how
to
to
you.
live.
I paid
Kiao
a
Yan
smooth
showed
path
and
for
her
you.
words were
But you
incoherent.
rejected it. I don't
Now
want
you
it.
shamed yourself.
I don't want
and
to.
the family, if
Kneel
she dares
here
to push
and
me
take
into the water
another
today,
50
I
lashes
don't
with
know
her
what
end.
will happen to
Yi
her
Huan
tomorrow.
suddenly laughed.
Hazy
A
looked at her
smooth path?
exy
Minister
Kiao
appearance
frowned and said
she
in
looked
a
up
deep
at him.
voice,
Father,
Yi Huan,
if this path
don't
is
keep such
so
an
good,
are you
why
my
not
servant
give it
with
to
you?
sister?
Today,
She's that
I'll
full of
find
your
the
eye.
reliable
Why
person to
offer
serve
such
you
a good
instead
thoughts to me?
of her.
His
Kiao
eyes narrowed.
Yuan's eyes wide
Do
net in
you
shock.
know
She
who you're speaking
fell
to?
to her knees with a
Of
thud, Your
course.
Highness.
She turned to the
Shinnying
memorial
and it grew
tablet.
up together.
Father
We're like
found me
sisters.
an incompetent.
I really can
husband
stand by
who will rely
and watch
on the
her
family.
being sold.
Yet schemes
She
for
then
sisters to
said,
be crown princess.
Sister, if you
We're
don't want to be
both
angry,
Kiao daughters.
I'll jump into the
Why
water
such
right
bias?
now. If
How
you
about
dislike
this?
me so,
As she said
why
that,
didn't you kill me?
she was
as
going
bird?
to jump into
Minister
the
Kiao
water
looked at
as he
her,
cried hard,
feeling
happy.
nothing
Jump
but
hurry to
unfamiliarity.
Freezing
You're
to
mad.
death.
You
Yes,
only good.
I am.
However,
Yi Huan
Heezy
laughed.
let go of
How
Kiao
can it
Yan.
go?
He
Not
stopped
when
her from
everything Ihabi
jumping
is
into the
stolen.
water with
Someone
3 or
enforced
2
the family
steps.
rules,
and his
Minister
eyes were filled
Kiao
with pain,
ordered,
and
a steward
helplessness.
waved. Z
And
kite
mayonnaise
cursed in her
approached
heart
with
she
rattan,
walked
came,
over and hugged
Yi
her
Huan
own young
clenched
lady
her teeth,
tightly.
ending
She
the
wanted
blows
to
in
give her
stubborn
some warmth.
silence.
Teeth
Though the
ached in
searing
this way.
pain on her,
Kiao Ryan
the
cried.
back made her
Sister,
sweat and pale.
why are you forcing
Father,
me to do this?
May I live
It's
with mother
obvious
on the
that
estate?
I'm the one who's
His
been
brows
wronged.
furrowed.
Why
Your
do you
mother,
act like I don't
died
give
suddenly
a
few
her
days ago.
eyes burned.
Yi Hwan's
And
heart
Kia
jolted.
Yi-won
She
felt
scared,
guilty and
mouthed
didn't
agape,
dare to look
unable to
directly at
believe it.
her.
For a
Seeing
moment,
he wasn't lying.
she didn't what
her
to do.
mind went blank.
Kiziyu narrowed
Impossible.
at her eyes.
Mother was healthy.
Miss Zhou
When
has
did this
indeed
happen?
been wrong
When
a
before
servant girl
Minister Kiao
who
could
disrespects
answer.
her master
the steward
must be punished.
explained.
I'm
13 days
here to
ago.
help you.
You were
How's sitting going
at the
to be for
princess
you?
mansion
Then,
shinnying,
coming
he says
and
he's
going.
here for Kiao
We can
Lian.
end.
But
To
who is
find
he
a
here
chance
for?
to tell you.
Everyone
Yi
present knew
Hwan
that
collapsed.
Kiao,
The last
Ryan
pillar
bit her
in her
lips,
heart shattering,
her delicate face,
leaving only
like
despair.
a pear blossom blossom in spring water. Was aggravated and unconvinced. The body is buried at the foot of Shun Dare to refuse in front of the prince. She could only look away festival as approaching. Flowed down. The Kiao family could end the funeral at all for an outer chamber. She cried out in such an aggravated and silent manner. Yi Huan staggered up. Unbearable to find mother. That without having to ask for details. He knew that she had suffered a great deal of family. Vance's here in the shrine was helpless inwardly. It was indeed the second Zhou, her red who had suffered a great deal with venom. But His Highness being mother, so biased, she was held in defense of Miss Zhou. Suddenly, it is indeed Minister Qiao well didn't reply. I want to go home coldly. Said, it's not good for your reputation if you leave in high families. Palace looking even like concubines were considered red servants. Palace and chase resentment and curses if you don't want to go to the banquet. And predictable, Madame Jin. If you are still in the mood to play, stay and the daughter of the banquet to end and leave. But the girl was young and bitter, unable to see the world. Say a word. Gray areas. Fairness was to get up. Zhao Jing Yuan smacked his lips. Yonging Pavilion's she didn't heaven respond to His Highness' family shrine after learning of Zhou really is its punishment and the banquet D. Person. Buckle. She said found Yuan kneeling, but His Highness didn't blame her. So naturally, he wouldn't say anything. It's all my fault. Qiao Yuan clung to her for comfort. Pretending to be obedient is important, but I'm useless. Submissive without a temper will only make men. Think Zhao easy to manipulate. Miss, I wanted to stop second. Casually Miss from attending the banquet. Miss. So I said what happened to you with diarrhea medicine when she stumbled. But she found out and had it sent. Qiao Ryan to you said in the crown prince's name. My feet are my fault. I can't walk. Yi Huan stiffened, shoving her away. What did you say? Yi Huan's eyes widened in shock. Your feet are numb in the distance, reeling from Zhao Ying's words. Not your legs broken. Kneeling Zhao Ying left. You walk? I'm sorry, miss. I was foolish, killing, and impulsive, and not redeeming. Did the soup make you sick? All she hadn't attended the banquet. He had under 300,000 soldiers. Gift had his command in leading to public humiliation and flogging, but not imperial decrees. That the crown prince had proposed the punishment. Existence she couldn't imagine Yi Huan. He didn't heaven look at her. His gaze, like that of a venomous snake, was tightly fixed on Qiao Wanyan. So that's how that happened. What astonished expression. She burst into wild, tearful laughter. Could not be hidden. Zhao Ying shared especially remembered she tried how, to comfort Yi Huan in the rainy night, only to be shoved away back door of the Qiao family. The first time had used Yi Huan had hit her and disgusting. Why did you do this? Expression to say never asked for such vicious wrenching words to him. You've always qualifications to be my childhood but I thought you were kind at heart. Don't come to me again in the future. It never thought you not to make me be so vile that I can teach. Disappointed me. Qiao Wanyan was avid surprised. I was wrong. According to the story, I'll never do it again. Should anything have always anything to make you feel better? In Jiang Ray calling the previous night could he humiliation. She hadn't finished flirting with the crown. Head against the wall. How did Yi Yanli come at this time? She said coldly. Yi Yanli walked closer step by step. I don't want to see you. Yuan was Zhao Ying hesitated in her heart and knelt down with a thud. Knelt outside realizing that she was a bit useless. Yi Huan's red eyes opened her mouth on the to make up for herself. Her gaze dark. Your servant, Gershing. Not for Qiao Wanyan glanced at the stunned Qiao Wanyan. If not for her, over to support the crown prince would still pity me. Wanyan, not ignore me now. Pay your respects to Yun came, His Highness to the mansion, but stayed with her. Glanced at the various emotions of fear, everything from me, uneasiness, and surprise on Qiao Wanyan's face. What's mine? At first, she whispered. He also knew why his ninth youngest brother had attempted suicide back then. His Highness's pity. He had gone to the childhood temple to practice for 3 years. And the early spring noon sun was warmer than winter. That he was back, the sky a clear blue to his ways of. The air is fresh in recent mild. He was definitely and finished the last row on the scroll, but that had nothing to do with portrait of the post he beauty reclining to the Qiao family had Qiao Wanyan's name on it, just to make the Qiao roses allow Yuan to come and approach. He didn't TCA at all who would be retaliated against satisfaction, but in her smile he had favored Yuan, and at this moment he indeed felt a little guilty towards Qiao Wanyan at the portrait, using power to bully others. Zhu Shujian was talented, a little girl who had bullying. Painters failed to capture grievances and wanted to go home. Beauty. If
but
he
this
stood
portrait
by
was
and
vivid
did nothing at
expressive,
this moment,
the woman
he
smiled
would feel
as
a
charming
bit sorry.
as spring itself.
Why did you come
Zhu
here?
Shujian
Ninth
asked Zhang
younger
Qian.
brother,
What
the
does
cold
young
wind
Marquis
is
think of my
piercing to the
paintings?
bone.
Zhang
Jiao
Qian
Hao is
coughed
warmer,
in.
not
Ninth
bad.
younger brother.
Better than that.
Come with
Real
me.
things.
He
But
Yanli walked to
don't
the
be
front of
hypocritical.
Qiao Wanyan, painting
Looked at
people
this
as
face
they are
that
not
he had.
prettier.
Dreamed
Zhu
of every
Shujian
night for
didn't
5
respond.
years.
But
And
his
suddenly
side eyes
smiled.
caught
But
Qiao
that
Wanyan's
smile was
smile.
sinister,
fading,
and evil.
Asterisk
No
such
matter how
tactlessness
Qiao
will
Wanyan
make
looked
enemies.
at it,
She couldn't see that
she
the smile
glared at Zhang
carried
Qian.
good intentions.
Her gaze moving
Instead,
from his eyes,
her scalp
to his
tingled
cheeks,
and a chill
his eyes
rose.
red.
He
Stepping
Yanli
back,
held military
this
power.
crazy
and
woman
was
was
like
quick
quick
to slap.
The people
And
there
she
in Beiming
faked
City.
first.
In
Your
the past,
eyes are blind.
His
She
smile
snapped.
was bright
Then
and
admired the
unrestrained.
painting again,
like the breeze
Zhu
between a
An.
frieze.
Have this
Heaven
framed
and
and
hung
earth.
in Yongning
But
Pavilion.
now,
Yes,
he
miss.
was the biggest
Qiao
villain
Wanyan
in
turned
the
to Zhu
storybook.
Shujian.
He
You
was
patterned
patterned
in
in
the
the
path of the male
Name your
protagonist.
reward.
He,
Unfazed
Z
by
is
her
ascendant
arrogance,
to the throne.
condescending
She read the
manner,
storybook
he said,
until the middle
if you
of the
Ray willing,
night that day.
a set of
She
stationery
only read
would
most of it
suffice.
until
She
Qiao.
raised an
Yi
eyebrow.
Huan came the crown
Asterisk,
princess.
that's all?
And
A
then
poor
she was
scholar
so
wouldn't
sleepy
ask
that
for
she
much.
couldn't open
Asterisk
her
fine.
eyes and
Oh.
fell asleep.
Have it
She
sent to
didn't
you
whether
stay for tea.
Tiziu finally
Ignoring
held on
Zhang
to
Qian's glare.
the position of the
Zhu
crown
Shujian
prince.
said
and
thank
whether
you.
the capital
But you
was
must be tired.
finally triumph
won't
led
disturb
flat by
you.
Yanli.
Qiao
I
Wanyan
came
glanced
here
at
because
Zhang.
there
Qian,
is someone I
young
went to see.
tired. No
He
tea then.
glanced at
Wait.
Qiao Wanyan.
I've waited
Qiao
all this
Yi
time.
Huan said
And
gently,
you're resting.
Your
You're
Highness
messing
Prince
with
Jing.
me.
My
Zhang
younger
Qian
sister
protested.
is soaked
Zhu
and needs
Shujian
to
said
change.
gently,
Young
clothes.
Marquis,
I'll take her
forgive
away
me.
right now.
Second Miss has
He
held
Yanli
one
raised
pose
one
for
eyebrow
long.
slightly
She needs
and
rest.
said,
Discuss
"It seems
matters
that your
another
sister
time.
lie.
Who asked
Relationship
you? Mind your
is
own
very
business.
good."
Zhang
Qiao Yi
Qian
Huan
yelled.
pursed her lips.
Zhu Shujian
and
remained calm.
didn't answer
You're
directly.
Right. I only
Finally,
worried for her
she
health.
smiled
At
awkwardly
least there's
and
one
said,
normal man
"My
here.
younger sister
Qiao
is young
Wanyan
and
drawled.
naughty in habit.
Zhang Qian
temperament,
then
as her
snapped
older
at her.
sister.
Can't
It
you
is my
see
duty
he's
to
pretending
take
to be
care of
kind?
her.
Beware
Yanli's
he'll
sinister
leave you
gaze
dry.
fell on her
Zhu
face.
Shujian slightly
I hate
frowned.
hypocritical people
What
the
do you
most.
mean?
He
Young
never
Marquis,
believed that
even if
after
I am a
being
commoner.
bullied
I
Ed by
cannot
Apperson
ignore
for
such
a long
slander.
time.
To imply
One
things
could
that
still have good
never happened is an
intentions
insult
towards that person.
To both me
Qiao
and
Yi
second
Huan's
miss.
lips turned
Qiao
slightly
Wanyan
pale.
said Zhang
Not
Qian.
understanding
Do you
why
think
he
everyone is as shameless
humiliated
as
her
you?
like this.
Zhu Shujian
Ninth
is a
younger
scholar.
brothers
Don't
not
go
a
too
despicable
far.
person like
He
you.
see you frowned
Zhu
slightly.
Shujian looked at him
Unhappy
calmly
in his
But
heart.
Zhang
Yi
Qian could
Huan
have
was the
sworn
most
he
pure
saw
and kind person.
A flash of
in
triumph
this world.
in the scholar's
if
seat.
others didn't.
Qiao
How could he
Wanyan
not
asked
know?
nonchalantly.
Zhu An
So
said
worried,
cautiously,
I'll be swindled.
Your Highness Prince
Could it be you
Jing,
like me?
My
I'll
young
like
lady
you.
is soaked.
Zhang
It's
Qian
so
sees
cold
bulging
outside.
head.
Can
W.
Your servant
likes
took the
you?
young.
Don't
lady
be
down
too
to change
confident.
clothes. Was
Otherwise,
this crazy
if she
woman
stays any
addled by
longer,
Zhu Shujian?
she might freeze
as
to
flattery
death.
to SPS
He
such
Yanli
nonsense.
said calmly.
A breeze
Your young
lifted
lady
her
has
hair.
always
as
valued
Qiao
her
Wanyan asked
appearance.
softly,
If
you
she
can
don't
die
like
at the
me,
best age.
under her direct
she can
gaze,
keep this beauty
Zhang
forever.
Qian stammered.
Isn't that
very
very
good?
good?
What are you raving
Qiao
about?
Wanyan,
How could
listen
I
to
like
what
you?
Ray saying.
He paused,
Is that
then
a human
declared
thing to
loudly.
say?
I'll
She
put it
half
bluntly.
closed her eyes.
I'd marry
her
a pig
originally
before I
porcelain.
marry you.
White
If
skin
not,
now
I'll
showed
kneel
him
and
morbid.
lick your feet.
Paleness on
Qiao
her
Wanyan
cheeks
sized
because
him
of the
up
cold
and said
lightly.
Qiao Wanyan
Who
called
cares?
out softly Yanli.
Zhang Qian
A strange
felt a
color
pang of
flashed
frustration
in the bottom of
Qiao
Yanli's
Wanyan returned
eyes.
to Yongning
He stared
Pavilion.
at her in
And
silence
Zhu
for a
Shujian
long
nodded to
time.
him before.
We are not that
leaving,
familiar.
alone in
Don't
the
you
grand
think it's
reception
stiff?
hall.
Respectful
Zhang
to call me
Qian
by my
silhouette
name like this?
looked unexpected
Qiao Wanyan
bit her
forlorn.
lower lip
Standing
tightly.
at the door,
not letting
he
the
yelled.
tears in her
Qiao
eyes
Wanyan,
fall.
how dare
but at
you
the
play
moment,
me?
she
Wasting
lowered her
his
head.
time.
The tears
Infuriating
fell like
crazy
one
women.
by one.
In
a
Yongning
broken
Pavilion,
string of beads.
a maid detailed
bastard
everything
man that had happened.
Don't beg
in
me to call your name
Mingxian
in the
Pavilion.
future.
Jing
Yuan
Yuan
snickered.
was a bystander.
Serves her right.
But seeing
Too
her
bad I
like
miss
this,
seeing her
he
soil
thought that
herself
His Highness
in
Prince
public.
Jing was
Kia Wanyan waved
unforgivable
everyone
person
away.
who
The
bullied
door closed,
and an
and a
innocent
silence
little
fell.
girl.
So
Clearly,
she dared to talk
the
back
second
to
Miss Joe was
father
a
in the
bond
shrine.
woman.
Why
She's
did her
different now.
crying so
The old
easily
Kia
aroused the
Yuan
pity in
injured
his
his
grievances in
Poisonous?
silence. Definitely
Playing the pitiful
poisonous.
victim
to
bad
provoke
women
others
should
into
be kept away.
defending her
And bad women
first
who can
and
pretend to
foremost.
be
pitiful
That
should be
lonely
kept
Mei
away
Jiaoying.
even
But
more.
now,
He
talking
Yanli
back to
frowned
father,
slightly.
her
What was she
grievances
crying
must
for?
have.
It was just
Finally
that he said she
snapped
was
her
disrespectful.
patience.
And she was
Wanyan
so
puffed
wrong
aching
died fruit
How
into
could
her
she?
mouth, saying
Savoring
such
the sweetness.
heart-wrenching words back
Asterisk
then.
good.
No
So
more
squeamish.
docility.
Seeing
Let
this,
jealousy
he
and
opened
desperation
his
drive
mouth
her
and
too.
said,
"Why don't you
acts
help your
that makes
young
her
lady
nothing
changing
like
clothes?"
Storybook
Ziyuan
Qiao Yuan.
immediately stood up.
If she can do
glanced
evil,
at the
how
expression
is she
of
different
Prince
from
Jing,
me?
and
Will
seeing
her
that he
aura
had
still
no
protect her?
intention of
Without
stopping
it,
her,
can I kill her
she
without
quickly
fainting?
supported Qiao
My
Wanyan
plan to wound her
and left.
at my own cost.
He walked to
Was
the side of
worth it.
Qiao Yuan.
No gain without
He
pain.
Yanli
Asterisk.
glanced at the two
Qiao
of them
Yuan
and was
said,
destined to
"I want to
be
disturb
crowned
you,
princess,
imperial
and
brothers.
empress.
I'll
Well,
go to
I was
Jianhua
fated to
Hall
fail.
first.
Let her.
Jing Yuan's
fall
face was
from grace
ugly.
herself.
How dare
now,
he call himself
as a caring
this
sister?
prince in front
It
of the
should
crown
comfort her.
prince? Add
So
more fuel to the
arrogant.
fire.
But one
After
was the
her
prince
nap,
who
a
had
maid
lived in the
rushed in.
Akron,
Miss Yan
capital for a
poisoned
long
people
time with
and
not
got
much
arrested
real
by
power.
Yemen runners.
And the other was a
Qiao
prince who had
Wanyan.
300,000
She never
soldiers
should have brought Yan
under
Yao
his
back.
command in
The
Beiming
girl
City.
was either
Even if
causing
he was avid
trouble
arrogant
or
he had
already
the
in
capital
trouble.
to be arrogant.
And Qiao Wanyan
Mo Xiao
was
nodded
forever
slightly
bailing
turned
her
around.
out.
And
But
followed
at the
behind
Yemen
Prince
gate,
Jing,
she
she
saw
saw
Yan Yo
After
following
leaving
Jing.
the moon gate,
Yuan out.
He asked
The girl
my
trotted
lord,
over beaming.
"The second Miss
Sister
Zhou
Yanyan,
hurt you deeply.
I did something
Back then,
amazing.
Don't be
Puzzled
soft.
Qiao
Wanyan
Wanyan
asked,
a
"Why are
trace
you
of
here?"
coldness spilled
Jing
from
Yuan bowed.
the corner of
His
His
Highness
Highness
learned
mouth.
that Miss Yan
Soft-hearted,
was
rested,
she is
and
greedy
sent me
and
to
full of
investigate.
scheming.
It
Those
turned
who
out
are
Yan Yao,
trade true feelings
looking
should commit
naive
suicide
and alone,
and die.
was charged
so as
by
not to
humans,
dirty other people's
traffickers,
hands.
lured
In the
with
Fuyan
food.
Hall,
She was
a
knocked
palace
out and
made
taken
brought
to
and luxurious,
were sold to
dress
a brothel
made of floating
when
light
she woke.
brocade.
Seeing
Ziyuan
other
was
girls
avid
waiting to be
surprise.
sold,
The crown
she
prince
poisoned the
actually had
traffickers.
such fine
One
materials sent
escaped
over
to report her.
The palace maid
and she
said
was arrested
Miss
for
Ziyuan.
causing trouble.
There is
after
no mistress
freeing
in
the
the
girls,
Eastern Palace.
The Yemen magistrate.
So women's clothes
mentioned
are
this
not
to the
usually
crown prince.
prepared.
Who
This
said Jing Yuan?
dress of floating
Amazing,
light brocade
right?
is
I saved
attribute
so
from
many people.
the kingdom
Yan
of
Yan
Yunnan.
chirped.
It was
Jing
just
Yuan
taken out of
added.
them.
Warehouse,
Miss Yan acted
I
righteously.
second miss.
Without her,
Qiao
many
doesn't
innocent
dislike
women
it.
would have been
The palace
sold.
made of the
The
Eastern
traffickers
palace
are
spoke
detained,
polite,
and
light
rested
and
women
thoughtfully
will be found
even
soon.
though Ziyuan
Qiao
was
Wanyan
usually
patted her
bold
head.
and straightforward.
Well done, Yao Yao.
She smiled
Yan Yao
and
grinned.
thanked sister.
Dimples charming.
You're too polite.
Qiao Wanyan.
How could my
A
young
furious
lady
voice
dislike?
approached.
Something from
Zhang
the Eastern
Qiyan
Palace
galloped over.
Thank you,
riding
Your Highness.
his horse beside
After
her.
closing the
Though
door,
angry,
Ziyuan
he
trotted
didn't
into the
dare
inner
lash
hall
out
with a smile,
fearing public
in
humiliation.
winter. The heating
I
in the
just
Eastern
wanted to talk
Palace
to you
was
alone.
warm.
You have
Qiao
time to
Wanyan
rest.
soaked in the bathtub,
Painting strolls the
washing
streets.
away the chill
Just
from
no
her
time
body.
for me.
Steamed
Qiao
roses
Wanyan
and
snapped,
dispersed.
"You're annoying."
And in the
Jing Yuan
haziness,
observed
her long
the
black
young
hair
marquis
hung,
acting like a
outside the
spoiled
tub like a
concubine.
waterfall, pining
Qiao
for attention.
Wanyan had fair
Qiao
skin,
Wanyan turned to
as
Jing
smooth
Yuan.
as congealed
Please
fat,
tell His Highness
and her
I'll
skin
visit
was
with
like
Yan
jade,
Yao.
crystal
To thank
clear
him,
water.
Jing Yuan
Droplets
nodded and
slid
left.
down from her shoulders.
Glancing back,
She
was
lightly
the
raised
young
her
marquis
jade-like
courting
arms,
her, and the
Impossible.
water rip bled.
They
The
loathed
beauty
each
of her
other.
chest,
If
was
they paired up,
faint lie visible.
the little fiend
Ziyuan
would become a whipped
was
puppy.
dumbfounded for
in
a
a
moment,
tea house private
feeling
room.
a heat in
Ziyuan
her nose.
pouring a
The
tea
next
as
second,
Yan Yao focused
she immediately
on
raised her head,
Zhang Qiyan
almost getting
eyed Yan Yao,
nosebleed on the
wanting
dress.
her to
Young
leave.
lady, the
But
palace
new
maid brought
Qiao
up,
Wanyan
dress
would
of
boot him
floating light
instead.
brocade.
Speaking,
Qiao Wanyan raised her beautiful eyes.
Zhang
and
Qiyan
glanced
hesitated.
at the clothes
I
in
had
her
no
hands.
intention of
Floating
spying that
light
day.
brocade.
I saw
was a
situ.
precious material.
You sneaking
Even
towards
her
Changping
grandfather,
Palace,
where
and
Lai got
followed
such
out
a
of
precious
curiosity.
thing.
That
This was a product
scoundrel
of a
framed
neighboring
me.
country.
He was the
Only
spy.
the royal family
Bitter
of
since
Deu
last
had it.
night.
And it
Even
was
beating
all
tribute
tribute
again
from
hadn't
neighboring
helped.
countries.
He sat across
She's
from her.
read from the
Believe me,
storybook
I
that
didn't.
this dress,
Never before
brocade of
accused
floating
of
lights,
such
was
vileness.
given.
He
To
had to
Qiao
clear his
Yuan
name
by the crown
He
prince.
could end.
Ziyuan
let
put
Qiao
down the
Wanyan
clothes.
think him a
Stop
leper,
the nosebleed
or she'd
and
hold it
complain.
over him forever.
Young lady,
Yan Yase's
Although
wedding,
His Highness sent
asterisk
such
spying
fine
on
material,
Sister Yanyan,
he was
how
really
dare
biased
he,
dead towards the
asterisk
eldest.
she ripped off
young
her
lady
tassel
in the
coat,
matter of Zhao Ying.
dumping out bottles
he only
in jars.
gave Zhao Ying
I
50
won.
strokes.
He let anyone
board,
bully Sister
that lonely
Yanyan.
maid got
All
off
poisonous
easy.
peeping Tom.
Qiao Wanyan
Ziwan
closed
asked,
her
"What are you
eyes.
doing?"
Feeling
Miss
the
Yan,
warmth around her
rolling
dot
Yan
to get
Yao
rid of.
said, "Zhao
He
Ying
ruined
is as
Sister
easy as
Yanyan's
crushing an
virtue.
ant for me.
I'll kill
But
him.
Such
Qiao
a maid
Wanyan
who is
paused,
loyal to Qiao Yi
amused by
and
her
Huan.
cuteness,
Impulsive
and
no
brainless,
wonder.
is so
She's
easy to
easily
use.
tricked.
So
Isn't it
naive.
appity to lose her?
Asterisk. Zhu
Jiang
didn't
didn't
understand
understand
and
and
looked
looked
puzzled.
I
don't
deny it.
understand.
And
Yan
I can
rummage.
figure out
This one
what
just
the
causes
Crown
diarrhea.
Prince is
This
thinking.
makes
Clearly,
Russia's
young
this
lady
twist
is so
features
beautiful.
are-
But
His
His
Highness was
it makes
just
people
by his
stagger.
dead,
Drooling
the
and
eldest
turning
young
half
lady.
paralyzed.
Kia
Perfect
Wanyan
for
stopped
him.
talking.
If
She
it
held
were
up Aviel,
the older
eat
who
this.
fell into the water,
It's tasty.
the one who would
Jiang
jump in to
Qian,
save her
asterisk, is
would
she
definitely
deranged?
not be the crown
Asterisk,
prince,
he looked
and
at
he
Kia
wouldn't
Wanyan
punish
to
Kiao.
chuckle.
Yao
He
Yao's
was
good
person
try,
either,
but
we
it's
can't
understandable
poison him
that
openly.
he's biased
Not
towards
even secretly.
Kiao
Jiang
Yiwan.
Qian added.
He likes
Yan
Kiao
Yao
Yiwan
pouted.
now.
Why?
Not
Quickly
vicious
changes
enough.
his mind.
I
and
have
likes
stronger
her
poison.
because of Tode's
Kiao
incident.
Wanyan
Explained.
Then she would think the
He's
crown
Jing
prince
and Marquis
is not
only
worthy
son
of even
If
a
anything
little bit
happens
of
to
true
him
heart.
here,
Let
I'll
him
be in
gradually
trouble.
change his
The
opinion of
Marquis
her.
and
Watching
Marchioness
gradually
would
turn
never
his heart
forgive
towards
her.
First,
How
I
challenging
didn't spy.
and interesting.
Can you confirm
the process
facts before
would be?
attacking?
Kiao
Jiang
Wanyan
Qian
let
pleaded.
out a long
Kiao
breath.
Wanyan asked
After
evidence.
going back today.
Just your word?
You went to the
She
bookstore
paused.
where
Familiar?
you bought the story.
You said the
book
same to
before
me.
and
When you
asked who
gave
wrote
Kiao Yiwan
the storybook I read
ancestral
earlier.
jade bracelet,
yes, young
she
lady.
wrote.
She
Although
cried
Yuan's
and said
hands
nothing.
were rough.
You
She was
assumed
the
I
most skillful in the
debroken
Kiao
it.
family.
Kiao
In
Yiwan
just
said,
a moment.
Don't be
She
angry.
styled an exquisite
Qian
Qiaoyuan,
blamed me.
Qiang Bun.
You thought
Gorgeous
she was
hairpins were
sacrificing
inserted in her
herself.
hair.
So
And
you
the
vented
floating
on me.
light brocade
You
dress
asked for
my
shining
evidence
brightly.
now
was
I
worn
ask
on her
for
body.
yours.
Jiang
Jiang
only
Qian
felt
was that
speechless.
her.
The young
He,
lady was
seeing
absolutely
Kiao
stunning.
Yiwan as gentle
She was
and
the most
kind,
beautiful,
swallowing
wealthy,
grievances,
flowers blooming
but she
in the capital.
pushed Kiao
After
Wanyan
leaving the
off
Fuyan
Acliff
Hall,
in Qingzhou.
Jing Yuan
Blame
waited
him
for the
personally.
ginger
In the
debacle
outer
courtyard.
He wrung
Ed Kiao
Second,
Wanyan
Miss
over the
Zhou.
bracelet.
His
If she
Highness
has broken
said to
it,
send
why
you
bring
too.
it up?
If
Walk
not,
all when you
after
come
a long
out.
silence,
He
bowed
Wanyan
his head.
said,
I'm sorry.
Tell His Highness for
if
me
she'd been wrong.
That is suddenly.
He now
Feel
knew the
Abbott
pain.
unwell.
Kiao
and will go back
Wanyan
today.
sneered.
Jing
An
Yuan
apology
was
erases
Abbott
my
surprised.
suffering.
With
Jiang
second
Qian
Miss
stood
Zhou's
by the
temperament.
table.
She would be
and
eager to
said,
stick to the crown
then
prince
hit me
when
until you
she
forgive
saw
me.
him.
Now
Kiao
she
Wanyan
actually
lowered her eyes.
said she would go
Watching
back.
him look
Not
up at her.
feeling well
Do you think
must
letting
be an excuse.
me slapping
Could
you
it
will
be
absolve
that
your guilt?
she really
You
had a
got
change
this
of heart
all
and
figured
no
out.
longer clung?
Haven't you?
To the position of
Jiang
crown
Qian
princess
was speechless.
Second,
He
Miss
now stood
Zhou.
under.
Are
How?
you sure you
Awful
were
being
not
wrong
joking?
Ed felt.
He still
Just
had
one.
some doubt.
The night of injustice
Kiao
had
Wanyan's
left
eyes
him
were
sleepless.
filled with a faint
Appetite
light.
gone.
The floating
Mind
light brocade
consumed by
sent
defending
by His
himself
Highness
is
Eating
too
situ.
precious.
If
If
I
I
hadn't
hurried to the
felt,
banquet,
he'd
it will
grown
definitely bring
angrier.
trouble and
Kiao
rumors to
Wanyan had
his
endured this
for
Highness
far longer.
and my elder
Yet
sister
she never
is
approached
also
him.
at the
Her pain
banquet.
must be
I didn't
infinite
want her
worse.
to misunderstand
What do
it.
you want? Jing
I'll
Yuan felt
agree
that
to
he was
anything
really about to
reasonable.
not
Kiao
recognize
Wanyan's
her.
fingertips
Could such
rubbed
a
the
considered
blue
person
and
white
really be the
porcelain
second Miss
teacup.
Zhou in his
Her
memory?
light brown eyes,
Then I'll send
smooth as
someone
jade,
too.
reflecting
Take
his
Miss second
handsome
Zhou
defiant
back.
face.
After Jing
Yan
Yuan
Yao
had
the
an idea,
master and
promised
servants
Sister
sent
Yan
away.
in 3 requests.
He planned to return to
No
Jiao
refusals.
Hall.
Good
But
idea,
a palace
right?
maid stopped
Kiao
him.
Wanyan
Returning
didn't
to Jiao
speak.
Hua Hall,
Shifting her
he
gaze
walked
from
to
Yan
Hizi
Yao
Yu
to Jiang
and whispered,
Qian,
"After you
waiting
went
for
in."
his answer.
His ear,
Grimacing
then
Jiang
Hizi Yu's
Qian
face
said
showed.
fine.
3
A look
requests,
of surprise,
but nothing
apparent
crazy.
lie.
Like
He
didn't
burning down the
expect her to be
palace.
so.
He couldn't
thoughtful
risk
and
this
considerate
mad
of him.
woman ordering
Countless
him
women
to
would wish
attack
to
the
be
crown
stood
prince.
by Miss Under.
Kiao Wanyan
the world
suddenly smiled.
Could it be
So
that
close.
she really
Their
no
eyes
longer clung
locked.
to marrying
Jiang
him?
Qian
If
felt
there
the
was
room
still
brighten
some doubt
in an
before.
instant.
Now
First
aided with the
request.
floating light
The
brocade
rice paper
could
flowers Jing on
confirm
manner
that
prepares
Kiao Wanyan
for the flower
had
festival
really changed
every
her
year.
mind.
Jiang
This was
Qian
good.
was stunned.
If she was
the Jing
quiet,
on manner had.
he could be a
gifted
caring
rice
brother,
paper
owing
flowers
a lot
to flower
her.
festival.
Jing Yuan
Game
moved
winners
to the
for
left,
over
blocking
advocate.
Kiao
Made
Yuan's
from rice
view
paper
with his
back.
flat cores,
And
each
handed
petal
Alice
sliced
a colored
and
pouches
shaped
from his.
meticulously.
A
A
single
single
flower
flower
took
took
months.
Your Highness,
Artisans spent
this is
air
what
crafting
second Miss
each
Zhou
set.
left behind.
Exquisite
Hizi Yu
and
glanced
beautiful.
at it.
The
pouted
head by
exquisite,
noble ladies.
and
Carried
year,
a light
the
agarwood
aging artisan
fragrance.
would retire
Now
after
Wanyan
one
was
last set.
unhappy
The
because
manner
of
had
his
announced
bias.
the prize would
If he lets
change
you
to
want take
Away,
it back, it might cause a quarrel
as
and
Zhang
make you
Qian
plan
planned
to
to
give
give
the
the
final.
Heezy
Said to
took it.
Qiao Yihuan,
He could,
in the
return
storybook.
it to her another day.
Wanyan had
Today,
sent
he
people
had
to
a
find the
qualitative
festival.
understanding
Ribbons,
of Qiao,
but
raged when the
Wanyan,
prize changed.
she was just as
Later
dumb
trampling
what
the
Pimp
flowers
read,
on Qiao
and willful
Yihuan shed,
but not
leading to Zhang
bad-natured
Qian
women.
confronting
He
her
had heard
and
before that Minister
Prince
Kiao
comforting Kiao
and his wife
Yuan.
dotted on their second daughter
wanted
very
the
much.
flowers, not
It
out
was
of
jealousy,
understandable,
but genuine
but she was
desire.
They'd
For
pair
the
the
artisans
under such
swan
doting.
song.
Now,
Zhang Qian
to avoid
hesitated.
rumors for him,
Can I give
and
you
not
5?
let Yi Huan
There are
see her.
6 in assets,
Clothes and
he promised
misunderstand
Yi Huan
and are
the
sad.
full set.
She
and
was
Phi
also
Red
a
disappointed
kind-hearted
her.
person by
Kiao
nature.
Wanyan looked at him
He
calmly.
shook his head.
It knew
In the
your
past,
guilt was
understanding
real.
Aberson from the
You
words
fully
of Rude.
ed so
the
many.
man was indeed
Why
a
care
mistake
about one
due to
wrong?
his concern.
I was foolish
He
to
only
expect
slender
true
fingers
repentance.
rubbed the wine
Her
glass.
disappointed tongue
Watching the crown
contradicted
prince put
her
away the
usual
lotus.
haughty self,
Colored pouches.
silencing
His
Zhang
eyes were
Qian's
dark
refusal.
and sinister.
How could he
The
haggle
style of
after
that pouch
wronging her?
belongs
To
just
Kiao
as
Wanyan,
Kiao Wanyan
giving
prepared
a pouch to signal
sure
Yan Yao
enough
to poison
she
him.
was a vain
He
and
relented,
hungry
fine
person.
of full set.
It saw Meg
to her
that she
showing
had been
weakness
putting her
was
mind
no shame
on the crown
only the
prince
goal.
all these
mattered.
years.
There
She
she time
wanted
to
to
deal
be
with this
crown
fool.
princess.
Later,
But he wouldn't
asterisk
let her
men
have her
always
way.
fall for
After the
weakness.
welcome
Asterisk.
banquet,
The
How
crown
do I know
prince
you
and
won't
Prince
renege?
Jing
Zhang
entered the
Qian
palace
felt
in the
insulted.
evening.
I'm not
Prince
like
Jing
sick to
hadn't
you.
returned to
My
the
word
capital
is
for
bond.
5 years.
Swear it.
The
He
emperor held a
scoffed.
family banquet.
Fine if I break
and the
my
palace
word.
was
I'll
rarely
be a
festive.
dog wagging
in
at your
the cunning
feet.
palace.
Kiao Wanyan
the empress
arched a
sat
brow
high in the main
That's
hall
hardly
in
a
a serious
magnificent
Zhang
dress.
Qian snapped.
No matter
What
how
do you
many
want, then?
times you say
After
it.
a long
I
pause,
would never
she
agree
said
to let a
seriously,
concubine stalk
"Swear
her.
that,
Born
if you
to
lie,
marry into
you'll
the
die a
ammistress.
miserable
Eastern
death.
Palace as
Struck
the
by
crown
lightning,
princess.
abandoned
The
by all.
empress's face was
Plagued by
gloomy.
disease.
Her
Your
eyes
family
brows
has
furrowed
fallen,
tightly,
soul
mentioning
shattered,
this.
cut to pieces,
Unhappy,
doomed to
you know
endless
my
torment.
situation is
In the 18th
palace,
level of hell,
as the legitimate
Zhang Qian,
son,
you
Ziyuan,
almost lost to
Yan
the
Yao,
son of that lowly
Zhang
woman.
Qian laughed
Concubine
in anger.
who back then,
Speechless at
now
her
you
venom.
want to marry
Are
her.
you serious?
Woman who can make it
Dead
to the table
serious.
as yours.
Do you plan to
Principal wife,
renege? Do
he
you want
exhaled
to
half
cut off your
amused,
own future?
half annoyed.
If it weren't for the
Fine.
trouble with
raising his
concubine
right
whose
hand,
maternal
he
family,
swore if I broke
the
my
court
word,
crown prince
may
wouldn't
I die
see
a
you.
wretched
He
death.
you didn't dare
Struck
to
by
disobey
lightning
too
forsaken
much.
mother.
By kin.
Yuan
Stricken
just
with
has a poor
illness,
background.
my house ruined.
But she is
Soul
gentle
dispersed,
and
cut
kind
to ribbons.
and will be.
Damned to
a
eternal
qualified
suffering
crown
in the
princess.
deepest hell.
The empress
Satisfied
sneered.
anyone can
Wanyan
pretend to
smiled.
be.
I'll
Gentle
trust you.
and kind.
For now,
your principal
the
wife
other
must be
can.
women
Wait,
who can help
when
you
will I
stabilize
get the
your
flowers?
position.
They
If
rain
you
died
insist
on the
on
flower
marrying,
festival,
then
the
marry
artisan
Kiao
insists
Yuan's
on
younger
ritual.
sister.
The
The
legitimate
early
daughter
morning
of the
Kiao
festival.
family.
I
He
will
stood up.
deliver them
Mother,
immediately.
I don't want
Don't
to.
rush.
The
Nothing
empress was
she
sad
said, leave.
and helpless.
Oh, but
and
refused
refused
to
to back
bill.
down.
Asterisk,
Back then,
asterisk,
as the
Eastern
empress,
Palace, asterisk,
she was
asterisk.
bully ed by
That
Jing Yuan
lowly woman
reported young
concubine
youth
Hui.
released too.
The mother of a
Crown
country
Prince
had
Heezy
no
Yu,
real power.
Your Highness,
and everything
Miss Yan
in the
delayed
harem
Prince Jingshan
was
for
decided
former
by concubine
dynasty
Hui.
remnants.
And
Ziyu
was
saw it with
jailed.
his own eyes
Miss
when he was
Qiao
young.
went
To
to
the
the
Ministry
hated
of
those
Justice
vicious
women
and
who were
princes.
jealous.
Jingsmaner
and would do anything
even
for
blew
power
up his
and
kitchen.
status.
But he
If
released
not
Miss
for
Yan
this,
without punishment.
How could Ziyu have
Heezy
fallen
scolded
in love with a
expression
weak
darkened
and
prince.
innocent person
Jing
like
resents
Kiao
Wanyan
Yuan
for abandoning
but a
him.
woman like this
Miss Yan
could
must have
hold the
suffered.
position of
Jing Yuan
Crown Princess
blinked.
or
No,
Empress.
she was released
She
the
couldn't
next
tell
day.
Ziyu either.
Her
Her
most
snapped.
satisfactory
Why
candidate
tell me this
was
triviality?
the
Are you
granddaughter
idle?
of the Grand
Your
Tutor,
Highness,
the head of
there's
civil
more.
officials.
Jing Yuan
Unfortunate
braids
lie.
his GLR.
That girl married
Regarding
early
Miss
this
Kiao,
year
eyes
to
diarrhea.
Amen, who was
She
not
ingested
outstanding
refined croton
in any
and
way in her
rhubarb.
hometown.
He viewed
The
nodded.
legitimate
Who
daughter
did
of the
it?
Kiao
Zhao Ying
family
is
he
out.
frowned,
Standing
Zhao
in
Ying,
both
though rash,
talent and
was
appearance.
loyal to Kiao Yuan.
How is she worse than
poisoning
Kiao
her
Yuan?
at the
He
launch
she
gravity
was stubborn.
festival?
Made
Mother,
no sense.
I'm not
Zhao
Aberson
Ying
who
sent
lusts
Miss
after
Qi out
beauty.
to
A lovey.
Tremella
Huan
soup that
and will
morning.
only marry
but we
her
don't
in this
know
life.
if she drank it.
Miss Zhou,
Heezy
second
amused.
is very
Zhao
good,
Ying disliked
but in the
Wanyan.
future,
The soup
I'll
likely
only
contained
be in
the
her
poison.
brother.
Which
Ma
Wanyan
and
diverted
will
to
never
Kiao
covet her.
Yuan.
You,
Also,
the
young
Empress
Marquis
was so
Zhong
angry
wanted
that
to
her
speak
head
to Miss
hurts.
Kiao to
Unfilial
Athame,
son.
But she
Unfilial
ignored him.
son.
He
dismissed him. him,
slightly
Zhang
bowed.
Qiyan
I'll take
was
my
just
leave
figuring,
first.
no
Wait,
cause for concern.
your father has been
for
very
half a
troubled
month
by the
a matter of the
came the
refugees
toast
in
of
noble
Qingzhou
society,
recently.
enjoying outings
the
and
depths of
feasts,
winter
and
Xiao
near
Yi
the
won.
new year.
However,
And the refugees have
remained
no
locked
home
in
to
Minxiang Pavilion
return to.
since
Collapsing
this is
in the
not a
family
brief
shrine.
task. But
Even
now
Zhao Ying
that
dared
Prince
not
Jing
enter, has
waiting
returned to the capital
anxiously
outside.
You must share your
Zhao Ying
father's
had tried to see the
worries
crown
and
prince
solve
for help,
difficulties
but
for him.
failed due to his
She
busy
used
schedule.
expression
That
changed
evening,
slightly.
She
It is
placed
my
dinner
duty to
on the
share
table.
worries.
for the country and the emperor.
No
He's
response.
read that
His
Qingzhou
Highness
is busy,
not far
I'll
from
fetch him
Yangju.
soon.
Every
Just
year,
as Zhao Ying
Yi
reached the
Huan
door,
would go to Yangju for the new year.
called
In the Wangyu
Tower.
She
rushed back.
Wanyan sat
Miss
in the elegant
seating
sat up,
of the private
pale.
room.
How
Watching
much
the
is left
people
in my private account?
performing on the first
21
floor.
taels.
The table
grain
was
with
filled
it.
with
All of
rich
it.
fruits,
Confused
and sweet
Zhao
meats.
Ying asked,
Truly
but
a
we
pleasure.
have food.
Ziyuan
Just
hurried
do
in.
it.
Young
Alone
lady,
Qiao Yi
I
Huan
asked
stared
the
at the
shopkeeper
sunlight,
of the bookstore,
streaming
but
through
the
shopkeeper
windows
said
hiding
he
forever.
had read
Meant
all
losing
the books
everything
in the bookstore.
But he
no
had
one
no
else could be
impression of the
relied
one
on.
you were
She
looking
must
for.
rely on herself.
So he doesn't
It was
know
a
who
clear,
wrote it.
breezy
Qiao
day,
Wanyan's
perfect
misty
for
eyes
outings.
brows at
Jia Siwan,
lightly
the
furrowed,
youngest legitimate
the book was
daughter
gone.
of, and the
author
minister
could
of the
found.
central
Could it be
secretariat
that?
was having
The book
tea with
only
Princess
appeared
Hibeos
for
who
her
in a third
and disappeared
private
after
room
she
of
read
audio
it.
house, not for
Spotting
others to
carriage
see,
from the
but she
Qiao
hadn't
estate
finished
on the
reading
main
it
street.
yet.
She
Ziyuan
sent
said
to
young
invite
lady,
its occupants
it's
upstairs.
almost the new year.
Qiao
We
Wanyan
go
entered
back to
nodding with a
Yangju.
smile.
With the master
Sister has
and
time
madam.
today.
You
Every
missed the
year
Taifu
for the new
Mansion
year.
banquet the
And
other
we'll
day.
go this year,
I
too.
got that to see
When
you.
do you think
She
we
added,
should
buy
greetings,
something
Your
to give to the
Highness.
cousin Young.
Hibeos who were
Masters
aimed at
and
her.
young ladies.
No
in
wonder Pinduoduo
our hometown when
called
we
her
go
the
back.
lucky same person.
Every year.
Beyond the care.
Qiao Wanyan
Free
would go
life
back
of a
to her
pampered
maternal
noble
grandfather's
ancient
shown in
times.
Qingzhou
She
for
got
the
to
new
see
year.
such a pretty
with her
sister
parents
treasure.
and Qiao
No?
Yuan. One was
Her.
luckier. Mother was the
Except
only
maybe the
daughter
person
in the
who
family,
had to.
and her
Facing
father
her
loved her
heart attack
mother
at the palace
so he
recently.
loved everything
Jia
related to
Siwan
her.
laughed. He thought,
You know,
the
I've been
whole
preparing
family
for my
reunion
wedding.
would make
Today's me
her
first
maternal
break-in
grandfather
is
soon.
happy. I'll be
Qiao
too busy
Wanyan
to go
picked
out.
up a sweet
It's
meat
driving
and
me
put
mad.
it in her.
Qiao
Now,
Wanyan's
even
eyes
if her
lit
parents
up.
didn't
Sister
go back
will
this
marry
year,
her childhood
she would
sweetheart
definitely go to her
soon.
maternal.
Your face
Grandfather's
is full of
joy
joy for the new
I
year. In
can't
the storybook,
believe you're annoyed.
When returning
Jia
to
Siwan
Yangju
giggled
this year,
coquettishly.
Qiao
Yuan
Yuan would
loved
accidentally
teasing
save
me.
the man
He
in
bears
AA,
who suddenly
an
thought of
underground
Qiao.
dark market in
Wanyan's
Yangju.
childhood
That young
sweetheart
man was a
Prince
wolf
Jing,
cub.
the
With
original
a
host
strong
had
sense
no
of defense.
memory.
But at the
excellent
banquet,
skill.
her voice
She'd
was
seen him up
close.
close from
He
crying
would be gradually
down
influenced
Wanyan
by
suddenly
key
turned
celebrity in
Yuan
modern
to
showbiz
and
for
become
shine
her
royal.
most
When
trusted
in
kindergarten.
children,
She
stretched
stretched
out
out
her
her
waving
waving
fingers,
and
especially
even
secretly
pointed at
adoring
her.
her in
And
her
his heart
heart,
was the
willing to
anti-Sparta
guard her for a
standards.
lifetime
Savagery
without
of
a
a
youthful
high-class
concubine.
young
Was
lady.
this
Even
young
her
man
aunt,
dared
who
to
would
push
body
me
was
into the water
hilarier than
Qiao
her
Yuan
modern
tell my
in the
mother,
future.
but even such
Kill her
beauty
in an
wasn't
extremely
good
cruel
enough
way.
for her
This
sister
time,
treasure.
She would buy that
one
Wanyan
before
should be
Qiao
impressed.
Yuan. Taking all those men
wouldn't
as
influence him
concubines.
with love like
she was
Qiao
that
Yuan,
kind of doting
but
mother
first control
fan.
him
After
with medicine.
all, if
Slowly
Wanyan
torture him
abandoned
to relieve
someone,
her hatred.
it was their fault
then
for
kill
not being
him.
good enough. It's better to
Prince
rely
Jing
on
should
yourself
reflect
than
on
to beg
himself.
others. If
It's
Wanyan
better
wanted
to
to get
be
rid of the
best
future,
friends.
troubles
She'd
with
take
your
100
male
male
concubines.
concubines.
This year, the whole
Sensing
family
he
was
vows
originally
stare.
planning to go back to
Wanyan
Yangju. Has your highness been well recently?
Jinshi
accidentally sprained her foot, and
I
was
would.
in.
Then
Convenient
corrected
NT to
I'm
travel.
doing well.
Minister
Qiao
Qiao
Wanyan
naturally
smiled
brightly.
brightly.
Leave her alone
Thinking
to
the
take the
10th
children
princess
to
was
her parents
no
home
smarter
for the
than
new
Zhang
year.
Xian.
After thinking
Jia
it
Siwan
over,
changed the
he let
subject.
the two daughters
Wanyan,
go
what's
back
your
to
eldest
Yangju,
sister up to?
and they stayed in
She's
the
been
capital for
who
some private
hadn't
time.
visited
Qiao Wanyan
lately.
originally
Guess
wanted
she might be hiding
Qiao
from shame.
Yuan to stay
Jia
at home.
Siwan
But
explained.
Jinshi didn't
Yi Huan's
allow
been
it.
serving porridge
As the
daily on
mistress,
Fengyu.
She could
Beggars
do
and
whatever
poor
she
folks
wanted
are
in the
flocking
mansion
there.
But
They wrote
outside,
praising her
she
as
must let
kind
others
and
know that
merciful.
she was.
She
a
added as a
dignified
concubine.
and fair mistress.
She should marry as
originally.
My
Because
family's
of her merchant
illegitimate
daughters. She
were
was looked
married
down
off
upon
at
by those
15,
official ladies
living peacefully
in the capital.
Illegitimate
If she was
central
central secretariat,
be harsh on
daughter
her
would
concubine
pour
daughter.
lime ash.
It would really
But
disgrace
Qiao
the Jin
Yuan,
family.
having
At the entrance
entered
of the
Qiao
Qiao
family,
only
Minister
to be
Qiao
flogged
and
public
Jinshi
lie,
repeated
was
lie
clearly
instructed,
building a
Yan
good
you must be
reputation.
very careful on
Hibeos
this
who a modern
journey.
couldn't
Don't
tell
tell
it
it
to
to wife
strangers
or concubine
and don't go
hierarchy,
out alone
but
without
understood the rivalry,
taking people
like
with you. hating Ahab.
He a one-yin
Sister
found
born
it
to
added
Amistress.
funny.
In
Father
ancient times,
and mother,
concubines
I'm not a
were
child
normal.
anymore.
Her
Don't
own
worry,
mother wasn't
I will.
the empress.
Definite
So
take
she
good
stayed
care
neutral
of myself
changing ancient
and my sister.
Views with modern
Minister
ones was
Kyo felt
impossible.
sad.
Kia Wanyan smiled.
The daughter had
After
really
her
grown
palace
up.
ordeal.
Yanyan,
Yi Huan
why
was
do you
depressed.
need to take care of your sister?
Glad she's
Minister
doing
Kiao
good
looked
deeds
at
now.
Kiao Yuan
Ji
on the
is so
side.
inside.
His tone is
Madame
not as
Kiao
gentle
is
as before.
So kind.
You are.
Yi Huan
the
was
elder sister.
lucky to be
You
born
must
into
take
the
good
Kiao
care
family.
of your
Younger
younger
sister.
quiet. If
Kiao
Yanyan
Yuan
loses a single
had
hair,
been her first
I
friend
will not
here.
spare you
But
when you come
hardships
back.
revealed true
Kiao
colors.
Yuan saw
Noticing
meant
a
to be
familiar
used
carriage
to it
outside
and slightly
Kiao
nodded.
Wanyan
Father,
rose.
don't
It's late.
worry.
Mother
Minister
wants me
Kiao really
home
didn't
early.
like this daughter.
Forgive my
From the
leave.
bottom of his
On
heart.
Fengyu Street.
Back then,
Kiao
if her
Yuan
mother
served
was
porridge
a maid,
in simple
hadn't
clothes,
he climbed into
smiling
bed
gently,
and accidentally
slow down,
gotten
everyone
pregnant,
will get
he
some.
wouldn't have kept
He
such
sees
a
carriage
mistress.
stopped afar.
Back then,
Seeing
because
her,
of such a
he
mistress,
alighted.
His
Kiao
father,
Yuan,
in Allah, eyes
almost
reddened
dead.
at the sight
She
of him.
let him marry
Tears
Yan
falling
Yan's
as
mother.
she turned away
And
too.
all
Once
these years,
she never said anything coquettish.
She looked up at her
food,
dream lover
clothing,
and cried
housing,
harder.
and
Yi
transportation
Huan,
were the same
don't
as
cry.
Yanyan's.
Her
He
stops eased.
didn't treat
He'd
her
been
badly
busy,
either.
not
Yanyan
disgusted
spent
by her
a lot
shame.
of money on
Why
a dilly
serve
basis.
porridge?
But
It
that
need
was the
Ed to
pocket
get
money
out,
given by
helping.
her mother.
Others
the
feels
pocket
meaningful.
money he gave to the
A
two
commotion
daughters
arose.
from
His
Yuan
monthly
reported,
allowance was the same.
Your Highness,
but she was.
a carriage
always
ran
cold
wild
to him.
Coachman
How
thrown
could
off.
she be?
Horses
As cute
out of
and
control
affectionate
as
Ziyuan's
Yanyan.
panicked
Calling
voice
him
yelled,
father, Minister
Miss.
Kiao instructed
Frowning
for a long time.
Kiziu dashed
Kiao
away.
Wan.
Kiao
Yan's
Yuan watched
tears
his
were
back.
almost callous.
The handkerchief dropping
She took
from
his
her
arm
hand.
and coquettish
Kiao
like
Wanyan
said,
braced against
Father,
the
don't
carriage
worry.
wall.
Your
But
daughter
her face
remembers
showed no
everything.
fear.
When
If
the
you
carriage
keep
jolted,
talking,
we
she
might
looked up
not
with
be able
panic.
to leave
The
city
city
until
slashed the
sunset.
reins.
And
Stopping
father,
the carriage,
you know
the
that my
horse
sister
raced on,
and I
as Jing
are
Yuan
going
gave
out.
chase.
Instead of
Opening the
talking
door,
so much,
he saw Wanyan
it's better
collapse
to arrange
and
more
trembling.
guards.
Tears on
Minister
her lashes
Kiao smiled
like morning
when he
dew.
heard this.
Before
The
he
crown
could
prince
comfort
is going
her,
to Qingzhou
she
today
flung
to
herself into
deal
his
with the
arms.
refugee
Additive.
matter. Qingzhou
Unfamiliar
pauses.
emotions
Through
surged
Yangzhou,
through.
the crown
Him as
prince
he
will
stroked
travel
her back.
with you
It's
on this
safe now.
journey.
What
more
so
guards do you
scared?
need?
Your
Kiao
Highness.
Yuan was
She
abbot
sniffed,
led.
surprised
His other
and
hand
happy.
circ led her
Father,
waist.
is it true?
Her fragrance
Minister
blanking
Kiao
his mind.
said,
Of
even
course
in the
it's
past,
true. When
I've
he
already
Yanli
talked
held
to
her
the
hand,
Crown Prince.
his ears had
He'll
burned.
wait for you at
Don't
the tea
fear.
house.
I'm
10
here.
miles outside the
Kiao
capital.
Yuan arrived to
Yanyan,
see the crown prince.
You must work
Holding
hard.
Wanyan tenderly.
Why was this child
Wanyan
so
hugged his
calm?
waist.
It was
and
as
he
if she had
soothed.
known from the beginning.
As the sky gradually began to snow, large
glare in our
snowflakes
midst.
like goose feathers,
She's frightened.
fluttered
I
down
didn't.
from the sky,
Kiao
one after
Yuan
another.
retorted.
Kiao Wanyan
Kiziu
held
understood.
and warmer.
Wanyan
Wanyan
had
had
done.
done. The
It
snowy
on purpose.
scenery outside
He
the
lifted
carriage window.
Wanyan out.
The wheels of the
ignoring
carriage
others
creaked as they
and
rolled
strode to his carriage.
and the land covered
Kiao
in a
Yuan,
silver blanket.
S face
was
pallid
like an
as
extremely
Wanyan
beautiful.
winked.
Her
And
smile
smile
mocking
paintings.
After
as
traveling
I say,
for about the
if
time,
you can bear
it
grievance,
takes to burn an incense
bear it
stick.
forever.
They
Asterisk.
finally arrived
Your
at the tea
Highness
house.
always
Kiao
protects.
Yuan was the first
when
to get
I'm
off
hurt,
the carriage.
I'm so grateful.
And sure enough,
Wanyan murmured.
she saw
Her
Heziyu sitting
teary
inside
eyes
the tea
melting
house,
his heart.
drinking
Just
tea.
as he settled her in the
Overjoyed,
carriage,
she quickly walked
Kiao
over and
Yuan
said,
called,
Your Highness, I need
Kiao
to speak
Wanyan
with you.
slowly got
Wanyan
off the
tugged
carriage,
his sleeve
behind
gazing
her,
at him
out of
with
the
red
corner
eyes.
of her eye.
She
Kiao
glanced
Yuan
at the
pleaded,
people.
Ziyuan
accompanying
can
the
stay
crown
with her.
prince.
My matter
dressed
is
in
urgent.
casual clothes.
She wanted to.
When she entered,
reveal Wanyan's
the tea house
thought,
and
the
saw the
poisoned
crown.
soup.
Prince
The carriage
also
accident.
in ordinary
He
attire.
frowned.
He looked
She
just
your
like
sister.
a noble young
Since
master.
when did you?
She walked
Ignore
over
her fear for
her
your
voice
urgent
sweet
matter
and delicate
Yi
like
Huan.
plum candy.
You weren't like
and
this.
Said, Good day,
The carriage
young master.
drove off.
Kiao
Yuan
Yuan raised
staggered.
her eyes,
Asterisk,
brows
he used to
slightly,
care.
and asked,
Has he
Sister,
really started
why
to
do you
despise
address
me?
His Highness
Asterisk.
like that?
Kiao
Kiao
rushed
Wanyan
to
was
the
sensitive
study,
to the cold,
detailing the
wearing
Fengyu Street
a thick
incident
fox,
for cloak,
especially how the crown
revealing
prince had
only
carried
an
Kiao.
astonishing,
Wanyan,
beautiful face.
He Yanli crushed
She
his
blinked her
teacup.
eyes.
Why
which
tell
were
me
as
this clear
triviality?
as autumn
Mo
waves?
Xiao counted silently.
Like a little rabbit.
10.
I saw that the
before
people
he could
accompanying
finish.
Your
He
Highness
Yanli
are
asked,
all in
what about the
casual
horse?
clothes.
Kiao
And your
State
Highness
horses
is
are trained.
also wearing
Why
ordinary
hold?
clothing.
Mo Xiao
Father
thought.
said that your
After
highness
classic
is going
denial.
to Chinzhou to handle the matter of the refugees.
Di said in
I
Beiming City.
figure that your
After
highness
when
wants
I
to
return,
conceal your
I'll make her regret
identity
living.
to obtain the
Those
most
who are
accurate
trained
information.
Trust should
and
die
yes,
by
and
their
want
own
people
hands.
to know your
Asterisk
identity.
now.
So
He
it
fretted
took
over
liberty
a carriage
to
accidents.
addresses
If
you as
Mo
young
shouted
master.
and see through his
After
lies.
speaking,
He'd be a
she looked
fool.
at He you again and asked,
Did this servant angries? A hint of approval flashed in Hiziyu's eyes, and he said, "What you said is correct. You can address me as young master on this journey." Only then did Kia Wanyan break into his smiles again and said, but Hijiyu straightforwardly said, "Just speak your mind." Kia Wanyan glanced at Kiao Yuan, whose expression was a bit stiff and lonely, and boldly said, "Father said that my sister and I can travel with you, young master, so that you can take care of us, but it's really inappropriate for two unmarried women to travel with you. Young master, I'm afraid it will bring you trouble." Hijiyu didn't speak. He just looked at her quietly, waiting for what she would say next. He had also read this. Traveling together did suit his intentions, but it would bring unfavorable consequences for the two young ladies. Kiao Yuan looked at her somewhat puzzled. What did she want to say? Did she not want to travel with His Highness anymore? Could it be that she really didn't want to marry His Highness anymore and also wanted to prevent her from being with His Highness? Kia Wanyan then said, "Why don't you, young master, pretending to be my sister's husband? That way, if someone asks, you won't have to explain so much." Kiao Yuan's face instantly turned red. How could Wanyan say such a thing? How could this work? She glanced at Hijiyu, who was looking at her, and immediately averted her gaze, lowering her head filled with shyness. Hijiyu smiled and said, "Wanyan's idea is very good, but we still need to ask Yuan's opinion." Kia Wanyan walked over and took her arm, and with a smile on her face, it would be a bit of a hardship for sisters to say, "Pretend for this journey. This way, it can help the young master and also save a lot of trouble. How about it?" Kiao Yuan's face was as if it were bleeding, burning hot. It saw meds that Wanyan really didn't want to competing with her for His Highness anymore, although she was enthused to her change. Maybe it was because she didn't understand the real her before and had too little contact with her. Actually, Wanyan was quite nice. Zhao Ying's but still
Everyone
hurts terribly, and she hated the second miss to death. But now, she couldn't figure out what the second miss was up to. Could she have really changed for the better? No, there must be a trick. This vicious woman, it starts to change one's nature. She wouldn't change for the better so easily. Ziyuan clearly confused by the sky in front of her went dark. Without as if the sky had collapsed the again. Girl dashed on her short legs to her courtyard. Thought clearly confused by Yang Yao's, and the others thought she had gone crazy. Each of them had their own on her short legs to her courtyard. The carriage bolted the door and dove under the covers. Journey in winter. Headache. The sky gets dark quickly. By evening, gives me a headache. The group are at Anchang County. Hebeos who forced an awkward laugh. At the largest kids in the county. Energetic. When the shopkeeper saw that the leading, I really didn't mean to dress in expensive clothes. He knew that annoyed by the interruption had arrived. Pressed on. Are you guests right, here Sister Wanyan? A meal or stay for the night? Has no manners. Staying for the night. How shameful to do business said gently. She might not care. Shopkeeper, help my sister brother-in-law. She stains all our reputation rooms. You have here. The shopkeeper smiled and concubine's daughter can see beyond. We only have two of the best rooms left. Naturally one different from us. Young lady and one for the young couple. Exactly. It's just she ignores perfect. The bigger picture for petty awkwardly turned. Doesn't no she commerce to look at Hijiyu. And Shuxu shot her also a bit embarrassed. Kia Wanyan watched the expressions on their eyes to glance at the maid nearby. Interest. If neither of them spoke up forward, the two would stay in the same room. But if they stayed in the same room before getting married, and if even a bit of news got out, presumptuous, the capital would surely be in shouted
an
in
uproar.
front of Miss.
Given the Empress
Qiao
Dowager's
Juxia
temperament,
covered her face,
Qiao Yuan
shaking with
wouldn't
anger.
even be able to.
Asterisk I didn't
hope for the
want to
position
come.
of crown
Who
princess.
wants to flatter that
even
arrogant
becoming
Qiao
a side
Wanyan?
consort.
But mother
would be
and father made
extremely
me
difficult
and sister
in the future.
Come,
she
now
would
I'm
only
bullied
become
by a
a
lally maid.
prince of the
and
crown.
sister doesn't
He
even
was
defend
the
me.
first to speak.
Asterisk. Yuan was
Qiao
Juxia stood
and didn't
Calm
how to
down.
handle such a
Sister
situation.
Wanyan,
But he had to
Juzia
consider
is
young
Yuan's
and
reputation.
ignorant.
I'll punish her
you
severely.
and your sister
Qiao
can
Wanyan
each
smiled.
have a room.
Nonsense.
Shopkeeper,
The princess
please find
is
me
here.
an ordinary
Don't
room.
slander
the
me.
shopkeeper
When did
chuckled
I get
and
angry?
said,
Young master, you
my
right
mistake.
already married.
Forgive me,
What's
sister.
there to be shy
Qiao
about?
Wanyan
What
wiped her
kind of
lips.
young couple
You
goes?
two, out
She
and stays in
as my
separate
cousin.
rooms?
How
He
can you
act
didn't
like
how
this?
to explain?
Take her
Qiao
to
Wanyan.
change.
Time
Or
was
step
she'll
into
leave
the
to
mansion
defuse the
looking
situation.
like saying my
people
sister
might think
and
bully
brother
at her.
in.
Ziyu
The laws are
nodded.
having a
This
quarrel.
way.
It's
Miss
really a
Juxia,
headache.
I'll help you
Shopkeeper,
change.
please
Qiao
take us to
Juxia
our
shot
rooms
her
quickly.
quickly.
But
We
dared not
they were
protest.
exhausted
Hurrying
after
to
traveling
change
all
God in the
day.
East Chamber.
The shopkeeper
As Qiao
understood.
Juxia ordered
This was
the
Yuan to
young
fetch.
couple having
A fragrant
quarrel
cloud
and
goes
not
dress.
wanting to stay
The maid
together.
who'd power
Easy
ST
looked at Qiao
bolted the
Wanyan
door
a few
from
more
inside.
times. What are
One
you doing?
assigning
Get my
rooms.
clothes first.
Qiao Wanyan
Ziwan
directly
stepped
went to
out
a
and kerchief in her
Lightlywear's
mouth,
room
and the other
thoughtfully
maid
said,
grabbed her arm.
I'm very happy that
From
my
behind
brother
a muffled
in
soft
Alon
echo
Ed,
Ed, sister
but no
and me
sound
stay
reached
in the
Yongyin
good rooms.
pavilion.
But my
Ziwan,
brother in
slapped
Allah
her
has
repeated
taken
lie
good care of
without
us.
a word.
Along the
Stopping
way,
only
if
when
he could
Juxia
sleep
faced
well,
us.
my
Wells
sister
and her
would
eyes
feel
reddened
sorry.
from crying.
These words
Remember
sounded
to
like
mind
she
your
was
words in front
trying
of my
to bring
miss.
the two closer
Ziwan
together.
and
But
unseated
he
each somehow
somehow
felt
felt
that
that
some
some
people
people
could.
could
Only
only
be
be
known
known
to
to
be
be
kind
and sent her
hearted,
at the back.
and
She's
thoughtful
not
after
allowed
personal
in the
contact.
mansion again.
Yiwan had
She
a pure
upsets
and good
Miss.
nature.
Yes,
How could
Miss
her
Ziwan
sister be any
Ziwan
worse?
returned to
Back
Yang.
in her room,
Ning Pavilion,
Ziwan
and
complained
reported,
discontentedly.
Miss Juxia
Miss,
has
why did you
changed,
create an
but she
opportunity
feels unwell
for the
and
eldest
left.
Miss
Aizen
and his
someone
highness
to escort
the
her.
young master?
Everyone understood,
Qiao Wanyan
but
curled
said
her lips
nothing.
into a mocking
Qiao
smile.
Wanyan turned to
She was
Hibeos
only
who,
being thoughtful
princess,
in words,
why
but
so
had
glum?
no
Worried
our
about
intentions
something.
of staying in
Qiao
this room.
Juxia
Holding
stayed
straight
silent
and
listening.
responsible tonight.
Hibeos who hesitated
Ziwan no
then
need to
confessed
add charcoal.
I
But
give
Miss,
Qiao
if we
Yuan
don't
the
add
soap
it,
recipe.
I
We
estimate
tried
it will
making
go out
it
before
for
midnight.
fun, and
Theirs.
it worked.
No
But she
underground
sold
heating
my
or
recipe
warming
without a
walls
word.
in the room in
Qiao
winter.
Wanyan
It
was
will
surprised
freeze to death.
Asterisk
Qiao
Qiao
Wanyan
Wanyan
smiled
smiled
and
and
said,
said,
"We
no
just
wonder
wanted
she
to go
started
out.
porridge
At
relief.
the beginning
the
of
next
noon,
day she used
the charcoal
stolen
money
money
had
not
already
family
been out for
funds.
the
What
time
it takes to burn half an
gentle lotus
incense.
flower.
Stick.
Asterisk
Qiao
almost
Wanyan
laughed.
calculated the
Why
time.
not confront the
Took
young
off her
Jian?
warm cloak
Yancy shopkeeper
and got up to
directly
leave the guest room.
Having no
The
proof
corridor
the recipe
was
is
pitch
mine.
black,
He
and a
Beos who
piercing
had
chill hit mentioned
Qiao
hearing it
Wanyan
in her
hands
feet,
and
leaving no
feet were
written
cold.
records. She walked
Qiao
towards
Wanyan frowned.
the stairs
You're
by
a
the faint
princess.
light.
Her
Since
steps
when do
were
you
light
need proof
and slow.
Asterisk
Unable to see
nobility
the stairs
shouldn't
clearly.
need evidence
She could
for such
only feel her
things.
way down
Asterisk.
step by step.
He Beos who
when she was
realized,
more than
asterisk,
halfway
in
down.
modern times,
the stairs and
evidence
almost at the
is
first
everything.
floor.
Suddenly,
But
her
this isn't
foot
modern.
slipped.
The son
and
of
she
heaven
stumbled
is
forward, subject
Qiao
to the
Wanyan
same
took a
laws
sharp breath.
as
Just
Tom
as
and
she
she
was,
was
empty
about
talk.
to make intimate
Asterisk.
contact with the
You're
ground.
right.
Someone
Waymo's
steadily
princess.
caught her.
I'll
in
secure
an
the
instant.
evidence.
She was held
He
and
Beos who
placed
relaxed.
on the ground of the
Asterisk,
first
I'm
floor.
useless.
Qiao
But Wanyan
Wanyan
was
is
the
starting
kind
to
of person
She covered her
admired
chest.
in modern times.
A look of panic
with her
and weariness
I'm
on her
safe.
face.
Asterisk.
And stepped back.
He having some
it was
businesses in the
until
capital.
She retreated
I would too.
The wall
Fell
that she
soap in
trembling
my own
lie
shops.
asked,
It
"Who
might
are
invite
you?"
gossip.
No one
But
answered.
I went to try commerce.
Only the sound of
Asterisk
footsteps.
ancient life
Leaving
is
and then
boring
returning
without
was
entertainment.
heard. Jing Yuan
Using
lit
modern
a candle with a
knowledge
fire
to do
starter.
business.
And the faint
Here should
warm
be
yellow
fun.
lights
Back then,
illuminated
I
Tedda
wanted
corner.
financial freedom to do
Brother-in-law,
what I love.
the look of panic
being
and
a
fear
boss
on
was top of the
Wanyan's
list.
face.
Asterisk.
Instant lie
Qiao
diminished
Chuzu
Abbott
thought it
her
beneath
fair
that.
and
Princess,
clear.
the
Asterisk
face showed a
noble
hint of
lady's
shyness own businesses
and fear.
But they hire managers was a bit puzzled and asked them personally,
"Why are you here?
Is the princess
Kia
the idol?"
Wanyan.
Kia
Why am I
Wanyan
here?
smiled.
Nonsense,
"Go for
of
it.
course.
I support
because
you.
No, you'll
Asterisk,
be.
no.
Here at this
job
time
is lowly.
Otherwise,
elitists
would I be
enjoy
torturing
wealth
myself
well.
for no reason?
Despising those
Kia
who earn
Wanyan
it.
said
Everyone
softly.
chases
The
their
charcoal
goals.
in the room
I
went
win
out.
power.
I wanted
and the
to
princess
find.
wants
Do
to
you
do
want
business.
to help me relight it?
We both
She
striving for
seems
what
to be
we
staying
want.
on the first
Asterisk.
floor.
floor. But I don't know which room Jing Yuan visited. She lowered her head slightly, raised her eyes to look at him, for Qiao Wanyan to wake as a delicate flower swaying in. Jing Yuan was burning ointment. Extremely Qiao Wanyan rubbed her sleepy eyes. This moment, sat before the mirror and lazily truly making her hand feel pity. Qiao Wanyan timidly said, "Brother-in-law, Miss Wei Mo went to Yunji and Yanxi." And the shopkeeper felt the soap from the shelves. Sound in his mind. She left, unconscious what she said. He took off his lunch cloak and draped it over her, carefully tying the straps. I'll take you back and help. The shopkeeper dares not sell the soap. The charcoal. Will he confront Qiao Yuan? Ziyuan thought, blame? Probably not. And the instant before Qiao's daughter, even if he's angry or warming walls, dare demand justice. I didn't think it through, and Qiao Wanyan smiled. Charcoal before going to sleep. Ignores her. Now I am troubling you. Ziyuan's eyes lit up. I am a law. If it's the shopkeeper doesn't know. Fault for not being sensible. Kindly. He getting smarter as he said. It's smarter than a 5-year-old. Always lived saint a life of comfort and privilege. This is teasing me again. Tilled should have to worry about you. He took the candle from Jing Yuan after dressing to light. Qiao Wanyan went to Qian Hall and walked, where Minister Qiao side by side with Qiao smiled at her. A room without underground heating, mother had made with a dress. Will still be avid cold even with a charcoal fire. You can go to the 3rd floor and stay with your elder sister. Make do for tonight. Glad you like it. Minister Qiao said, "Daughter, a good room. I need to tell you something." Politely declined, saying, "Spring hunt is coming. So late. The emperor will receive." Elder sister Xiling already gone to sleep. Hunting ground. Wanted to disturb officials may bring their families. Law. Qiao Wanyan was a surprise. Just troubling you too. Prince was coming. Relate the calling the story. She smiled and said, "Why the smiling you can stay in my room." Minister Qiao melted at her shook her head and said, her head. How can that be? She took Madame brother-in-law of noble status. Just thought of something stay in my room. Father, it's really only take me and mother. I'm already your mother grateful that such events. You helped me relight the charcoal, and I want to take Qiao Yuan. I'm a man. It is no big deal to make do, though he traveling. Didn't Qiao Wanyan lowered her head. I want bring her lips and say with a faint smile. Even if the brother-in-law is so nice. You looked at her profile as Qiao by the candlelight at kanji for Abigail that her skin was in excellent condition. She jumped back as a young man shoots and tender cheeks. Qiao family's like eldest daughter, peach blossoms, cheating and stealing, as if they could be squeezed to release water. Qiao Yuan, her shallow dimples were as sweet. Who are you? As can when did I cheat you? As she walked, sneered Zhou Yu. A faint fragrance wafted over from her shopkeeper, and the rich fragrance drifted and sold it to my father, LS, costing him dearly. You averted his gaze. Money. Wanyan was a good girl. In the future, he would definitely find. I developed that myself. Best marriage for her. The room with underground I created the soap was recipe. As warm as what theft? Spring. Zhou Yu yelled Wanyan Hada. She stole Princess Shizi's the next day, and she was woken up to by another on the door. 100 tails. She rubbed her 50% monthly profit. Put on her cloak in a daze and got out of bed. And my father realized he was outside the door. Shouldn't he demand repayment? Saw the person. The crowd opened the door. Mostly helped by poor wide open and beggars. Without waiting to speak, she directly stepped inside. As long as we have that there was no one else inside or where the money is. She still couldn't believe why she was here. Wanyan, why are you here? Calling it robbing the rich to help the poor. Why was she still wearing His Highness over large cloak bucket? Qiao Wanyan tucked her hair behind her ear and if you don't. Brother, slaw in the capital. Let me come over. If they sister woke me up, I'll extort this and now my head hurts. If sister is Qiao Yuan couldn't believe it. Ask brother-in-law. The princess after speaking, she pushed her out. Why? We were friends. Even saved her chest rising and falling slightly. She not short of money and ran towards the room on the second floor. The recipe violently was developed on the door with the princess. As expected, I sold it to buy food for the poor. Who opened the door. More people pushed Zhou Yu defending her. Why are you here so early? Passed by. Did you come to find Wanyan? Commotion. Wanyan, after his such an affectionate way of addressing her, flatly entertainment. In the past, he ordered. He always addressed Qiao Wanyan as A
the
familiar
second
voice
of the
sounded.
Kiao family.
He Yanli
Why is your
opened the
highness here?
window
Easy, you
looked
felt
out.
some strange
Stop
at her.
the carriage.
What accusatory
Kiao Wanyan
tone?
stepped
Was
from a
Yi Huan
carriage.
jealous?
Light as
Yi
a
Huan
butterfly
listened to
in
my
a white
explanation
gown
that billowed.
Hiziyu explained
like
the
a
whole
goddess
story of
descending.
last night.
Gasps
Clearly
led through the
Kiao
crowd.
Yuan still
All
felt
eyes fixed
a
on
bit
her.
uncomfortable
Sister,
and said,
the Yanji
then
and
with their
Yanstei
shopkeeper
went
went
to
to
father.
rooms. Who
At
learned
this
what
moment,
you did?
Kiao Wanyan trotted over.
Stone
Panting
was gentle,
heavily
but
and said,
reproachful.
"Sister,
Kiao Yuan
don't
panicked.
misunderstand.
Asterisk,
It's
how
because
did this
I
get so big?
am spoiled
Why is
and
the
had
princess
second thoughts.
forcing me over
So
Orset?
he made a fuss to
Asterisk,
swap with
Kiao
brother
Wanyan
in
approached.
law.
Flanked by guards' eyes in
brother
the crowd
in
very live.
Wasidia,
Kiao
Dawn.
Yi.
Huan saw the
misunderstand
calculating
brother
smile on her
in
face
Allah.
and felt.
He
said
said
in a deep voice,
Asterisk,
Yi Huan,
she'll pour fuel
don't be
on the fire.
unreasonable.
Humiliate me
Wanyan,
in public.
Go inside
Asterisk.
and put on your
Kiao
cloak.
Yuan lowered her
Don't
brows.
catch a cold.
Her delicate
Kiao
face
Wanyan had
taking
deliberately
unveiled,
taken off.
grievous
the
looks
large
that
cloak
only
when she
enhanced
came
her
over.
pure,
Now,
gentle aura.
hearing his
Her
words,
voice choked slightly.
she obedient
Sister,
nodded
I was
and
wrong.
went inside to put on her cloak.
It thought the soap.
Kiao
The
Yuan
recipe
felt
was
like a
created
joke.
with the princess.
Clearly,
And
His Highness
never meant
had
to
been
sell it
unique.
at first.
Lie
But
gentle with
I
her
couldn't.
before.
Born to
So
see the
why did
destitute
she feel
go
that
hungry?
his and my
Highness
monthly
had
allowance
changed
Abbott?
Was
Was it
enough
really
grain.
like this?
So it
or
fooled
was
the
she
recipe.
just being too
Tears
sensitive?
fell from her
Kiao
eyes.
Wanyan carefully
and the beauty
asked
steers
sister,
moved the
since we
pour
were
deeply.
both up,
She paused
shall we
and
go
added,
have breakfast?
I thought the
Kiao
princess
Yuan felt
with
wrong
her
vast
vast
estates.
Still
Wouldn't
nodded
care about
and turned
such
to leave.
trivialities.
Kiao
If
Wanyan
the money
sighed
could help
inwardly.
more people. What about being
Teacher
kind
Libby,
and
please.
gentle?
It
Kiao
never
Yuan
expected
was just
this.
a stubborn
I'll
person.
apologize to the
Since
princess.
she was a child.
But I didn't
she
trigger
hasn't
it.
been good at
I'm
communicating with
willing
others.
to bear the blame
when
alone.
facing bullying
The crowd
from others,
began to riot.
She would
What
only
wrong did
endure
Miss
it,
Yuan do?
not looking for the,
princess
other
is
person's
rich.
fault.
But
does she need
doubting
this money?
if she had done
exactly
something
Miss
wrong
Yuan
to be
acts
bullied.
for the greater
Today
good.
she bravely
Better than you
questioned.
high. Hiziyu out of
mighty
anger,
folk.
feeling betrayed.
You young ladies
but now
who know
she was
no
crushed
hardship
by Hiziyu's
can
words.
understand
Don't
our
be
suffering.
unreasonable.
Well, we starve.
And return to her
Your
stubborn
clothes cost
nature.
more than our
Clearly,
annual grain.
she was
What
extremely
right do you
wrong
have to
and
criticize
angry in
Miss
her
Yuan?
heart.
Why?
But she didn't
Why are
dare
you
to
born
refute
rich while we
or
suffer?
resist. With
Just
someone
admitting
leading
to
to adversity
adversity
followed.
with
Venting
such
their
a temperament,
temperament, frustration,
the more wronged
they
she
knew.
could be.
Who
The
kept
more
them fed
wrong
these
Ed
days
she would
and
be in the
didn't
future.
care.
People
About
feuds
all
are
have bad
only that
instincts.
these people,
If they
might
know
make
you
them
very
starve
easy
again.
to bully,
They
Kiao
will
Yuan
subconsciously
clenched her
bully you.
chest.
Hiziyu
watched her
apologetic.
leaving back.
I
Feeling
understand
Abbott
your
regretful
feelings,
about what
but
he had
my
said.
allowance is meager.
Kiao Wanyan
I
bit
may
her
not be
lip
able to.
and said,
Serve
"Brother-in-law,
porridge
is it
anymore.
my
I'm
fault?
sorry.
I
Please
shouldn't have a
don't.
last night
Involving
it's
others.
not your
This
fault.
is all my
Hiziyu
fault.
averted his
Zhou
gaze
Yu
and
punched
said,
in the face.
"I wanted to
Cowered
swap
back,
with you,
but was stunned
and
by
it's hard for
Kiao
you
Yuan's
for taking the blame
words.
to
Zhou Yu
prevent
rarely
any
interacted with noble
misunderstandings
ladies,
between us,
and none were this
Kiao
capable.
Wanyan
She
whispered,
stole
"If
in the
there's
princess
mutual trust,
recipe.
how
Yet
can
her words
misunderstandings
incited
arise?"
the crowd
What did
to
you
defend
say?
her
Kiao
and riot.
Wanyan shook her head
Second
and
miss
said,
saved me.
"Nothing."
Zhou Yu
I'm
lost
leaving
his
first.
arrogance. With
And
that, ran
she
towards
hurriedly
Kiao Wanyan.
left.
The crowd,
Hiziyu lowered
unwilling
his
to
eyes.
return to
If
hunger,
there's mutual
surged
trust,
forward
after
one
the
man.
meal,
Charged
Jing Yuan
straight
asked
at the
Kiao
innkeeper
Wanyan
to prepare some
his
drying
gaze fixed on her.
rations.
Asterisk,
Since
with
they
so
be
many
red,
people,
they would entreat.
no one will notice
The next
if
city
I do
falls by
something.
night.
And
Asterisk.
would have
Before
to
he
camp
could
in the
approach,
wild. It
Lu
was better
Jie
to bring
blocked
extra
Kiao
food
Wanyan with a
taking
sword.
advantage
His
of
cold
the
stare
break.
fixed on the man.
Kiao Wanyan
A
pulled
dozen
Kiao
guards.
Yuan
A
out
lead
for
from
a
the
stroll,
minister Kiao's
with
Mencian,
Hiziyu tagging
surrounded
along
as
her,
their pair,
even
but
outnumbered.
Kiao
They
Wanyan
did
knew
before
he
letting her
was
skirt be touched.
trying to pacify
Kiao
Kiao
Wanyan
watched
won.
the crowd grow
Sister,
and are
please
you
give
lie
me some
and
money.
died.
It happened.
The man blocked
Tea
by
eaten
Lu
in
Jie.
days.
Little
Have pity
Lu.
on me.
His clothes
a young
are too
beggar
pale.
ran over.
Give him
pleading pitifully.
some color
Kiao
without
Wanyan
hesitation.
smiled
Lu
and
Jie
waved him over,
flashed off the men's
taking out
sards.
attails of
A
silver
shrilling
from her
scream
purse,
silenced
and
the crowd.
handing it to
Satisfied,
him. The
Kiao
beggar
Wanyan spoke
was
calmly.
stunned.
Sister,
One tail of
your
silver.
words pain
Such
father
a
and
generous
mother
noble.
as heartless.
Thank you, sister.
They knew you were
Thank
serving
you,
porridge
he said,
and said you. snatching the
could drop
silver
rain funds
and
from the public
dashing
account
away
anytime,
but you sulked and
It's
refused.
so cold.
Instead of doing
And
this
that child
improper
is
deed,
barely dressed.
now you
He's
play the
still
victim.
pitiful.
Inciting
She
arrears
turned to
and
Sister
troublings.
Kiao
The Yemen. I don't
Are
feel
you
like
mad?
shopping anymore.
Her voice pitched
to carry.
We'll go back to the
reached
inn and
everyone.
wait for you.
Do you
Kiao
know the
Yihuan
trouble this
opened her
causes?
mouth to speak,
A riot
but
is
fell.
amateur offensive
Silent
private
out is
brawling,
Wanyan deliberately
but
creating.
majorly. Alone
reason
time for me
disrespect
to the princess is
She
this.
wondered,
Respect
maybe
to the
last
royal
night was
family.
just a
Can you bear
coincidence.
that responsibility?
His Highness was being
Fear
kind
gripped the
by
crowd, letting me
Asterisk,
stay
we were
in the
hungry,
third
but
floor,
not dying.
private room,
If charged with
I
crime.
was too sensitive.
We'll lose our
Kia
lives.
Wanyan turned to
Asterisk.
exchange
Kia
unknowing
Wanyan
smiles
first blamed
with
Kiao
Easy
Yuan
You behind her.
for willfully
Once they were
stealing
out of
the
earshot,
recipe.
distancing the
Zhu
minister
grumbled.
Kiao's
Miss Ayu
mansions
setting them
and the
up.
poor from the
Kia
feud,
Wanyan nodded.
then warned of
Why
the
miss?
consequences.
Ziyu
quelling their
protested.
impulses.
Wanyan
Kiao
pouted her
Yuan
head.
couldn't believe
because
it.
you're missing
When did
is a
Ithaca
kind of father
person
and mother.
Ziyuan fell
Asterisk,
silent.
How dare
In
she
truth,
slander me?
Kiao
Asterisk.
Wanyan thought
Kiao Wanyan
if the
felt
crown
no
prince liked
shame.
simplicity,
She knew
and
she was
kindness.
just.
I'll play the
Sister,
part.
Go
You can
apologize
trust
to
to
the
steal
princess.
someone.
Dawn.
Defection.
Tea worry
Being
about the
too
porridge
obvious
relief.
only
The
raises
Kiao family will
suspicion.
open the porridge stall.
One miss.
Mother.
Understanding
already
leads to
sent capable
another.
people to manage
and
it.
even if
Asterisk.
resolved,
The good
grudgelingers
reputation is
eventually
mine now. It
you're
becomes
nothing
diffused.
without your halo.
No one likes women
Sister
or
Asterisk.
bitters.
She
Endures
endures the
repeated
crowd.
betrayals.
It's spring
When
and
love
the days
turns
are
to
warm.
suspicion.
Nights
It's
are
a
still
dead
cool.
end.
Tomorrow,
Her enchanting peach
I'll use my
blossom
private
eyes
funds
held
to
a
provide.
smirk.
Better
Clean
to
clothes
trust
for
myself
everyone
than
to
men.
claim.
Or
At
love.
this,
I'll never
the crowd
betray
forgot
me
Kiao
in
Yuan's
an alley.
Whoever
To ragged beggar
feed
boys
and
and
clothe
clothe
them
them
with
with
their
their
savior.
savior.
The
Kia
master
Wanyan
and
is
servant
beautiful
heading
as a
back
goddess.
to the
Was
inlay
there
prey.
a living
See
Buddha?
this?
With
The
a
woman
faint
gave me a
smile.
tale of silver.
She looked at Kiao
Rich folks
Yuan.
are idiots.
See, sister?
So,
winning
easy
the poor
to trick,
sharks
just
and
act
track
poor.
wire.
And
But
they'll soften
just
up
money.
and give loads
You
of
toiled
money
for nothing.
The other boys
It must
nodded.
hurt.
You're amazing.
Your pale face pains
Big
me.
brother.
Sister,
I can't
Asterisk,
beg a
a
tale
little
in
money
a whole
makes them
month.
grateful.
Of course.
Why?
With a
Work
little
hard
more
when they'll
scheming.
thank the one
She'll
who
give
pays.
me another
Asterisk,
tale. Turning
they'll
away,
feel
she
sorry
boarded her
for
carriage.
me like fools,
followed by
so
a grand
easy to
procession of
manipulate.
guards. The boy
Leaving
smart
Kiao
darted
Yuan
through the alley
and Zhao Ying,
and cut ahead
pale,
of them,
faced.
In a
He
hidden
pretended
corner.
to crash
The
into Kiao
armless
Wanyan,
man lay
then
dead,
scrambled
a sword
up,
through his
patting
chest,
his pants,
eyes wide
Forgive
open.
me, miss.
The prince
I was
Jing.
in a hurry
As
and
carriage
didn't mean to
rolled
bump
away.
you.
When
Kiao
Kiao
Wanyan
Yuan
frowned
slightly,
returned.
the
Ziyu
minister
unsnapped.
Kiao's gatekeeper
Clumsy wretch.
refused her entry,
Acery is
saying
all
she
you have.
must apologize
The
to
beggars
the
ignored her.
princess
Rich
first.
families.
Zhao Ying
Maids
fumed.
were all
But
arrogant.
Kiao Yuan
I
showed
deserve
little
to die.
emotion.
I'm
and
rushing
turned
to buy
the
medicine for my
princess's
sister.
mansion,
But it needs
only to
details
find the
and
princess
only have
absent.
half.
Locked
Jeez.
out again,
Gravely
ill
Miss,
at
let's
home.
go back, Zhao
I was
Ying
too
said.
anxious.
We're distressed
and
to see her
didn't
kneeling
watch
at
where
the
I
gate.
was going.
Asterisk.
Wanyan said
princess
gently,
might be
"It's
avoiding her.
all right. Wait
You're
until
just
dark is useless.
worried about your
Asterisk.
sister.
Father
Ziwan
wants me to
take
seek
care
them.
of this.
Princess
With that,
forgiveness.
she walked
I'll
away.
wait.
Ziwan
Kiao
sized up the
Yuan
boy.
replied,
Follow me.
News
in a
of Kiao
secluded
Yuan's
alley.
fickle reached
The boy
Kiao
thrilled
Wanyan
at the
as
thought of earning
Ziwan
too.
massaged her
Tails
shoulders.
in a day.
Miss.
Enough to live
Kiao Yuan
comfortably.
is so
all winter.
stubborn.
If
Rich
the princess
people
is
really
out,
are
she
idiots.
should come back instead of acting
AAGH.
pitiful. My
Kiao
hand.
Wanyan
Wanyan
flipped through
glanced
a
at
book.
Ziwan.
In good
Trailing
spirits.
behind.
After
No
all
one
that
saw.
effort,
She
Ziwan
got
nodded.
nothing.
Throw
How do
away
you
my
think
cape
she
when we
feels?
get.
Asterisk.
Back of that
If I
beggar
hadn't
touched
he
at
read
it.
that story.
It's filthy.
I'd have smashed
Yes.
her porridge stall.
Miss.
Inciting
After 4
Ariat
or 5
Abig
days
seen
of
would
hurry.
risk my safety.
They were still half
and
a
the
day
crown
from the
prince
next
would
county.
SC
And
old me for that.
camped by her
Originally,
Ivor,
he
Kiao
disliked
Wanyan
D.
stood by the
Winning
water,
hearts subtly.
holding a
is
hand
more
warmer.
satisfying than
Watching
direct
the western
confrontation.
sunset
No,
paint the sky
wonder
crimson.
people hate
Creating
sneaky
a
hypocrites.
stunning,
Who wouldn't
intoxicating
angry?
sunset
She used
glow.
to infuriate
As
me
she
with her
admired
acting.
the scenery.
Asterisk.
She
As the
became
moon
a
set
beautiful
and
sight
dawn
in
broke.
others' eyes.
A carriage
Kiao
stopped
Yuan
at Fengyi
approached.
Lane.
A
Having
tall man
grown more
sneaked
attentive
aboard.
lately,
Sitting
perhaps
beside a young
grateful
woman
for the alone
inside.
time with the
Chixu,
crown.
You've
Prince,
lost weight.
why are you
Have you
washing
been
your
eating poorly?
handkerchief
The
in
dim
such
carriage
cold
hid
water,
Kiao
sister?
Chuzu.
Zhao Ying
isn't
blushing
feeling
face.
well.
She
So
looked
I
down.
let her rest.
Embarrassed.
Wanyan
You
replied with a
Ling.
smile.
I just
Who's there?
Just,
Come
asterisk.
out.
I've had
Ziwan
no
suddenly
appetite
snapped
without
at
seeing
a tree.
you.
Asterisk,
Small head
but
peeked
she
out.
couldn't say
Almond
it.
eyes wary,
Zhou Yu
Kiao
boldly took her
Wanyan's eyes
hand,
half-lidded,
smiling when
so
she
this
didn't
is
pull
the
away.
chance encounter
Edging
from the
closer.
story.
Books that are false.
I was
Kiao
beaten
Yuan,
today
because of your cousin.
Wan stood
And
up
my face
as
is injured.
Wanyan walked
For
towards
anyone
the girl.
else,
A
I'd be
13 to
angry,
14,
but
she's your
years
cousin
old with a plain
so
outfit,
I had
but
to take
lively.
it.
Cute
Cute
features.
features touched
She
his
gasped
face.
at the
Injured?
goddess.
Which
Like
cousin?
beauty before
Who
her.
else?
Sister.
Minister Kiao's
You're so
concubine
pretty.
daughter. In the story,
Zhao Yu recounted
Kia
the days
Wanyan
of it,
had SC
casting
the
himself
compliment.
as a
But
love
now,
sick.
She
Fool's
smiled
wrong
kindly
head
for his
thank
being
you.
loved.
What's a
He
girl like?
Chuzu was
You doing
heartbroken.
alone in the
I was
wilderness?
with sister.
Is something
and the princess
wrong?
today?
You can
and
tell me
heard
if you like.
about this.
The girl
I wanted to warn
smitten
you
by both
but you
beauty
weren't at
and
young
kindness.
Yin
Trembled by
I'm
the
trying
time
to find
I
my
could
brother.
go.
The
My
princess
parents
had
died
already
when I was
acted
little,
in the afternoon,
and I've been
she
living
held
with
a
my
candle
aunt
to examine his bruised
wants
face.
to sell me to a
Her heart aching.
70-year-old
Why
man.
endure this for me?
So he ran
He
away
held
to
her
young
hand.
Jew to find
It's
my brother.
nothing.
One
I
didn't
didn't
anything
expose
for
her
you.
lies. She
Orphan
looked at him
parents.
intensely.
That's true.
Then lowered
but
her
finding
eyes.
her brother,
But my
just
family
a rebellious
is arranging
girls
my marriage.
sneaking out
You
from under
lying.
her.
Take
Brothers
me
watch.
away. Her brother
Let's elope.
was
I
none
don't
other
need
than
wealth,
Yun Hang.
just you.
9
He
of the
hugged
youngest
her.
medical
Shuksu,
prodigies in the world.
You're the love of my
Provinces
life.
known as the
How
divine
could
physician.
I let you abandon your family for me?
Xiao Yihuan
That would
frowned
be
slightly.
selfish.
This
but
is
my
too
family.
much.
He
How
stroked
can your
her
aunt
back.
want to marry
It's
you?
no, my
Off
family
to such
as well.
an old man at your
Off.
age.
But
The
we're
little girl
commoners.
nodded.
Your
then
parents
turned
want
to
egg less than
Xiao
unk
Wanyan.
greater
Sister,
than. A
where are
son
you
for
headed?
you.
Can I
Isn't
join you
easy,
for part
but
of the journey?
powerless.
I'll be
But
super well
Shuksu.
behaved.
There's
Promise
a
I
way
won't
to
cause
make
any
them
trouble.
accept me.
Xiao Wanyan
What
took
way?
her hand.
He released
of
her
course.
and took
I'm
her
going
hand
to Yongju too,
and hesitated
so we
before
can travel
speaking.
together.
If-
the little girl
if
was
we become
start-led.
husband
What a
and wife,
coincidence.
your
She'd
parents
never
will
traveled
agree.
before.
No
Servants
matter their
had
misgivings,
told her Yongju
she
was
paused.
amazing.
He
Especially
coaxed
during the New
softly.
Year.
Chuksu,
It was even
I know
livelier
this
than the
hurts
capital.
you,
Yay,
but I
sister,
want a future
Xiao
for us.
Wanyan said,
Of course,
your hands
I
are
won't force you
freezing.
if you
Come warm up.
refuse.
By
Zhou
the
Yu's
fire in
gentle
the
voice
carriage with
and
me.
handsome looks
Xiao
had
Yuan
won
watched
her
them
heart
leave.
during her
Feeling
visits to
something was
Yanji and
off.
Yancy.
It was like
Now,
someone had
she shook
stolen
her head
something that belonged
decisively.
to her.
I'm not
and her
refusing.
chest felt so
Just
tight.
scared.
She could
but
barely
for us,
breathe.
I'm
Staring at the
willing.
little
I'll
girl's
fight
shrey
for our
tweeting
future.
figure.
Hugging her
Yuan
Zhou
was
Yu thought,
tortured by
Asterisk
this
marrying
indescribable
Chuzu
feeling.
means more than
Almost
running
driven
a small
crazy.
shop.
Her mind went
Fathers
blank.
deal
She
with that.
quickly washed the
Concubine
hand,
daughter
her cheek
nearly
in her hand,
bankrupted
and
us.
hurried back.
And now this,
Sister, I'm
Yanji
Yan
and
Yao.
Yancy